But today we've got the non-fawn. He's over here somewhere. He's right here. And then we've got Shane Nolan. And we're going to do a little bit of a debate kind of thing. Hey, that's right. That's right. I'm getting it down pat here. Every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to start doing this shit. I got to set up the next one probably today. That's how early you got to get people. Anyway, they're going to debate the tariffs. They're going to debate whether or not they're a good thing, bad thing. I think I know which part either one of them stand on, but I'm not sure. So it's not as if I know something that you guys don't or any of that stupid stuff. I'm going to bring up the peoples. I didn't want to leave them sitting back there, especially with Non-Fawn being on his channel as well. Hi guys. I am, yeah, both channels and possibly Rumble. I don't know if Rumble's running or not. Did I set up Rumble? I think I did. Yeah, we're on Rumble. Rumble, Twitter. I mean, Rumble and YouTube. You know, I've been thinking about setting up, streaming to Twitter, and I'm still fighting with Twitch whether or not I'm going to be able to figure out how to keep that live. Although I think I do know. I don't know. I have no idea what I have wrong with mine. It's got to be something to do with OBS. And I think I know what to do to fix it. All right, P. Fletch already shilled for me. So, yeah, I actually think I might stick it in a few more YouTubes. Maybe, maybe not. Don't know. That's not part of it. I shouldn't even have said that out loud. It's all good. But, oh, man. Yeah, we got 9 people watching over here on the YouTubes. 3 likes. Get those fucking likes up. And for anybody who would like to donate, the link tree is in the chat. Or I can grab Non-Fawn's Twitch channel if you guys would like to head on over there and check him out. I didn't do links. I should have done links. I really should have. I don't know. I set everything up earlier than I should have, and then YouTube was fighting me, so I was getting a little frustrated. Don't you worry about that. I'll set you up, motherfucker. I'm probably gonna put it into the Nightbot so people could put exclamation point Non-Fawn and find your Twitch. That's probably the easiest way to do it. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see, Nightbot. I'll set this up real quick. But yeah, guys, you got the gist of it in the chat there. They're going to talk back and forth about the Donald Trump tariffs. You guys can bring up anything that you want. It's free form, basically. Just the only thing I don't want is yelling and talking over each other. I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think Shane does that. So Non-Fawn, it's going to be a different thing for you. You don't have to worry about people screaming at you, at least right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good faith is always good faith. You know, I think, right. I'm that's kind of not the kind of moderator that'll step in and I'll slap both of your butts. I will. Yeah, I might do that. But yeah, we'll save the yelling and the talking over each other for after you guys have your discussion. It'll be about an hour. We won't keep it going all fucking night. That'll probably be for the open panel thing afterwards. So yeah. Now, as I said, the debate topic will be whether or not you think the tariffs are a good thing, and what you guys each think the long term will be. So, I should probably come up with an instance, shouldn't I? Yeah. What do you guys think about the Canadian thing? So what's going on with that exactly? There's a new dude, new prime minister of Canada. He's getting he's getting to be a spicy boy over Donald Trump. Where do you guys think that'll go? Yeah. Where do y'all think that'll go? Eh. Yeah. Yeah. Hold up,
Okay, currently,
hold on. I had you guys muted. I am so sorry.
So we were just talking about America's special trade relationship with Canada and Mexico.
Okay.
right.
Sorry,
So
y'all didn't
currently,
really miss too much. Sorry about that, Ashes. Thanks for letting me know, everybody. That was my own fault. I had Google muted.
on my stream, no one was muted. I'm just saying
Yeah,
in
that's
chat,
right.
but
On non-fonts, it's not muted.
uh,
That's why people were leaving. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Now they're back though. They're back. And
Yeah, welcome back, everyone.
sorry,
but
that
I
was
mean,
totally
like,
on me. All right.
I'm of the position that we benefit from our trade relationship with Canada, especially because we've had, you're correct. We have had a special relationship with Canada for decades now, which means our supply chains are incredibly integrated with China, Canada. And that means a lot of what we get from Canada are, what we call intermediate goods. They're goods used to make other goods, and tariffing those goods is, I would say, particularly bad. And you're
Raw
right in
material.
that raw materials are, an example of intermediate goods.
Mm.
Not necessarily the only example, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, my position, your position on tariffs is that you're opposed to them, right? Correct.
Generally speaking, I'm not going to say like 100% I'm opposed to every single tariff that could possibly exist, but I would say generally speaking, there are gains from trade, and tariffs restrict that from happening.
I mean, my position, I'm more like, I'm independent. I lean a certain way. I lean right, center right, but like I'm independent, and I'm not American, so I have a different perspective on these matters. And I agree. I understand. I think I understand what Trump is trying to do, right? But I do recognize that tariffs can be very dangerous for an economy, and they can be very negative. And I know in the past they have been very there's a reason why people turned away from tariffs or protectionism, and there's a reason why these trade agreements were created. And I think a mutually beneficial trade relationship where both sides benefit is what's needed. I do know that the United States has trade deficits, and they are losing money. But I don't think that's the only thing that's beneficial to the economy. I think government spending is a big problem, and debt is a big problem. I'm not sure that debt is as big a problem as everyone thinks it is. The United States is still the biggest economy in the world, the most powerful economy in the world. And it will be, I think, for a long time. I mean, I understand that he wants to bring manufacturing and American corporations back to the United States, and I don't see that happening.
Okay.
You?
So, I don't see it happening. I don't necessarily. There's 4 big issues I have with that, which, I mean, if you're not interested in that happening, we don't have to really get into it. But I would say, one, I think people exaggerate to the extent to which, manufacturing has declined in America. I think if you look at, output, especially in defense relevant sectors, that's actually increased over this time period too. I think people exaggerate basically trade's role to the extent that it has declined. People exaggerate the role that trade played. For example, unemployment unambiguously in the manufacturing sector has declined, but a lot of that just has to do with productivity increases and automation rather than trade. 3, I don't think that universal tariffs are conducive to bringing manufacturing back. That's why we've seen surveys from the Dallas Fed, Philadelphia Fed, and New York Fed, which all separately survey manufacturers in their state. All these manufacturing companies expect their businesses to be harmed because of the higher cost that tariffs are imposing on them. And 4, there may be certain defense specific sectors where I believe it is important to protect them, but overall, I see no reason to value manufacturing jobs over any other type of job. And because I believe that trade increases the total number of job opportunities, I'm gonna, I think there's an opportunity cost to bringing manufacturing back, and I don't necessarily think that cost is worth it. I don't think it's good. I don't think it would be good for the U.S. to start making clothes again at the expense of exporting software. But
yeah, I would agree.
I'll let you respond to that. And
Sorry, I would agree that certain defense-specific like microchips or warships or something. It would be good if the United States could for themselves to manufacture those things, not to be reliant on potential enemies for things. That doesn't make sense to me. But I understand what you're saying. There is an opportunity cost, and it's not like American unemployment is drastically high. I mean, as far as I can guess, I mean, what is it? Unemployment is like 5% or something.
4.2% right now.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty low.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen economies where it's like 9, or I've seen it in really bad times where it's up to 20 or 30.
Right.
But that's like a long time ago. But the thing, what I think Trump is doing is, I think he's trying to, he's more extreme, and he's trying to get things, but he's asking for more, but he'll settle for less, is what I think. Ultimately. But I wonder about the European Union, for example. Like, why are they tariffing American trade to the degree that they are?
I think to a large extent, I mean, they aren't. Like, Trump's reciprocal tariffs, the numbers that Trump says the EU is tariffing us are just an outright lie. If you actually look at, what the EU is tariffing us at, I think they tariff us at like an effective average rate of 1.64%. And that is practically nothing. To the extent that they have tariffs, it's in large part because special interests are able to effectively lobby democratic governments for tariffs in their industry. And, I can explain this to you, but I would encourage the audience just to look up, rational ignorance. Essentially, there's something that happens where, because the benefits of tariffs are so concentrated, for example, the U.S. sugar tariffs are a really good example of this. Sugar companies in the U.S. benefit a lot from tariffs because their industry is protected. And every consumer in the U.S. has to bear the cost, but because there's so many consumers in the U.S., right, the cost per consumer is very small. So there's something called rational ignorance, where it is actually perfectly rational for consumers not to care about the sugar tariff, because it is not worth the extra cost they pay in sugar each year to develop an understanding of the sugar tariff and then lobby Congress to get rid of the sugar tariff. So to a large extent, this is why other countries tariff us. And, it's notable that Trump specifically is lying to the extent at which these other countries tariff us. And it just, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. We have plenty of tariffs in other countries. Even pre-Trump, our effective average tariff rate was like 2-3%. And that's almost what, Japan, Europe, our close trading partners are charging us.
You noticed when Trump and the China thing in his first administration, Biden kept them. Why do you think he did that?
I think there's basically 2 reasons. One, there were plenty of tariffs that, Biden supported that I don't necessarily think were good. I'm not, I got Biden, but, behind me. I'm not, I won't defend every single thing he does. But I think, so I think part of it is he might have just, gotten bad advice, or he might just genuinely not understand why tariffs are bad. He might just have a genuine difference of opinion. But I also think, another part of it is these people basically, politicians don't want to look weak, because a lot of times what happens when you tariff another country, that country responds by putting up their own tariff. And then, these politicians, even if economically would be good to just remove our tariffs, they don't want to remove the tariffs without the other country also removing tariffs, because then they look kind of weak. They kind of look like a pushover. And they don't want that.
So it's sort of like how they do with the military and nuclear weapons, how they like mutual stand down or mutual armament, or how they arm up and down.
Right. Yeah. And I actually,
there is an element of diplomacy in these things, that I think part of what might be driving Trump is that a lot of the European leaders or international leaders are very hostile to him, and domestic as well, I suppose, but there's an ego element to this,
right.
Or pride.
I'll bring up that I think Trump is usually pretty hostile to other leaders, and I think the tariffs even, I think, are an example of him being hostile to these other leaders. But
I mean, like where I am at the moment, I'm based in Ireland, and half of our trade is with the United States, and half of our trade is with Europe. And tariffs will probably hurt us. to a degree. But I can kind of sympathize with the. I mean, there's a sentiment in the United States that when NAFTA and when the WTO and when they opened up trade with China, that hurt them. You know, it hurt the American economy, and it did.
Right.
I would agree it did. But I would also say that the economy has adapted and changed and developed over that time. You know, we're talking about a 30-year period. You know, so while I think a lot of American states, you know, were significantly hurt, other ones benefited, you know, from trade, you know, like the port cities and, you know, the Los Angeles and the New Yorks of the world. And I can see why economically, you know, it can make sense for an American corporation to outsource some work to Mexico or China or Canada, and that it's still not that negative a benefit to the, you know, it doesn't hurt the United States as much as it appears to certain people. I can understand that, right? But I can also understand that if you I only saw a part of your debate, but I saw you guys made an argument about fruit, you know, importing fruit to the United States. And I was kind of thinking, when I heard that, I was thinking of in the old days, you used to have the United Fruit Company, and now it's Chiquita or something it's called, you know, like for the bananas and things. And I know that they have since moved out of the United States. I mean, they're based out of Switzerland now.
So,
you know?
Right. So there's a few things I'll respond to. One, I don't entirely, I think you are right in saying that, you know, trade essentially has localized costs, but diffuse benefits. And sometimes you are right, it has concentrated benefits in like certain superstar cities. So it could be the case that, a factory is offshored and resources will be reallocated over time from the Rust Belt to, you know, sort of superstar cities on the coast and everything. But I think, I mean, it's just important to focus on what is best for the U.S. overall. And I think, generally speaking, that is free trade. And, you know, it is the case that there might be some towns that will lose factories because of trade. Again, I do believe a large portion of why factories closed down was automation and not trade. I think I think automation probably counts for at least 60% of it. But we just have to think of what's best for the U.S. overall. And I think trade has a lot of benefits in terms of, everyone in the U.S., for example, just getting access to cheap goods, businesses getting access to cheap goods, which means they can buy cheap inputs and make more goods, and then consumers save money. Consumers can spend that extra money in other sectors. There's just a lot of benefits from trade that we should take into account when we say this specific area is kind of getting fucked over a little bit. And there are transition costs, and I want to minimize them via, you know, some type of redistribution, some type of welfare
or
state.
Strategic investment.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Or strategic investment.
Well, I think I think the case for strategic investments is usually going to be in defense sectors, not necessarily just, not necessarily. I think it's my position basically be that we should a lot of times subsidize workers and not like subsidize the job. So if there's
I was reading some news in the United States this year. You know, a lot of American corporations are investing in the local economy, is what I'm getting at. You know, and I think that will have a good effect over the coming years for the United States.
Yeah.
You know,
so I mean, you will see headlines about, you know, companies investing, you know, X amount of money into wherever. So I think there's two important things to focus on. One is that the way tariffs are being rolled out right now is causing a incredible amount of uncertainty. Like business uncertainty is like literally higher, or at least was higher than COVID. Businesses don't know what tariffs are going to remain in place. They don't know what tariffs Trump is going to announce tomorrow, what exemptions Trump is going to announce tomorrow. And we know, we have studies on this, and it just makes sense also logically that uncertainty generally reduces business investment. So
it does, yeah. Confidence is key.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
I understand
that.
Yeah.
So if we
can
want
respect
businesses to invest locally, we should at the very least not roll out tariffs the way we're doing it now. It's totally insane. I think Trump is a lunatic for doing it this way. And I also think, you know, it's important to look at sort of the aggregate, right? Because I would say tariffs will cause, you know, no one is denying that tariffs, at least on final goods, will incentivize the production of that final good domestically. The important part is that it has cost in other sectors. It has cost not just to, you know, consumers who now have to pay more for goods. it has costs for other businesses. So, for example, if we buy less imported goods, that essentially means we're supplying less dollars to other countries. Because when we buy goods from China, if we have a trade deficit with China, basically we're supplying dollars to China, and China now has those dollars. If we start supplying less dollars to China or any other country because we start buying less imported goods, what happens is exchange rates appreciate. That's the dollar gets stronger relative to other currencies because the supply of dollars overseas is falling. And that means, for example, U.S. exporters are hurt because now other countries have to pay more for U.S. dollars. And it's also just, the easiest way to understand it is, tariffs basically tariffs can shift investment by shifting the relative profitability of other of industries. They can make making clothing relatively more profitable, but that makes other things relatively less profitable, right? That's why it's relative. Which that means you're drawing resources away from other sectors for this domestic investment, and you're not necessarily increasing like aggregate investment. I think that's the big thing to focus on. And I will add just one more thing. We should the reason that the market is good at, generally speaking, allocating what production should be done in the US versus what production should be done in other countries based on comparative advantage, economies of scale, the relative abundance of resources in each country. When we institute a tariff, domestic resources are going to produce something that could be imported for cheaper, whilst those domestic resources could have been used for something else. That is the opportunity cost. That is the deadweight loss. That is why this is bad.
I understand. Yeah, I can see that. There's also the factor of government spending, and the general economic state of the rest of the world, how their economies are growing or conflicts. I mean, Ukraine hurt people. The Ukraine war is a good example of, like that drove the oil prices up, or the relative tax position. I think what's your position on taxes, on corporate taxes? Do you think they should be higher or lower?
So it's weird because corporate income tax specifically, I would say we should get rid of in its entirety. I don't like corporate income taxes, but there's another type of tax called a destination-based cash flow tax, which is similar to a corporate income tax, but it's a lot better in that it basically allows for what's called immediate full expensing of capital investment. So basically you only right now there are like depreciation schedules where like if a company invests in X factory or whatever, they can like depreciate that factory over time, and that distorts decisions over how to invest. But a DBCFT just taxes the company's cash flow. At the end of the year, whether they have positive or negative cash flow, and in effect that allows for the what's called, again, full expensing of capital investments, meaning any money I spend building this factory is not going to be taxed, and I'm actually not even going to be taxed on my normal returns to it. So like if I spend $50,000 building a factory and I get $50,000 in revenue, I'm still not even taxed. I have zero cash flow, so like I'm not taxed on it. You only get taxed on your super normal returns above.
Yeah, I recall with Amazon. I remember they spent 10 years reinvesting all of their profits in expanding their business and not paying really any tax.
Yeah.
But they generated an awful lot of money. They became one of the biggest corporations in the world doing that.
Right. So, again, Amazon didn't pay like literally zero tax. The way corporate income tax works, if you don't have yeah, if it is true, like there are ways to get around it. You do, we don't try to tax investment with the corporate income tax, but again, because we have things like depreciation schedules where you can only depreciate your investments over longer periods of time, we essentially do end up taxing investment, and I think that's a really bad thing. And I do actually think it would incentivize companies to stay here, or at least headquarters here, if we did a DBCFT or really any type of destination-based tax, because currently we kind of have an origin-based tax system where we tax goods like based on where the company's headquartered and everything. And that means companies could do like a lot of shady things where they're like, we're actually a company based in the Bahamas, even though all our production takes place in the US and we sell everything.
Well, a lot of US corporations are headquartered in Ireland,
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys are a tax haven. Yeah,
it's a tax haven. Yeah.
And a DBCFT would kind of avoid those issues because the DB stands for destination based, meaning you're taxing goods based on where they are consumed. Essentially, you're taxing them not based on the origin of the country where they're headquartered, but based on the production that actually goes on in the U.S.
You see, what worries me about the economy is I think we can sort of agree on tariffs. Like this is a thing. Like I would support Trump, but I'm not I'm not saying he's perfect, and I'm not like what do you call it? I'm not fanatical. If you make a reasonable point, I'll agree with it. And I know from history that, especially with them, tariffs were introduced to protect local farms, but it hurt the U.S. economy. It's a short-term solution to a long-term problem. And free trade is the long-term solution that everyone needs, and a mutually beneficial trade agreement, especially with allied countries, is the best for both parties, and the United States is going to be the United States no matter what, I worry about China, long-term, but like I'm talking long term, they're still, I mean, as far as I can tell, they're still on coal power a lot of the time,
Yeah.
I believe the U.S. is largely on coal power, I believe, because we use coal to power our electrical plants. I personally think that we should go to nuclear power plants because they're more safe than anybody wants to give them credit for.
I used to be very anti-nuclear, but that was based on the older technology and the Chernobyl type thing, but things are much safer now. And I do, energy, nuclear, modern nuclear reactors are, and I believe the new, the Chinese have worked on a new Thor reactor, which is even cleaner and safer. Nice. That's a thing they could look into.
Yeah, I got to look into a lot of this kind of stuff just for personal queries. You know what I mean? Got to watch those queers, Anyways, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think the long-term effects or actually, what do you think the long-term goal would be for the tariffs? Do you think that the end goal is getting equal tariffs across the board with other countries, or do you think that they're being so spicy with the tariff announcements because they want to eventually just make them null, like zero across the board?
I mean, based on how these have been rolled out and based on like how many statements Trump's Trump will have Peter Navarro say something, and then Steve Bassett will contradict him, and then Howard Lutnick will come in and contradict them both, and then like we have footage of like one of Trump's advisors being informed on I think it was they're testifying in front of Congress when he got the like news that Trump had just announced a pause in tariffs. Based on all of that, I would say it just seems like there's no coherent plan coming from the Trump administration. It really does not seem like it. That's why, by the way, when Japan was over here to negotiate, they did not get a deal done. And Japan said, we were offering decent concessions to the U.S. It's just they did not have a clear goal. They didn't know what they wanted. And I think that's likely true. I don't think there's any coherent plan or strategy. I think Trump is a lunatic, and he has chosen economists to surround himself with who are, for some reason, willing to go with his lunacy.
Well, I mean, the guy's done stocks for a large part of his life. I think he's using a similar play, right? Because with stock market, sometimes you got to make last minute decisions. And with this, it's a mixture of stock and I think mob mentality in a way. Shane, what do you think?
You can appear mad, yet there can be method to the madness. I'm thinking of Khrushchev in the 60s. His goal was to get U.S. nuclear missiles out of Turkey. So he provoked the Cuban Missile Crisis, right? And that was very scary, in the short term. But in the end, you got a START treaty out of it that led to reduced nuclear proliferation and a kind of détente in the Cold War. I agree that I know the clip you're talking about, that the hearing when that news came out, and it's a very good clip actually. But I think a lot of this is like we're still in the first 100 and something days of the administration, so that's things are settling down, or they will settle down. I think we can start fairly. I think the left can start fairly attacking him now, depending on what happens in the next few months. Whereas in the first 100 days, you got to give him a little grace to set up the administration. I would agree that if he handles this poorly, he will get creamed in the midterms.
I think he's already handled it poorly. I think, quite frankly, I was skeptical. First of all, I was skeptical Trump would even follow through on, 10% universal tariff. And so far, it seems like he's done that. I was skeptical that, tariffs would be able to potentially cause a recession. I'm not saying we're in a recession yet. Personally, I was wrong about this quarter's GDP numbers. I thought that they would be positive. They ended up being negative. I thought, personally, I still think quarter 2 will be positive. I could end up being wrong, though. We'll see.
We'll see. I've heard him drop a quote, stick with me until September and you'll see. I've heard him say that a couple of times now.
I think Trump is just just looks for any excuse to try to deflect responsibility for what he's done, for all the uncertainty he's caused, all the reduced investment, or depending on how you measure it, reduced investment. I understand, because inventories have been built up, reduced investment is on paper gone up, but that's inventories front running the tariffs. I think Trump is just looking for a way to avoid responsibility. That's why he says it's
Would you agree that the full effect of his policy haven't been felt yet?
Yes, but that's what's really concerning to me, is that, even the Q1 GDP thing, that was before the Liberation Day tariffs were even announced. So
I saw
agree,
some analysis that said that
hold on, just real quick. I agree. Trump's tariffs have not had any of their major effects yet. That's why I'm so fucking terrified, because I think the effects, all the theory from textbooks and everything states this: tariffs, the effects of tariffs are negative. All the empirical evidence confirms it. The effects of tariffs are negative. That's why I'm so fucking scared that we genuinely could end up in a recession because of these tariffs.
Yeah, but recessions occur. I'm not so worried about recession. I'm worried about how recession is managed. Because we've had recessions before.
I actually agree with you there, which gets into Fed independence. I can talk a little bit about that. But like recessions, recessions don't just happen. There are causes behind them. Now, we don't always know the causes behind them and everything. But if there is a recession in the U.S., unambiguously, it is primarily because of Donald Trump's tariffs. That is unambiguously true. If there's a recession we know next quarter's GDP numbers are negative, unambiguously Trump's tariffs played a major role in that. And it's good. A recession is bad, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
Recessions are bad. But the last recession was caused over Democrat economic policy, as memory serves.
We're still exiting.
Was caused by COVID primarily.
Oh well,
we're still exiting that recession.
I wasn't talking about COVID. I was talking about 2008 crash type recession.
Hold on.
Was probably not caused by Democratic policy. 2008 crisis was caused by overly tight monetary policy.
Hey, you hold on too there,
If Fed had been
Scooby-Doo.
targeting NGDP, it wouldn't have happened.
Stone Mexican guy, guys.
The Clinton's 1996 policy.
In the chat, Stone Mexican guy says, there's been a recession since I turned 18, since Bush and Obama. I think I can kind of agree that they've been talking recession since I was in fucking middle school. They've been we're in a recession. It's okay, I get you.
Well, sorry. What I meant was
recessions. People are always predicting gloom.
Yeah, they're always predicting.
Turn out to be wrong most of the time, but again, most recessions don't happen because a president announced a bad policy.
But that's the problem, though, is that there's always somebody predicting bad stuff, and then you got the people that go out there and they take it at face value and go, you know what, that guy's right. That happened a lot during Trump's first administration, when they kept saying this is going to fuck up the economy. Well, why then, if the economy was destroyed by Trump the first time, why were things cheaper all the way up until the pandemic? And we should probably just call it the pandemic, I guess. But all the way up until that, and then during I almost call him Obama, Biden, I just watched everything get more and more expensive. And I mean, from computer hardware all the way to, of course, eggs.
Look, I mean, I don't think almost anything with that had to do with tariffs. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
primarily.
No, they didn't.
Right. So I think, if you look at the evidence from Trump's first term, first of all, I will say, Trump did not do that big a tariffs during his first term, but the tariffs
He
did
dropped
do,
a couple,
right.
though.
He
Just
did
not-
do, and I was just
not
about to
this-
say,
China
he
mostly,
did do-
This big. Not
yeah, it
this
was mostly
big.
on China and like all steel coming into into the U.S. But like, if you look at the tariffs he did do, a lot of those did increase prices. It did increase the price of washing machines. It did increase the price of steel.
How many could or did?
I mean, it's
certain things,
unambiguously
but
did,
it seemed
but-
like across the
yeah,
board
so-
things were getting more expensive during the last
Right,
administration.
So you're not wrong. Like
The last
inflation
person.
obviously
Yeah.
was lower under Trump's first term than it was under Biden. But look, first of all, I'm not convinced the president has much control over inflation generally. I think the economy was in a decent place during Trump's first term, and I don't think Trump did anything major to
Yeah.
fuck it up. I
You know
think
who
the
got
COVID,
lucky?
So I think
Was Clinton.
COVID caused. So first of all, under Biden, which COVID started under Trump, to be fair. First of all, we did see a negative supply shock. We did see factories in China close down. Factories all over the country closed down. Supply chains got clogged up, and that unambiguously caused some amount of inflation. Some amount of inflation was caused by supply shocks outside of Biden's control, outside of Trump's control. That is part of the reason inflation spiked under Biden, and that's inflation spiked globally. We saw inflation globally. Inflation was not localized to the
That's
U.S.
correct.
Inflation was everywhere because it was a global supply chain crisis. Secondly, also unambiguously, the Federal Reserve printed a lot of money during COVID. That had some effect on inflation. Again, outside of Trump's control, outside of Biden's control. Notably, I had this conversation with Trippy a little bit earlier. I remember most of the money printed.
Oh, hold on a
printed
sec.
under Trump.
I had a donation coming through. It's playing over you, so give it a sec. Sorry, I should have muted them. All right, sorry about that. That was P. Fletch donated, and my animation came up. He says, "Non-fun. How much of a Harry Sisson fanboy are you?" I don't know if he knows who Harry Sisson even is.
Free Harry Sisson. Free Harry Sisson. Can a man not chase a little tail these days? What the hell is going on?
I
with
will say-
wokeness these days. What the fuck? Free Harry Sisson. Free Harry Sisson.
I'll say that the guy comes off a lot more into dudes than I thought he was. Okay.
A man's private affairs are his own concern.
You know what?
That's what
I
I'm
really
saying.
don't care. Yeah. Like, I really don't care if he was talking to 20 and 30 women. I don't watch the guy, and I never knew who he was up until about a week before that went down. And I had seen a couple of his videos, and I'm like, well, whatever. I mean, he's over there doing his thing,
Right.
I mean, as long as it was consensual,
so
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. That's what's great. All of it was consensual. He just basically, at worst, you can say like, I think he may have insinuated to some woman. I haven't read over all the logs. I don't care that much. That like he was exclusive with them when he turned out not to be fully exclusive with them or whatever. But yeah, he's just. Can a man not have a few side hoes? But anyway,
Yeah, no. What's the world coming to?
unambiguously, supply shocks did have an effect on inflation. Monetary policy did have an effect on inflation. Most of the money that got printed was printed under Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not control that. He's not the head of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve makes those decisions independently. And unambiguously, the increase in deficit spending also had an effect on inflation. Now, there were two stimulus bills passed under Trump. Those were inflationary. Biden passed a stimulus bill as well. I'm not going to deny the American Rescue Plan probably had some effect on inflation.
Can I
The
get a
question
stimulus
is-
check?
So,
I want to know.
so hold on. There's just two questions we have to answer. One, what is the relative importance of these three factors? And I would say, I think deficit spending was probably about a third of inflation. I don't think it was much more than that, and that is the only thing really within the president's control. And the second thing we have to consider is, well, what did we get out of it? Well, the U.S. after COVID was in a really good position, partly because we, did deficit spending, we printed money, we did what we were supposed to do. We, stopped any demand slump from happening. Unemployment was under 3% or under 4% for like 20 something months straight or whatever. GDP growth, real GDP growth, so even inflation adjusted GDP growth was really higher than any other G7 country. And inflation was able to be brought down relatively quickly once the Fed started acting, inflation was brought down faster than a lot of other countries. So I think the U.S. ended up in a really good position post-COVID. I think we had a really good economy post-COVID for most of Biden's term, even despite the inflation. And Trump is nuking that with a bunch of tariffs.
Well, I think, hang on. Just give me a second with this. I think that after post-08, you had the Obama administration, right? And the recovery period, right? And I think a lot of what happened during that administration, especially the second term, gave Trump a bump in his administration. Not as big a bump as some would say, but then certain economic policies he enacted helped as well. And that was good, right? So that was some of what was the good economics of his first term. And then you had COVID, right? And COVID kind of brought, the international economy had just about recovered from 08 when COVID happened. So then we had another, and like you say, there were positive steps made. And I think the thing that what I felt hurt the U.S. economy was Biden on day one stopping oil production. That didn't help,
So Biden on day one, I think Biden canceled the Keystone pipeline. I think even that there's a little there's some nuances around. I've never looked into it, but I mean, look, I don't think holistically Biden was necessarily bad for energy policy. First of all, the Inflation Reduction Act approved a ton of subsidies for green energy, and I think green energy is just a good thing. And not only is energy good, but if we are going to make energy, we should probably have it be green. And Biden, when we needed to, did dip into the petroleum reserve to try to bring down the price of oil. Biden did go back on his promise to not approve fracking permits. Biden approved a ton of fracking. Biden approved more oil drilling permits than Trump did. So Biden, when he needed to, did absolutely say we need to drill oil. And that's why we became the #1 producer of oil and an energy independent nation under Biden.
I want all of the blood.
We still are the #1 producer of oil.
I want all of Earth's blood in our cars. That's what we need. Just empty this bitch.
Right, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Biden did when we needed to drill oil, and that's why we started drilling a fuck ton of oil.
What I noticed was when that pipeline was stopped, and he stopped drilling on federal land temporarily, at least. That had a negative. Then America was sort of. There was a short-term buying of oil from overseas, and that sort of raised the price on oil. And then you also had, a conflict internationally, which also escalated the price. The inflation was. I was talking to a guy who worked for Vanguard. He did, he was noticing that the official inflation rate, and the actual inflation rate that most American households are feeling are two different figures,
Well, what do you mean by that? I think there's I think people play a lot of games with alternative inflation metrics, and most of them are pretty bad. I think the official metrics of CPI and PCE usually do a pretty good job, and I actually think CPI overestimates inflation a lot of times. But
yeah, I just you gotta ask, I know it's hard for certain people to understand, because the relative value of currency and then the general inflation. I'm just saying, a lot of people were hurt by inflation in the last term, or the last administration, and I'm not one of these people that it's all his fault or it's all X fault. And there's multiple factors that come into this. I'm just saying, a lot of people big business is one thing, but then there's the average family, which is another,
right. And I mean, again, the relevant question is, there are the relevant two questions are, how much is Biden responsible? To which I said, from the reading I've done, which, there's endless discussion among economists over how much inflation was caused by the Fed versus supply shocks versus deficit spending. But from the reading I've done, I'd say 30%, maybe even less, of inflation was caused by deficit spending. And then what did we get out of it? Again, unemployment was really low. Wage growth, even real wage growth, was really strong, especially for the lowest income earners. Now, measuring real wage growth and real income growth is actually a lot harder than you might expect. So I'm not comfortable saying that wages outpace inflation holistically, but certainly for the bottom 10-20% of people, it seems like they did get a decent wage boost during COVID. There was a really tight labor market post-COVID, and that did benefit a lot of people. And again, I just think at the end of Biden's term, the economy was in a good place. Partly due to his policies, so partly just because the economy sort of naturally recovers, and because the Federal Reserve acts independently as well. And Trump again is nuking that. He's nuking that. He's throwing a wrench in all of it for no good reason.
Well, I want to know.
I see him. No, I agree. He's throwing a wrench. I definitely agree with that. But I don't, and I can see that it can go very badly. Right, I agree with that. Right, but I'm not comfortable being assured that it's going to go badly, and I'm not saying there. I think there could be a solution midway through this thing. Like when cooler heads prevail. Because if
So, I mean, first really, I'll say he's already done a lot of damage. Like, there's already been we already have a negative GDP print for quarter one. Now, it actually, maybe I'm too optimistic. It actually would not surprise me if, later revisions show GDP in quarter one was actually positive. It wouldn't surprise me. But he's already done a fuck ton of damage. Quarter two could actually be worse. We're going to see, from my understanding, I'm not a supply chain expert. It seems like it may already be too late to avoid shortages in the summer, simply because a lot of ports right now in Seattle and LA are simply empty, or have 60% reduced output going through them, or input coming in. And it takes a while from ships to get to China, and then it takes even longer once the goods arrive at a port to get to Texas, to get to the East Coast.
I mean, I've noticed something in shipping.
Very well could see shortages right now. There are still intermittent shortages for COVID related, in Europe, in certain groups. Right, but here's the COVID was not caused by a lunatic saying I'm going to, unless lab leak, or maybe who knows, but COVID in the US was not caused by Joe Biden or Donald Trump saying I'm going to tank the economy. This is
no, I don't blame Biden for COVID. I do believe.
I'm just pointing out to you there is a difference between a real shock caused by something outside of our control, and a policy decision made by a president, essentially unilaterally.
Well, a lot of people would argue that it's more of an economic reset. So, we want to change the way that things are done. And it's been said by multiple presidents that we need to fix the tariff issues. I know for a fact that Obama mentioned it quite a few times. And he even mentioned reciprocal tariffs back when he was president. He didn't go through with it like this, but even at the time, hell, the internet wasn't as prominent. You know what I mean? There wasn't as much new media. Hell, it might have just been starting, if it was starting at all. And there's a lot more coverage of this kind of thing going around YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. You know what I mean? There's a lot more coverage of it, so it's right in your face almost no matter where you go. Plus, the Trump administration loves using internet media, social media sites and stuff like that. They love posting things. They love doing, memes, all that stuff. They're trying to use it to their advantage. And obviously, the previous administration was kind of, they were dipping their toe, but they weren't doing it to this degree. And I would just say, if you're of my opinion, which I think is founded on a lot of good economic theory and a lot of good empirical evidence, that trade increases growth, trade increases wages, trade increases job opportunities. The end goal of this reset or whatever is just going to be the United States being overall more poor. It's going to be wages in the United States being lower than they otherwise would have been. And I also say, I would just everyone in the audience, and you guys should do this, just look up the graph of the effective average tariff rate. I'm not going to deny Democrats have never done tariffs or never talked about tariffs or anything. I'm sure Obama has, but look at the line. It's really big around 1870s. It kind of goes down. It kind of spikes during Smoot-Hawley, the Great Depression, and then it goes down, and then it stays at less than 5% for decades, until Donald Trump recently, when it shoots right back up to almost Smoot-Hawley levels. This is an insane, unprecedented, fucking chaotic decision made by Donald Trump unilaterally.
This is not something Democrats would have ever approved of. That's not something even most Republicans now approve of. It's just that they're too cucked out to actually vote against it. But I guarantee you, if it was an anonymous Senate vote,
the problem is,
it would be
hang on,
95 senators against the tariff.
just like in the 1920s, right? You had the post-World War I situation, right? And then you had tariffs. Was it the Taft Act? Wasn't it? Under Taft, President. No, it was, who was the president in the 20s? It was Harding, and then Taft, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Well, are you talking about the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act? Is that
I remember when tariffs were introduced to protect the American agriculture economy, it was like a 40% tariff rate, and it was very bad. And then you had the Wall Street crash, which, there was a post-war situation, a series of issues that led to uniquely tariffs being bad, that was not present afterwards. And I agree that I would argue that, I don't disagree that tariffs like that are bad, right? I just think that there is a trade deficit the United States has. What is it? It's $100 billion a year deficit.
With what country? With everyone?
Internationally, goods coming in and out.
So I think our trade deficit with everyone is like $3 trillion a year. I think it's about 3% of GDP or something. I think it's but why do we think that? Here'd be my question. The U.S. also runs capital account deficits. Do you think we should try to fix that too?
Yeah, I think there's multiple problems that need fixing.
Right. So
I think
so. No. So look, I mean, the one of those accounts has to be in deficit. So the inverse. Dollar for dollar, the inverse of the trade deficit is a.
You mean balance of payments, right?
The way to exactly, the balance of payments. So the way to think of this is when we give other countries our dollars, with trade deficits, that money doesn't really leave the country because. Dollars just aren't very good in China. Dollars are not very good in France. They're
only good for petrodollars, really.
What happens is these countries they can either buy a U.S. good, in which case we don't have a trade deficit because it's, good for good, or they buy U.S. assets, in which case we have a trade deficit, but we have a capital account surplus because investment is flowing into the United States. And I even think there's a problem with saying that the trade deficit is associated with this flow of goods, because I think it's actually, I think it could be the case. It definitely, plausibly could be the case. And I think there's evidence to support this to an extent. It's the case in the U.S. The trade deficit can actually be determined by capital flows. If the U.S. is a good place to invest in, which we are, the U.S. equities have a higher rate of return than European equities, Japanese equities, a lot of Chinese equities. People will naturally want to invest in the U.S. We also have a lot of safe assets. The U.S. Treasury bonds are deemed to be pretty safe because our government is pretty stable and we're a rich country. Up until recently,
there has been a lot of recent.
Hold on, just real quick to finish this point. If a ton of people want to invest in the U.S., that means we're going to end up running a capital account surplus, which means by necessity trade deficits. Those aren't a bad thing. Trade deficits can be mutually beneficial. As a capital account surplus can be mutually beneficial. Investment is a good thing. U.S. companies and businesses being able to buy the goods they want is a good thing. There's no reason to think these are per se bad things.
Yeah, and a certain level of debt isn't necessarily the end of the world. It can be a good thing, not like the level that we have, currently now. But there was something I wanted to say about what I'm worried about is that I think we have bigger problems than tariffs. I see war coming. I'm noticing, $800 billion in extra spending in European defense sectors. I'm looking at Poland getting ready to mobilize. There's a conflict coming. It might not be in the next 4 years. I'm just saying, but there is trouble on the horizon, and that's a bigger problem.
Shane and Van, both y'all. I actually heard, I don't remember who the hell I was watching that mentioned this, but a possible war between Pakistan and India. In the near future.
They've been hostile since day one.
Well, they've got kind of they've got kind of
Kashmir.
a god damn, what do you call it? Fucking basically it's like a Jewish state and non-Jewish state kind of thing, just like with Iran and am I naming the right fucking places?
India is Hindu mostly, and Iran is Islam, or Pakistan is Islam.
Right. So Islamic State, non-Islamic State, whatever it is, non-Jewish. But yeah, I heard that they might end up going to fisticuffs. That'd be kind of funny.
They have gone to war several times.
I say let them go ahead and do it. We don't need to step our toe into that. They can just go ahead and bomb each other, shoot each other. It's fine.
Well, no, that would hurt. That would hurt because India is one of the biggest economies in the world. Yeah,
that's fine. It's fine. We don't need any more doctors. Anyway,
Well,
Spirit in the chat.
Say,
well, Spirit in the chat brings up a good point though.
Oh.
After non-fun's done here.
Oh,
shoot
sure.
it up.
So I do believe that there's very good reasons to believe that, the tariffs and especially the way Trump is doing them is undermining our national security and undermining our ability to have relationship with allies like, Japan and Europe and Korea, who would be useful in any confrontation against China or even as strategic allies against India and Pakistan. Because he's no one's going to want to work with the U.S. if we rip up the trade agreements we already have with them and impose insane tariffs on them and fuck them over. That's not conducive to a good relationship with our allies. And I do again believe that these universal tariffs hurt manufacturers by appreciating exchange rates, by the retaliatory tariffs placed on us, and by the increased cost for importing goods that U.S. manufacturers need. So I'd say that.
Well, I've heard everybody argue from tariffs are the best thing in the world. Of course, that's more of a Trump thing. But I've also heard people argue it's not the business that pays for it; it's the consumer. I've heard people say that it's not the consumer; it's the business. You know what I mean? Like I've heard both sides.
Well, yeah. So
Spirit brings up in the chat. He says before we had income tax, everything was paid for with tariffs.
Mm.
So that's
right. So
prior to a lot of things.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about tariff incidents for a second, tariffs are paid by people living in the U.S. Right? If a company imports a good, they're the ones sending over the money to the treasury. They may or may not choose to pass that added cost onto the consumer.
Right.
A lot of times they do. It depends. That depends on a lot of things. But they are at the end of the day paid by U.S. companies. There maybe sometimes there may be exporters in other countries that are essentially willing to lower the cost of their goods to try to negate some of the effect of the tariff. But the empirical evidence is pretty clear on this. They don't seem to be willing to do that generally. It seems like the people in the U.S., pay up. The incidence is like 90% people in the U.S. These companies may lower prices 10% or whatever, but it just does not negate the effect of the tariff. And by the way, just if the tariffs aren't paid by people in the U.S., then how are they having this effect of bringing manufacturing back? If people don't have to pay more for foreign goods, people are going to continue buying foreign goods. So like you negate the possible benefits of bringing manufacturing back. But responding to the income tax point, I mean, look. So a big reason why the U.S. had tariffs instead of income tax, and a lot of developing countries still have tariffs now, higher tariffs now, is because it's just a lot of times when we have low state capacity. It's just relatively easy to keep track of things coming into your country and like charge a tax at ports rather than calculating the income of everyone in the country, right? It doesn't mean that tariffs may not be a more efficient tax than income tax. They might just be easier to implement. Secondly, whatever problems you have with income tax, and I don't like income tax personally, it does not incite other foreign countries to retaliate. No country puts tariffs on the U.S. because we have income tax. They will put tariffs on us because we tariff them. That's a downside that basically only tariffs have. And also, when we funded everything with tariffs, federal government spending was like 3% of GDP. You might want to reduce federal government spending now, which is at like 18% of GDP. I think it's 26% of GDP. But, that's going to require a lot more painful cuts to things that people like. That's not going to be useful. It's not going to be... That's way more politically harder than just doing these tariffs and not cutting spending, right? Like,
as far as I know, income tax was temporary emergency measure to help pay for the Napoleonic Wars in Europe, you know. And I think governments, once they get a new power or a new tax, they don't like giving it back, you know.
No, once they get money, they don't just give it back or stop taking it. No, yeah, you're right. Like once the government charges more money for something or gets more money, they're not going to just give it right up. I think we'd all agree on that because there's greed.
I also will add real quick.
Yeah. Ed, go ahead,
just
Ed.
real quick. I forgot to mention. You know, income tax is progressive, so rich people pay more. Tariffs are regressive, so in effect, poor people end up paying more, partially because a flat tax will be regressive just based on marginal utility, or just based on the fact that, like, you know, a flat tax is a flat tax on a good. If it increases the price of a good by $1, that's a higher percentage of a poor person's income than it is a rich person's income, so it is still regressive. And secondly, poor people just import more good, or just buy more imported goods, so they end up being affected more by this. And it's important to mention, like, you know, the bottom 50% of people just do not pay that much in income tax. Like the average is like $600 in income tax for the bottom 50% of people. You know, the standard deduction is like $14,000 or whatever. But these are people who would be paying a lot in tariffs. So, you know, if we get it, certainly it is distributionally negative to say, get rid of the income tax and put tariffs in place. You know, that's going to...
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think like 75% of taxes, of all tax revenue, is paid by the top upper percent, isn't it?
I don't know the exact percentage, but we have a pretty progressive tax and transfer system in the U.S., despite what the ultra woke lefties will say.
Yeah, like our billionaires pay an ass load in taxes, or they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I will say they do have a point when it comes to, like, you know, the top 400 people in the U.S. or whatever. You know, a lot of those billionaires kind of can get around paying taxes just because of the, you know, the buy, borrow, die, you know, quote unquote loophole. And there are solutions to that. You know, there are consumption taxes you can do that I think would be a solution to that. But listen, you know, here would be an argument I would make, actually, is that consumption taxes do tax rich people when they consume goods. And I think a value-added tax is going to raise, even just a 5% value-added tax is going to raise about as much revenue as 10% universal tariffs, without these distortionary negative effects that tariffs have, and without retaliation. Like,
we have value-added tax in Europe,
right? Like, I don't think there's a coherent argument to be made that tariffs, you know, 10 or 20% universal tariffs would be better than a 5% VAT. I think that's absurd.
And there's also, you know, like I think you refer to it as a consumption tax, you know, like on sugar products, you know, yeah, like, you know, like Coke and McDonald's or something costs, you know, they put like 15, 20 cents on it, you know, extra, or, you know, but that's more like a government health policy to try to get people to use less sugar.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, those are, you know, sin taxes, like, you know, Purgovian taxes, externality taxes. And I think those are an efficient type of taxation, right? Like, there, you know, might be maybe moral implications of doing it sometimes or whatever. But I think generally we should try to raise as much revenue as we can from, firstly, what are called like resource rents, taxing economic rents, which are essentially unearned economic payments, you know, because, like, let's say, you know, supply of natural resources is fixed, and also nobody created natural resources, therefore, like, it seems kind of is unproductive. It's not a valuable thing to earn any money for extracting resources beyond the cost of extracting them. That's why, you know, Norway has like a socialized oil company, and that company takes its profits and invests in what's called a sovereign wealth fund. That fund grows over time, and, like, it's used to pay out pensions. Australia has a similar system, kind of. I think they have a, like, windfall profits tax on resource extraction. I forget exactly where that money goes, but I think you should fund as much possible by taxing resource rents.
I believe the Norwegian pension is like, they've got like 5 trillion, you know, for, you know,
like, it's huge. They have like 300,000 for every person in Norway. I think it's incredible.
There's one thing I noticed about Australia. It seems to have a tariff on luxury goods, you know, like imported cars. It's a huge tariff. I mean, if you import like a Range Rover, you know, $100,000 Range Rover, like, they charge you $100,000 to import it. Yeah, huge.
I mean, there are there's something called an expenditures tax. who
I had a
which
buddy
is
that
basically
wanted
type
to.
of progressive consumption tax.
Well, I don't know how into cars you guys are, but I had a buddy that wanted to import. What was it? I want to say it was a 2000 Nissan Skyline. He wanted to import one from Japan to Australia, and he, jumped through all the hoops and talked to all these people on the phone, and he ended up getting I think a lady on the phone. I don't know, but she basically told him the best way to import that car into Australia is to have it cut in half and then brought to you in the two pieces, and then you try to weld it back together, and then there you go, you got your car. And he was like, wait, is that the one way to do it? And she goes, that is the one way to do it. You have to have the car brought in basically two pieces. And he was like, well, what do you mean, like taken apart? And she goes, no. And he's like, do you mean cut through the frame of the car in half? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, long ways or short ways? Also, there haven't been enough bants, I guess, going back and forth between you two. The chat has gotten upset. So Cotton Ministry says, this non-fun guy sounds like a transitioning troon. He's making fun of your voice.
True. Accurate. How do you know? True.
And the panel verse says, pizza face non-fun, the greasy punk. That should be the name of one of your streams. Just to fuck with people.
Hates me, and I don't know what I did to him. He's coming to my chat a few times. I've seen him.
He plays around.
He
plays around. That's
right. He was friendly to me for a while. I really don't know what I did to him, but
I don't know. I try to have mutual respect. I don't know if I think Panelverse does have a channel. Yeah, and he posts clips from different panels.
Channel.
Yeah. He posts clips from different things. We got about 5 minutes, and we'll switch to open panel. So if you guys want to,
one thing that we do over here, is a lot of government tax revenue comes from alcohol and cigarette taxes. Mm-hmm. We get like they fund our health service.
I have
like I said earlier, I think the first thing you should start doing for revenue is just start looking at resource rents, and then I think you should go to externality taxes. Taxing things that are what we consider kind of like socially bad, maybe the emissions of carbon or sugar, which makes people fat, or cigarettes, which have these negative effects. And then you can start looking at, consumption taxes. And tariffs are just a really, really bad tax. They don't really fit into any of those categories. They do tax consumption, but they also end up taxing investment, and they can reduce labor supply by reducing the after-tax return to investment. They're just a bad tax.
Yeah, your best friend in the chat. Non-Fon's best friend in my chat says... sorry, Shane. Non-Fon's best friend in my chat, though, he says, fuck you, Non-Fon, take a shower. That's Panelverse. That's Panelverse. He's being spicy boy. So much. Sorry, Shane.
It seems like... no, look, I would like us to get to alternative energy, and I would like us to in a good way. I see a lot of, they're chopping down forests to build solar farm, or they're buying up local small holding farms to try pull farmers out of business. Yeah. I don't like that. And I see wind. As far as I can tell, like they're only capable of generating like 10-11% of the need at the moment. That might change in the future.
I'm not a green energy expert, and it feels like we basically all agreed on nuclear energy earlier. I think nuclear energy we should start looking more into as well. But people have done calculations of this. Like, obviously, there is a carbon footprint for building windmills and for building solar panels, but it seems like even taking into account like the maintenance of windmills, you get 10-20 years of windmills, obviously with maintenance, but getting you carbon-free energy, that's just not something you get with like non-renewable sources. So it seems like over time they usually pay back their carbon debt or whatever. And
I've noticed that oil, for example, has gotten much cleaner in recent years. Over the last 20 years than it used to be.
That's true. It might be, but
they use synthetics and stuff like that too. And look, I don't think that we're quite ready for like the Green New Deal, right? Remember that? Everybody was throwing a fit about it, and they're like, 2030. Well, even that's too soon, because we have to slowly start actually, putting something into it. We don't have to just like I'm not for like canceling any kind of green energy. I don't want that. But it's like I think for some reason a lot of politicians are trying to make it look like they're rushing to do as much green stuff as possible. And it's like, well, we don't have the infrastructure in a lot of places. Like California often has like rolling blackouts because they don't have enough electricity to supply to everything, and running electric vehicles in that state. I think it's, I want to say California has like the most electric vehicles, but I could be wrong. But I do know that a lot of it wouldn't me either.
They also have the most people. So,
right. So it's like, if you're going to run all the electric vehicles, that's going to pull on the electric, the grid. You know what I mean? It's going to put more strain on it, as well as air conditioners and so on. And, well, when they would have like power outages and for gas stations, they'd be running the fucking, the charging stations off of, gas powered generators. So it's like, even if you're running an electric vehicle, you're still burning up gas. That's kind of asimine. And it's like, we're just not ready. Yeah.
I can't speak to California specifically, but like, I will say, if you really any type of energy, they rely on imported equipment, and tariffs are going to tax that equipment. Seems like also, a bad thing. Seems like that would. Yeah.
A lot of people want to argue about like, oh, we need less carbon emissions. We are carbon-based life forms. What does that mean in the long run? To like the weirdos, like the conspiracy theories, man. I love the conspiracy theories because it's like, oh, let's get rid of all the carbon stuff. Okay, well, we're people. We're kind of included in that.
There's no conspiracy. The position is,
I love the conspiracy
CO2
theories.
Emissions because of the greenhouse effect. There's no conspiracy.
Yeah,
no, I'm saying like
the problem with the science on that is that the science is bad. And the estimates, like I'm talking like in the last 6 months, new research has shown that their models are like bad. They're like, they've overestimated the damage by like 50%. It's not nearly as bad.
What do they say, that we put out so much pollution that we're putting out about 7 billion times what we thought the planet could handle?
Yeah, I mean, no, like the temperature is not only is it not warming, it's cooling. There were, and this is the third time they've been wrong. I mean, because when I was a kid, and even before I was a kid,
global warming.
Right? Yeah, it was a global ice age. Then it was global warming, and now they're saying. There was the ozone layer, and then they sort of fixed that, and then it transitioned to climate change. It's funny, like you can see
the ozone layer was fixed because of public policy. It was fixed because
I agree.
Literally,
the hole in the ozone layer, and it's going to turn you into cancer. You're going to become cancer.
It would have if we didn't act.
And then, everybody was like, you know what? Axe body spray. That's that's everybody put on 2 gallons.
It was largely because of whatever refrigerants that we were using at the time, I think. I forget what the type.
Yeah, they called them CFCs, I think.
Yeah, and those
Rion.
Those had negative effects on the ozone layer, and public policy acted in such a way to mitigate that effect, and to an extent,
unleaded petroleum products.
We've made a decent amount of progress on climate change. We started switching to renewables. I just support continuing that transition.
I read recently that the surface of vegetative land, that's good for farmland in the world has grown by 20% in the last 20 years. Thanks to, the models being wrong, and certain environmental policies have, to try counteract negative results in the past, have helped.
Well, we got a dono from Mr. P. Fletch. He says, man-made climate change is a lie. Earth, gonna Earth. We're just along for the ride. Now, I tend to agree with George Carlin. George Carlin said in one of his stand-up specials that, everybody says that plastic's bad for the Earth, and that this and that the Earth can't produce it. Well, maybe Earth produced humans so that we would make plastic so that Earth could have it. And there you go. I agree with George Carlin. Taking care of business is here. I take care of business. Also, we're going to move into the into the open panel portion. So yeah, I mean, I'm still new to setting up these debates, so I'll put the link out there. If anybody wants to join, you'll be in the back for a little bit, and then I'll introduce you all up. So go ahead, continue with your gay little discussion that you guys made me do on my live stream. God, even though I reached out to both of you.
I just think it's good to talk about these matters civilly without necessarily resorting to like screaming matches and fighting with each other. That's unnecessary. You know,
Look at
and
non-fans
I
already
understand.
ready to
Like,
get
I'm
yelled
not
at.
like, you know,
Yeah.
non-fan is an economics, you know, student, so like he knows more about this, or you know, graduate, you know, so you know more about this subject than I do, right? So I'm not going to like pretend to be an expert, and I'm not also going to be like completely partisan and just attack the other side, because there's good points on both sides. I think that in all economics there's trade-offs, you know, in all public policy there's trade-offs, you know.
I mean, I'll mostly agree with that, yeah. But the position would just be that tariffs, obviously, you know, how overwhelmingly negative trade-off, essentially.
Yeah, it's a short-term band-aid for a long-term problem, you know. But
Well,
I
would, you know, I think.
Well, I would agree that I think that we need a massive infrastructure investment. We need to future-proof the economy, or the investment, our infrastructure, our roads, our electricity. You know, everything needs a lot of work.
That's what Biden did. My man, Biden infrastructure bill. It wasn't as expensive as I would have liked, but
Were
that
you
was
a
mostly because
Bernie
Republicans.
supporter though? I meant to ask you that before, or no?
No, I mean, so I don't. You know, I'm a left-leaning guy, so like, I don't hate Bernie or anything, but I think Bernie has some kind of kooky ideas that I don't necessarily agree with.
Okay.
For example, a wealth tax I don't agree with. He has ideas of, you know, putting farmers on the Federal Reserve. I think that was a stupid thing. I just the more populist policies of his I don't particularly like. And I think he plays into a lot of populist rhetoric that's just wrong, like saying a bajillion, quadrillion % of people are working paychecks to paychecks. That's just not really supported by the data. But
It's
like, I don't
at
hate him.
least-
I would vote for him over Trump. I would vote for him over most Republicans right now. So.
Oh, that's fine. I don't have anything to say like super against Bernie. I don't really like him on a personal kind of level. Like he's like the oligarchy, and we got to fight against the oligarchy. And AOC is my bitch. Yeah,
Right.
I don't like half of them
do-
people based on what I've seen from their personalities. But that's a lot of
here's
politicians.
part of my issue.
Some of them are
with
sticks in the
Bernie is
mud.
that I think a lot of the things that him and AOC are saying on that tour are, you know, I agree with a lot of it. I don't agree with some other things, and I think they again are playing in a populist rhetoric that is usually a lot of times just wrong and supports bad policies. But I like they're the ones fighting against Donald Trump right now. It just doesn't seem like we have like we don't have like these moderate Democrats really like trying to stand up to Trump as much. And I
feel like there's no fight to be had. The guy's already president. It's like you guys can go ahead and fight, but like pick something that doesn't seem like it's for your own personal gain. Like, in my opinion, I would ask them personally. Like, if I had any of them on my show, right, I would be like, all right, AOC, why do you dislike Trump so much? And how come you guys, none of the people on their side have said anything to the anything, they've shown no proof or anything like that they're not just supporting USAID and DEI for their own benefit. They've not said anything about USAID. They've not said like, hey, that policy or that thing that USAID was doing was because of such and such. Like, none of them have come forward, right? But then you see all the claims from Doge, and it's like, okay, you know, they got shit to back it up. They got a website devoted to it, a Twitter page devoted to showing you what they're doing.
So, I mean, Doge specifically removed information from that website to make it harder for, I believe the New York Times had an investigation saying, hey, we looked into these programs that, you know, Doge reported to cut on their website. And it turns out like they did not save nearly as much money as they thought, as they say that they did, because these programs were already like partially paid out or whatever. And
well, that's
Doge
to be
removed that information to make it harder for these investigations to continue. That's not transparency. It's the opposite of transparency. Like,
still,
that's insane.
It's still more transparency than we saw from the other side. Like, it's still more transparency than we see from the other side, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Inspector General is an independent agency. Obviously, they're independent. They're not partisan. But they release reports. They audit the Federal Reserve and release reports. They audit Social Security and release these reports. And the reason we know that Doge was lying, for instance, about the number of dead people getting payments on Social Security is because the independent Inspector General's report, actually knows the number of people receiving these payments. Like,
well, yeah, there was another point about that there's so, you know, when they said there were people that are 120 years old, you know, that there's a cutoff that's in the legislation that people aren't aware of. You know, like you can't get it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not just that though. They you know, they said like, I forget, I think they lied about the number of people being on it, but they also like they implied that all of them were getting payments, but like
They do imply that.
I think
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think there was a cutoff at like I think 115 years of age, but they suggested that like even people over 100 were getting payments when like I don't know. I think it's 98% of people who are super old on Social Security don't receive payments anymore. Like even when they're below the cutoff age.
Somebody in my chat thought you were wearing a cardigan.
The education, the way that education money was being spent. You know, like 75% of the education budget was not going to students.
Do you mean the Department of Education?
Yeah.
So
no, it's being spent. It's just not reaching students.
Well, what I would so the biggest thing the Department of Education does is like manage student loans. So like I don't know if they're referring to like most of the Department of Education's budget does not go to like K through 12 schools. It goes to like giving students loans. So I don't know. They could be referring to that, but like that's still
well,
money
as far as
efficiently. And actually,
in many countries. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the Department of Education is actually a like pretty efficient department. I think it has you know, for every dollar you spend in the Department of Education, I think, you know, 3.4% of that is spent basically on administrative cost, and the rest of it goes, you know, to students, or if not to students, it's at least you know, spent. And that's relatively low administrative cost even compared to other agencies. And then the funding for the, you know, staffers in the DOE, that's funded separately than the actual appropriations to like the students and everything. So like if you reduce the staff of the DOE, you know, you're not spending more money on students, you're just not paying staffers as much, or you're just you know, that money I think just has to go back to Congress unless they raise the salaries of the people.
Like they got rid of the student loan debt forgiveness thing. That's off the table. Department of Education, that's already closed down. And I don't see people like in the streets begging for money to go to school. So,
well, look. So number one, the Department of Education has not been fully shut down yet. They did do firing cuts, but as an agency created through Congress, you know, Trump can't really unilaterally shut that down as much as he might like. They did cancel some of the student loan forgiveness stuff, and like, you know,
I know I saw people crying about it. It's like, well, it wasn't forgiven yet. It was just on hold for I think 2 years. And they came down with the number that like
was forgiven. I think
it's 60% of people that were on the temporary hold didn't make one single payment. So it's like you were still supposed to pay into it.
That was always unconstitutional. Biden didn't have that power.
No. So
he went around the Supreme Court.
There was the original plan that was struck down by the Supreme Court, and then Biden did a more limited plan under a different law.
He used the War Powers Act, didn't he?
I don't know if it was the War Powers Act, but whatever it was never challenged in the courts and, you know, shut down before he left office at least. But I believe it was forgiven, and I think the GOP I believe they literally uncanceled it. I think Trump wants to literally have people pay back what they thought was forgiven. Like that seems unhinged. I don't think
it wasn't forgiven.
I don't think it should ever have been forgiven. I don't think it should ever have been forgiven.
Well, I understand that, but
yeah, it wasn't forgiven. It was just on hold. So it's like, okay, you don't have to pay it right now, but you probably should. That's kind of what they were doing.
I believe Trippy's right. It was on hold. It was on hold.
I'm going to bring up this person called Communist. I'm not sure who this is, but you're getting brought up, so you might want to come off of mute. Let's see what's happening. Communist. I'm also going to do one of these where I have a little square over them. All right. They're not talking. Can I unmute them? Can I? Yes, because they chose to mute themselves. Welcome.
What's up?
Hello. Non-phone. Why do you platform what's his name? Sample text. Why do you platform sample text?
Sample text is my friend. He's my buddy. I think he's a cool dude. I have no. First of all, my platform is very small. Like, there's no tangible negative effect of me platforming an internet rando. But like, I enjoy talking to him. I think he's smart. I think he's funny.
He's literally a admitted genocide lover and Zionist.
So he lives in Israel to an extent,
Yes.
to the extent that
Yes.
believing Israel has a right to exist makes you a Zionist. He is a Zionist.
Yes.
He's not a
Hang on.
genocide lover.
How can he be a Zionist and not a genocide lover? It's the same thing.
Hang on, just is Trippy okay with this conversation? Just because it's algorithm dangerous.
Wait, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to say, if you're going to call people
Oh,
Zionists
care more
and you
about
have no
money
proof,
than about human people than about human lives. You care more about money or typical lip. You're
What?
so
You-
lips. All
hold
three
on,
of you
hold
are
on.
disgusting lips.
let me handle this here. Dude with
Trippy
communist as your
Cast,
name. People that live stream are not like rich. Okay, we don't just make money because
I
we're
don't care if
live.
you're rich. It's more important. Human
I don't
lives are
care
more
if you're
important.
rich. It's too important. Hey, non-fun. You shouldn't platform people you like because your platform is you're gonna make them famous.
That's true.
Yes,
You're gonna make them
exactly.
so famous.
Exactly.
No, probably not. At least right now. Non-fun's probably gonna blow up bigger than my channel. But
It
Yeah,
doesn't
look.
even matter if they are famous or not. You shouldn't even give any platform to people like this.
well, I mean, I don't feel like I need to platform you either, do I?
No, you not need. But you are a fucking liberal.
Who's a what now?
You are a fucking liberal.
No, I'm not.
You just admitted that you think money, profit is more important than human lives.
Did I?
He didn't say that.
That's funny that you would
just
come to
said,
me and call me a
"Oh,
fucking liberal.
These are dangerous topics for
Look at you over
monetization."
here. These are dangerous topics. Do you let the women around you show ankle, or are you afraid of that?
What? Why are you distracting from the topic right now?
I'm asking
You
you
are
a
a
question
liberal.
about you because I don't know you.
Yes, it's not important to the topic. You are.
Do
literally
you
a
believe
liberal.
in Sharia law?
The real law? I don't believe in the real law. No.
Sharia law, not the real law. The
What's
fuck are you
Sharia
talking
law?
about? Sharia
What's
law.
Sharia law?
That's probably something your mom got
Islamic
beat over.
law.
Bro, you don't even know what Sharia law. It's a tautology. Sharia means law in Arabic.
Okay, law.
You say law. Do you believe in law?
Do you believe in
It's
law?
really
Do you believe in Sharia law? And you know what I'm talking about.
No, what's Sharia law?
He
It's fucking
doesn't
law.
believe in Sharia law.
Law,
He's
law.
like a tanky communist dude. He's in my chat a lot of times saying liberalism is dead. Like
Oh, he's sitting in your chat just crying and bitching because he has nothing else to do with his time.
Liberalism is that,
Yeah.
and that's what you can see from you three, TrippyCast, Shane, and Non-Fun.
If you
Because
watch
do
my
a
channel for more than
church
5 minutes,
debate with
I think
three
you would
liberals,
realize I'm not a liberal.
Of course,
Neither am I.
You just admitted that you think
Your
profits
name
are
is
more important
communist,
than
for
human
fuck's
lives.
sake, and you're going to come here trying to talk bullshit. Go ahead, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I want to hear
It's
you
not
talk some
bullshit.
shit.
It's not bullshit. You just admitted that you think profits are more important
I
than
didn't
human
admit
lives,
shit.
right?
I didn't even say anything
Right.
to what you had to claim about
You
non-fun.
said, oh no, these topics are so monetization dangerous. It's not
No,
important.
I said
That's
that.
because
I
of
said that.
YouTube, you
No.
jackass. YouTube has fucking rules and shit.
Yeah, and you think rules are more important than literally a genocide going on in Gaza?
Yes, cocksucker. For me, I don't give a shit
See,
what's
that-
going on
then
in
you're a
Gaza.
liberal, Then you're a liberal.
Then
That's
you're a
literally
liberal.
the liberals.
I don't give a fuck what's
It's not a
going on.
genocide. If
You
we're
don't
gonna
even
talk
live in
about this,
Gaza,
then
you
let's
little
talk about it.
weirdo.
Of
If
course,
we're going to
it's a
talk
genocide.
about it, then it's not a genocide.
You don't even live in
but then
Gaza.
What else is a genocide?
You
not
don't
a
even
genocide.
live in Gaza. You're sitting here. I'm worried
Yeah.
about Gaza.
You know, I'm sorry. Unless there's millions of people dead, it's not a genocide.
Oh my god, that's so
Yeah,
stupid. to
and
say.
they would have to be a
No, it's
specific race,
uncalculated.
correct?
It's
So
absolutely
hang on. Can I ask you? Can I ask you? When the British killed and the Americans killed 2 million Germans, was that a
Yeah.
genocide?
Oh, this ought to be
Yeah.
fun.
No, it wasn't a genocide. It wasn't.
You mean when they killed the indigenous people? Then yes.
No,
Yeah.
Germans. When they killed Germans, European
Huh?
Germans.
No, of course not. It was a war. War is not
Yeah,
genocide.
exactly. And what is this?
This
it's
is
a war.
genocide. No, it's
It's
not.
a war.
It's
Yeah,
okay,
dude,
It's a war.
since when
Dude,
do
your
you
accent,
do a war
your
against-
accent is so
against
fucking
fucking-
lame. You
Hey,
expect
shut
us
up,
to
TrippyCast,
believe this
shut up,
shit?
TrippyCast. Since when do you do a
I'm
war
not
against
TrippyCast,
normal
motherfucker.
civilians? It's not normal. You don't do a war against civilians.
I'm sorry.
You do a war against
More
the army.
more Afghans were killed by. Hang on, my friend. More Afghanistani people were killed by accident, right? By American bombs than have been killed by Israel.
accident in exclamation points. Not exclamation points.
Are you turning into Arnold Schwarzenegger now? Are you having trouble holding down that accent, or
dude,
is it real?
You got this guy so fucked up he can't even hold on to his accent.
He's like, get to the chopper. It's in Gaza.
What are you talking about? You think Afghanistan were killed on accident? Oh, bombing. Oh, I dropped the bomb on accident. Oh no.
No. I'm saying that there's bombs on purpose and there's bombs by accident. And I'm saying that the accident bombs have killed more people.
Accidentally dropped the bomb. Oh my god.
Dude.
No.
So
hey, what's up, bro? I'm an indigenous Palestinian, bro.
Okay.
I came on to defend. Hey, man, I just came on to give my sermon on the couch here, bro, because I'm an indigenous Palestinian.
I'm gonna let these two duke it out. Hold on.
I look, bro, there's important things going on right now because there is a genocide going on. Don't look too much into it about how like the population keeps doubling every year. Like, I don't know how that works out to be a genocide, but like, we're not here to talk about that because there's more important things in the world, like money, man. Like, what even is money? What even is money, bro? Like, if you think about it, it's just pieces of paper that we just like give each other in exchange for like goods and services. Like, what even is that?
Exactly. See, TrippyCast, and now you.
See, this guy gets what I'm talking about. He gets the. Oh, we'll start. Hold up. Oh, thank Dad. Whew. Sorry.
You okay?
I was out clubbing last night.
He was clubbing last night in Gaza, right?
Yeah,
That's
bro,
where you live.
It's the hottest place on Earth, mostly because of all the white phosphorus.
Oh, nice. That's got to be good for the lungs. Clear out all the smoke, or the cigarette smoke.
And you support this? You support white phosphorus being dropped on them?
Yeah.
Bro.
Then you're a liberal.
No, I'm not a fucking liberal.
There's genocide going on right now, and for some reason, the population in Gaza just keeps increasing and increasing every year. So like, we gotta like thin out the herd some way or another. Like, we indigenous Palestinians are on record as quoted as saying that we have so many children because we raise them to be martyrs.
Yes. God, you puffing on it tonight.
No, I'm trying. I'm going to heaven, man.
You come on here, communist, with an accent that sounds like you'd be afraid to see a woman's ankle because you'd be too scared you might grape her. And then you're going to come in here and you're going to bitch about how on YouTube you have to speak certain fucking ways so that your channel is not taken off board. Bro, and then you come in here with all this fucking anger, and then you want to declare people to be liberals and shit.
One argument why you're not a liberal.
I'm not a fucking liberal. Matter of fact,
what are you?
I'm a fucking clown on a live stream. What the fuck are you?
I don't know, bro. You're being kind of very.
You need to be either communist or a liberal. You can't be.
No, there are not communist or liberal.
You're either with the fash or you're bashing the fash. That's what I say.
Exactly.
And I think I'm here to bash the fash and chase some skirts, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, communist over here probably just chases cocks in the ass.
Socialists are a more important thing than this, but you are right. Liberalism inevitably leads to fascism.
Yep, I win.
So that's why.
I mean, like anything basically left of anything left of fascism. Like anything right of Trotsky basically just is fascist, is what I say.
So I'm right about you wanting cocks in your ass. Okay, I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
I always say
no, I don't prefer this, but it's not important. It's not.
You don't prefer it, but you don't deny it.
I don't deny it, but I don't endorse it either. But you endorse fucking genocide, so that's.
You endorse nothing. I don't endorse anything, kid.
Oh, they're being genocided so hard that their population keeps doubling. Like, they're being bombed so hard.
More important to be monetized than to speak about genocide.
All right. How about this? Look, I don't care what's going on over there. It's not fucking affecting me. I don't care about the Middle East. I'm not endorsing anything.
That's literally being complicit.
Why don't you go and complain about H3H3 and iDubbbz?
I do complain about H3 a lot.
Yeah, you go do that because I don't give a fuck what they're doing either. Just like Hassan, I don't give a fuck what Hassan's doing. I would knock Hassan's fucking rapist mustache and pedophile glasses right off his face.
Hassan is literally one of the only content creators who actually fights against the genocide. So
he's got chicken legs and he's a little pussy boy. And yet you're a follower of his because you don't have any male in your life to look up to. You probably grew up in your household without a dad and you think Hassan's going to be your new daddy.
Okay. And you don't even watch Hassan because you have
because he's a ridiculous lunatic who sits there and plays videos of fucking terrorists and then tells people that they're just musical people.
Terrorists? Do you really just say this? What do you mean? Do you mean the Houthis?
Yeah, I do.
You think the Houthis are terrorists?
They're dancing around with fucking guns and shit.
CIA and IDF.
And they're supposed to be like the cool people. Why don't they just fucking relax and stop wearing towels?
Okay, what's your definition of terrorists?
People who kill people all the fucking time and then chant on the death of certain people, the kind of people that he was showing on his live stream when he represented the fucking Houthis on his show.
That literally applies to IDF and CIA too.
I highly doubt it because those are the kind of people that take out the kind of people that you're pro.
Did you not see how they celebrated when they killed Bin Laden, for example? You said if you chant along, if you kill somebody, then you're a terrorist. And Americans.
No, I didn't say if you chant along. I said if you kill people and you chant it on is a good thing. See, you're not listening because you have shit in your ears.
All the time. That's literally what the CIA does all the time.
Good. I'm glad that fucking Bin Laden got killed. I'm glad that Saddam Hussein had the same shit happen to him and then his fucking statue ripped down. What was positive about either of those two people? Go.
Nothing was positive about those people. Wait.
Yeah, good.
People? You mean Obama and Saddam Hussein?
No, I didn't say Obama.
Who two?
I said Bin Laden and Hussein.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know what. Saddam Hussein had a few good things because he fought against America. Yeah, it's true.
Here,
but
meet my friend August.
To Obama, you think Obama is better?
Obama had nothing to do with what I said.
Obama did literally the same things as Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden.
You know, it won't be long, and it's just going to be this huge separation between the Middle East and the U.S., and then they'll get nothing from us, and they're going to have to sit in the sand and fucking wipe their ass with sand.
Okay, so your definition of terrorist is just if you kill people and chant, but you also need to be...
I didn't say that either. Oh my God, dude. You have a problem hearing people.
Can we address the fact... Can we address the fact that this asshole is like, oh, Trippy, you're a liberal, but then goes on to jerk off Hassan Piker?
Yeah, the most liberal fucking streamer on Twitch.
Hassan is a communist, not a liberal.
He is a jackass, and he's neither of those.
No,
he does what his chat wants him to do.
Socialist.
There you go.
He is a champagne socialist in the greatest of terms.
Okay,
yeah. What else?
Socialism? What socialism?
What else socialists do you know that? Do you know many socialists that own Porsches? Do you know many socialists that have mansions?
Yeah.
Yes. You know, socialism is not a poverty cult, right?
Yeah, the champagne socialists, the ones that want everybody else to do all the fucking dirty work while the state controls everything.
No,
the ones that do all the dirty work while the state controls everything instead of having economic freedom.
Socialism is not a poverty cult. Socialism means
I don't even believe your fucking accent, dude. Yes, don't tell me what I believe because I think your accent is bullshit. I don't believe that either.
Yeah, but you don't even know what poverty cult. Everybody is rich in socialism, and socialism is
because communism has worked. Communism has worked so many times, right?
Yes,
like,
it has never worked.
There's no fucking track record. There's no track record whatsoever of
communist countries
being a goddamn disaster.
As long as imperialist capitalism exists, there never communism can be reached. That's why it needs to be destroyed.
What?
As
I'm
long
here
as
to
imperialist
defend my
capitalism
fellow
exists-
genocide supporter sample.
Oh
tank.
no, Stern Gang joined.
God.
Fucking Zionists.
I thought you should talk to a real fascist Zionist. So here I
Yeah,
am.
you are
Oh, I'm a
Stern
liberal
Gang.
Zionist.
You are Stern Gang.
So Big
Those are the
JC.
terrorists.
I've
Yeah,
never seen
yeah.
Big JC before, so I got to say hi.
I'm like the
Hi.
Gandhi of Israel.
I'm one of
You're
non.
I
like
got like
the flag of
multiple
the world.
Jesuses on my panel tonight. This is just Jesus Christs everywhere,
That's not Jesus. That's fucking the head of Stern Gang.
and they're superstars.
Where,
Jesus
where
Christ
did socialist
superstar.
Jesus go? I
Hell
wanted
yeah.
to ask that guy.
I'm with Adolf Man-Bear Pig. I'm
Socialist
team
Jesus is the
Adolf
same
Man-Bear
person as
Pig.
Abraham Stern. I think it's the same person. They just changed the name and profile picture.
How do you
wow.
know?
You're
How
a
do you
sharp
know?
guy.
Because they have the same voice.
What? I think
What?
you're like
yeah, Non-Fun
mistaken.
actually messaged and asked if it was me. It was not
No.
me.
At least,
I'm
at
thought it
least
was
he's got
her.
one.
I'm a
but-
different Jesus.
Yeah.
I heard his voice. I was like,
I knew
"Damn,
that,
this doesn't sound like
because you were
me."
both sitting on the in the back at the same time, and it's represented on my stream.
JC, Ephraim Stern.
It wasn't me. I'm too busy sending a bomb to Harry Truman to get him to recognize Israel as a state.
Why would you do that when you can just blow
It's
up
not
the
a state, it's
speaker?
fucking people.
Oh, sorry,
Israel is
Chad. I
people.
had ads on.
And the state of Israel just
It's off now.
misuses the name to hide behind the Jewish identity to do their genocide.
Well,
What
I
is
mean,
your-
we gotta have something to like sell it
Again,
to
I want-
people. We gotta PR it up somehow.
You keep
Yeah, but it's just fucking. not
using that
retarded.
genocide word. You keep
Yeah, I
using
know,
that
but it-
genocide
yeah.
word, and
But
I want to
it's
go
with
back
the
to.
population.
I want to
just
go back
keeps
to what
doubling.
socialist Jesus. I wanted to address that point while socialist Jesus was still here, but like apparently communists
Yes, communist.
defend that at all. It's like how is your population? Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, hey,
Yes,
I got
How can a population
Atish,
increase as rapidly as? Hey, can I finish the fucking question?
I got a better one.
Yes, then
Like,
speak.
No,
speak.
no,
All right,
Hey,
all right,
hey,
all
I got
right,
a
all right.
question.
Wait, because wait. Audis was going. Let's go with Audis. Right? Wasn't
Oh,
Audis
no,
going?
I want communists to explain how a population increases
Yes, I know
at
what
the
you want
rate
to
that
ask.
it's
It can
increasing
be
during
minus
a
100
genocide.
At the same time.
Yeah,
If you have
So then-
minus 500,000 plus 2 million, it's still net positive, but there can still be a genocide going on. It's
So
easy
then
math.
was what Mao did a genocide?
No, it was a.
Oh, so when Mao kills millions of people,
Base,
it's not
let's
a
go.
genocide.
Oh, shit.
Hey, communist. Hey, communist. Communist. I got a
What
question.
the
I got a
fuck?
question. That grain shipment in Ukraine, that was just like an error, right? Administrative error? The Holodomor? That
Yeah,
was
the
just like a
Holodomor.
oopsie daisy, right?
You want to use the word Holodomor, really?
Yeah, I
you
do,
think
actually.
A famine is a genocide. You think a famine is a genocide?
Well, I'm
Wait,
asking you,
wait,
like,
wait,
why do you
wait, hold
think
on.
the famine happened? Why
Holocaust
do you think that happened? Why do you think there was a
relativation.
grain shortage?
when
You
it's
realize
engineered.
communist.
the Holocaust.
You literally think that Israel blocking aid into Gaza, blocking food into Gaza, intentionally causing famine or
Has he
whatever,
bitched about
it
cookies
is
yet?
part of the genocide. You
yes,
think that?
intentionally doing it, and
Non-fucking
Yes,
they're
but-
fucking
intentionally did it.
cookies.
So but you would agree if there was an intentional famine during the Holodomor, that could be classified as genocide.
yes, of course, but it was never
Okay.
intentional. And also, there was World War II going on, so the material conditions were completely different.
Yeah, well, the Israel-Hamas war is going on right now, so the material conditions are different here as well.
It's not a war; it's a fucking genocide.
Oh, who's genociding who?
Also, who's supplying
Zionists?
Hamas with
State
their
Why are their
arms?
numbers
Israel is
rising?
Wait, do those
genociding
Zionists in
innocent
Israel have
people.
nuclear weapons?
They have American nukes based there. I don't know if they have
Yeah,
their own
yeah.
nukes.
So then, how are there still Palestinians alive? There's a genocide.
Nukes don't exist. That's why.
Well, how? Because they wanna have the land. They wanna have the land, and if they
The
nuke
easier
it, they
answer
will
is
have
nukes
all
don't
our
exist.
billions
All right,
of
I'll
acres
answer
and
it
they're
for you. Nukes don't
That's
exist.
fine.
There,
you
I'm
can,
answering
you
it
can
for you.
carpet bomb the land. You can strafe the entire land. They could have annihilated all of those Palestinians.
That's
that
what
were
they're
on that one
doing. That's
beach,
literally
right?
what they're doing.
All right,
You
who
ever
let
seen
the
a
dog in
picture of
here?
Gaza right now?
Who, me?
Yes, they are carpet bombing it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Who
So
brought-
there
who
are
brought
no
the
Palestinian
dog?
refugees then?
What?
Are there Palestinian refugees?
No,
Or
because
like,
they're not
what
allowed
was
to
the name
leave
of
the
that fucking
country.
beach that they all moved to? What was the
Al Musa, whatever.
Yeah, see, that's my fucking problem. Is that's all the names in my head too. No, this is
these
obviously
people
not a
who are-
fucking genocide. A genocide requires an intent to exterminate a populace. This is just like a
Yeah,
triggered
of
ass
course there is
lefty who doesn't
intent.
understand anything to do
these-
with anything to do with Geopol, and just needs
So
to
the-
project whatever their moral indignation is on this
Do
conflict.
you
which is
even
really
know? Do you even know what the Zionist idea is? It's
So,
literally a
ho-
genocide idea.
Yeah, it's base.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm
Have you seen
a
what's been
fascist
fucking happening to
Zionist.
the
I'm
Jews in
Avraham
Israel
Stern
for the
right
past,
here.
like,
I
70
think I
years,
Then
know.
how
dog?
can you say? Then how can you say it's not a genocide if it's literally intentional? If the ideology behind it is literally built on genocide?
So
How
these
co- wait,
people that
wait.
were that were moved in a partition in 1947, are they refugees?
No, they left because
What?
they wanted.
They-
Most of them aren't even
Are
alive
these
anymore.
people who were moved because of a partition in 1947? Are they refugees?
They're not even alive anymore.
He doesn't know the history.
That's
Don't
not what I'm
engage in history.
talking
He doesn't
about.
know
I'm
any of the
saying,
history.
were they refugees when they were alive then?
When they were alive, were they refugees?
You are too loud.
Okay, I got a better question. I got
You're
a better
an
question.
idiot.
I got a better question.
This
Are
is
there,
the-
are
it's the
there
Hassan Piker
descendants?
debate
Are
school.
there descendants?
Are we crazy too?
refugees?
Are we imagining?
Are there descendants refugees?
Of course, they don't have a right to return. They need a right to return.
Well,
the most
that's
important
not what
thing.
UNRWA says.
Stop right there.
UNRWA
What
says.
does right to return mean?
But hold on, UNRWA says that they are refugees because they
what does
have
right
a
to
whole.
return mean?
Hold on, they have a whole agency
want him to
within
say
the
protest.
UN that classifies the Palestinians
Yes, but
as
the
refugees.
UN is fucking Zionist.
The UN is okay. We can't. We're obviously not having the same worldview here.
Wait, so who isn't Zionist communist?
Yeah,
Hello,
Him.
my connection is
him and
going-
Hassan.
No, your
Yes,
connection's fine. You can hear me. Who isn't a
No.
Zionist in your book?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, we all
sure.
fucking hear
He's
you.
crinkling
Unfortunately.
tinfoil next
So
to his
what was your
microphone
question?
now.
What was your question?
You're the only one we can
Shut
hear.
up.
What was your question? Who is?
Everybody's
who is
talking
Zionist?
over each other, and you're the only person we can hear.
Is everybody Zionist?
No, not everybody is a Zionist.
So who isn't? Who's the good people? I want to be the good guys. Who's the good guys?
A lot of people, for example, the communists, the Palestinians, most
Yeah, the
Palestinians,
people, the terrorists who,
except for the son
people
of
who killed
Hamas.
like thousands and millions of people over.
What about
down in
Hamas?
China.
Are Hamas good guys? Do we
Yeah.
like them?
Chairman Mao was a great guy.
I mean, they're
Aw.
the
Who did I
same
bring down?
people. They're getting
Hang
their
on.
guns from China, so like, yeah, I mean, this guy probably loves them because they're the same team.
Hey, communist. Do we like Hamas? Are Hamas good guys?
Hello, I am not idealist. I don't judge people into good and bad. Hello, I do material analysis.
We can hear you just fine. Do you think?
I do
Hold on,
not
hold on.
judge. I do not
No
put
s-
people in boxes of good
No
and bad
screaming on my
unless they are
channel.
Zionist.
Hold on. Okay, communist. Do
I
you
never
think
said
that?
Zionists are bad.
Hold on. Do you think that Frogan is sexy?
No,
Good question.
it's not even relevant question, but
Oh,
It's a
second of
question.
all, it's fucking haram to say this, okay?
Do you find her to be sexually
allowed.
appealing?
It's fine. I read
In
it.
my
It's
personal
fine.
opinion, no. Why? Why is it even relevant?
Good.
Wow.
I'm glad everybody
This guy's
agrees
fat
with you
phobic.
about Frogan not being sexy.
He's fat phobic over here.
I'm
She
homophobic.
looks like she's been. She looks like that fucking thing on her head's been glued on.
Uh-huh.
That fucking thing. What do you call it? The
Good job.
So you
shiki.
support Hamas then, communist? You support Hamas?
Support in what way?
Well,
You
so,
send
like,
them your.
which parts of October 7th were you like cheering for? Was it just the murders or was it the rapes too?
Do you send them your underwear?
Rapes? Do you have any proof for systematic?
Yeah, there was a lot of
boy.
testimony from
Yeah.
people saying that
One of my
happened.
favorite-
No,
Wait.
there were
What
no-
kind of what kind of proof do you? What kind of proof would you need?
What kind of proof?
Like a video recording of it happening because they're
Yeah.
out there too.
Like video
No,
recordings
just-
of rapes, testimonies of rapes. Like what?
But
what do we need here?
Hamas said
No,
it
no,
didn't
no, 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 no,
happen.
no, no. It
Guys.
doesn't have neutral.
What
Like a
Hamas
dead
said
body of
never
a dead body of a woman being
Neutral.
paraded around the street.
Well, hold on. That was wait. What? It's not IDF. What do they call it? IOF. That's IOF.
Yeah,
propaganda.
Israeli occupation
Yes.
force. Yeah.
Yes.
That's IOF propaganda, sir. That's not a real video.
Ah.
I see you out there,
generation.
Brad. Thank you, buddy. Brad, if there was anybody you wanted me to drop, just tell me in the chat. Anyway, continue with asking Mr. Communist if he sends his dirty
Okay,
panties
wait, hold on.
over to Hamas.
Trippy, I gotta go. I got places.
Oh,
I
you
don't
got
send
places to
anybody
be and
on.
people to punch? That's what he
You
does. He's
understand.
You yell
he
about
dresses up
tariffs
as
some more.
Batman at night, and he takes out his vengeance on criminals. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Okay.
Oh man, I gave away your
Uh,
secret identity.
Talk to you
Good
later.
talk.
Thanks for having me on.
I'll
I'm
talk to you
willing
Thanks for
to
coming
come
on, man. It was fun
Yeah,
so
no,
far.
I'm sure I'll come on again. I'm sure I'll do more debates with you and everything.
Oh yeah, cool.
Everyone,
Glad.
please chat.
Fucking
Check out my
fascist
channel.
Again. Okay, very good. You know
Exclamation
that-
point,
Shut up for a
non-fun.
minute, please.
See you guys.
We
Love
will
you
go
guys.
on
See ya.
again.
Later, bud.
Okay. Okay, goodbye, you fascist scum.
Can you
Non-fun.
stop over talking people, please?
Oh, he
Was
left.
only here for
He
non-fun?
left.
That's so fucking lame. I was.
Oh, thank God.
He just dropped out as soon as non-fun left.
What a baby.
I hate that over talking shit.
Well,
He's
he
seizing
obviously
he's seizing the means of control of the stream. Don't you understand?
True. He's seizing the
He-
means of production.
just wanted non-fun's attention. That's all that was.
It's hilarious. Like 50, you killed 50,000 people, and that's genocide. But you killed 50 million people, and that's not genocide, according to him.
Yeah. Well, no, it was necessary for Mao's Great Leap Forward. Don't you
Wow.
understand? Those people are so much better off dead because they don't have to live in China anymore. Don't you understand?
Oh, fucking hell, lunatic. Oh, and everyone's rich in socialism? Oh, my God.
Maybe on paper, but like it's pretty obvious that like, especially with communism, like communism looks great on paper until it's actually tried in real life, and then it just fails. It falls on its face because of greed and
Yeah,
humanity. You know, human people and what they'll do with what they get. You know what I mean? And
Red lines in Russia?
Here, but I was a socialist for like a good few years, and like in hindsight, I think the only thing it looks better on paper is like it looks fair, but that doesn't even mean better, right? Like
no, exactly.
Yeah, like we're the whole like splitting things up
Well, no,
equally. We're not even like people don't consider like, oh, how much am I fucking over like goods that are being produced because of the like proper allocation of capital that I don't get anymore because we have to divide everything up equitably. That was like
Well, and
so
you
fucking
have
stupid.
no say in that. You have no say in that allocation. So it's like
But guys-
anytime you push that
Well,
level
you
of
do, but
power
if you
to a-
disagree, we're gonna
to-
re-educate you.
to a powerful entity, yeah, I mean, it's like you're trusting them to be fair. You're trusting the powerful people to be fair, and that's never how it
Yes,
fucking
because
works.
it's part of the Great Leap Forward.
That little motherfucker.
We need to destroy all of the cultural things that we had of the past so we can move forward.
Little
Who needs a
motherfucker called me
culture
a liberal.
anyway? I know, and then immediately
Oh,
defended
you're lagging a
Hassan
little.
Piker of all people.
Now you're back. Okay.
It-
Well, that's politics.
I love
Sorry.
how he just glossed over that.
I like how JC just shrank as I was saying, little motherfucker. He shrinks down to the
I'm
corner of his
fucking around
camera.
with I'm pulling up League. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I
Wait,
fucked
League of
up.
Legends?
Yeah, don't tell anybody. Oh, fuck.
I'm not gonna. I'm pretty sure you're gonna end up presenting it, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
fine.
No.
Dude, I was like for like 10 minutes when Non-Fon and Shane were debating, I was gonna play Call of Duty as they were doing that, and I'm like, you know what? Now this needs my attention. I gotta pay attention to chat and stuff and these guys, and they're good guys. Shane and Non-Fon's right. They had a good little debate going. Brad Young in the chat says communism is incompatible with human nature. Yeah, that's a good quote. I forgot who else said that, but there was like a famous person. I don't know.
Some famous person.
Yeah, it was.
whoever
It
they
was.
are.
It's better than last week, man. Last week, well, I don't know if it's better. It's probably not as good for views because it was a lot calmer. But last week we had a little firestorm happening in here. I don't know how many of y'all. I know Shane. Actually, Shane, Stern, and Autist all got to meet Melanie Cosmic Fox, and it was a quote from Melanie.
People. I love yelling.
Something
at
like,
people.
"That's why I kept my cock was to fuck stupid women like you." And I'm like, whoa, whoa, this is a hate fuck. And I'm like, whoa, this is getting a little wild. And then, yeah, but
Trippy, before you get into that, can I just say something real quick because
Yeah.
it seems like the topics of this evening have been kind of on the nose for a friend of ours channel that I would like to take the opportunity to plug. So if
No.
you really want your education on
Yes.
world affairs and such,
Oh God.
go check out the Moose Heaven channel.
Yeah,
Look,
you
I
go-
got
you go
I got
check
some
it out.
British buses to go blow up. I'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That was, we know who that was.
You know.
But yes, the Moose Heaven channel now with more milk.
what's
The
deal
Moose,
with
the Moose Heaven channel
Moose
will
milk.
have covered all of this
Mm.
already, and then some.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have him come on here for a debate with I don't know who. I got Radical Coder set for next week. I just got to find a nice incompatible being to put up against Radical Coder.
What's Radical Coder?
Radical
What are they all
Coder is he's pretty liberal when it comes to his beliefs, especially about politics. And like he thinks that how did he put that? Like I specifically asked him if he thought that Trump was a fascist or a racist, and he was like, I don't really know because I don't know him personally, you know, but he definitely
God.
does not like Trump.
So what? I mean, I could argue that Trump is a fascist.
How?
Well, I think that fascism usually entails a nationalistic and authoritarian component. And then like corporate government union is the other thing I'm kind of looking at. I'm not like one of those dumb leftists who has to have like the big complicated like definition. And I think that Trump fits all of those to the T. I think that wanting to fire Jerome Powell so he can have a lot more direct control over like Fed interest rates so that he can manipulate the market in more advantageous ways than he already has. I think that having billionaires in his pocket, like Elon Musk at his side, helping him make decisions, like the corporate leaders. I think that the deportations, outside of being one of the darkest stains on our nation's history with regards to how we treated like people who are legally allowed to be here, I think that very much embodies that whole like hyper natalist, hyper nationalistic component that I'm sort of looking for from like a fascist regime. So I think he's totally a fascist. I mean, I will be clear though, I don't think he's like ideologically dedicated to fascism.
What is your
in the
problem
same way
with-
in the same way that someone like Hitler is? I just think that he's like opportunistically a fascist. It gets him the most applause.
What is your issue with nationalism?
I don't have an issue
Why is
with
that a bad thing?
nationalism inherently, but I think the way Donald Trump is going about like shipping off immigrants without due process.
They had due process.
They didn't.
accomplish
Wait,
some sort of-
hold up 1 second, because I want to counter that. They came into the country. There is a due process to come in to enter the country. Why are they entitled to it now that they're being prosecuted?
What's the due process for deporting an illegal immigrant
You deport them.
or an asylum seeker?
You just deport them.
You
You-
either
you-
send them
you-
home
that is
or
not
you send them
important.
to a facility that's willing to take them.
That is not.
They didn't go through the process to enter the country. Why should they be afforded due process on the way out?
So how far are
taxpayers
you willing to
have
extend that
to-
then? Do naturalized
why-
citizens
why- no,
not get
why
full
should
due
citizens-
process rights?
Yes, they do because they
No,
went through
I'm
the
talking
process.
about illegal
Okay, so we'll
specifically.
extend it to naturalized
If you are
citizens. What about
if you are
legal
a
resident
legal
citizens?
no,
Do they get full due process rights?
I was just about to touch that. If you are here legally but you are not a citizen, yeah, I think you do have the right to due process because you went through the due process to enter the country initially. But if you come into the country illegally, why are you
So
afforded the
if you're a
right
sex
to due
trafficker
process?
from El Salvador and you're brought here as a victim of sex trafficking and you manage to escape and you get to a police station, you shouldn't be allowed due process before you're deported back to El Salvador to repeat the process?
Well, no,
I'm
you're
just
here.
curious. If you're fine with that, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, this is kind of the logical extent to some of these policies in practice.
Who are they picking? They're picking up no. I mean, I am fine with it, honestly.
Okay.
I
mean,
don't.
yeah, I think
don't-
that's pretty
I don't
gross
want
and
these
goes
people
against
here.
American ideals. So, like, I find that pretty monstrous, but that's fine as long as you're willing to own it.
No.
Oh, I'm a
We're
fucking
not.
monster, bro.
No, if you come in and you're seeking asylum, that's temporary. If we were talking about Abrego Garcia, that guy was.
We're not talking, no. I said
And asylum, hang on, asylum is for the first state.
you were illegally against
All right,
their
let's
will,
slow down.
would also be denied due process rights according to starving autists. That's and he said that he
You are
he's fine with that,
also-
which is fine. Like
No, but you're also picking like the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, but there's
these
also-
situations.
There's also-
so the purpose of a hypothetical is to test your beliefs and your policy like prescriptions to their natural
Well,
extreme.
look,
And I don't think that's
they
that
were brought here
far-fetched of
again
an example.
it's their will. Well, they
Okay.
should. Then they should go back home.
Wait,
What's the
wait.
problem with that?
Wait. Oh, to say that
they were
again?
trafficked against their will to a
So they were
foreign land.
trafficked
Why shouldn't we send them
in
back?
their native
They were
country.
trafficked.
They were captured
No,
and trafficked to this
he
country.
Hang
said
on, I'm not going
honest,
to deal
sir.
with this talking over shit. All right, like wait
Yeah,
for
stop
one to
doing
be
that.
done and then start. So, JC, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying. So I laid out a hypothetical of what if we had like someone from El Salvador, some girl from El Salvador who was captured by a sex trafficking ring there, sex trafficked to the United States, managed to escape her captors, got to a police station. I asked Starving Autist if he would extend his.
You've got way
no
too many
tolerance
caveats,
for
bro.
Illegals. Wait, what?
He said too many
I said you got way
caveats.
too many caveats.
What are
in
the?
that.
What are the? How's this too many
It's
caveats?
like, oh, magically
think this
escaped
happens?
captivity.
Okay,
Hang on, can I
let's
ask you a question?
You don't think
Can I
this
ask a
happens?
question, please?
You don't think that people are sex trafficked here? You don't
let's
think that
stop for a
Can I
sec.
ask you a question, please?
Hold on,
No,
let Shane go. Let
Dude,
Shane go.
fantastical for you?
People are
If you have a woman
but
that's been
again,
sex trafficked, hang on, let me talk. If you have a woman that's been sex trafficked from El Salvador and brought to the United States against her will and has been liberated from those traffickers, would you not want to reunite her with her family?
I don't know. Is she safer in the United States?
Oh, is she not
Shane.
safer with her
I
family?
don't know. Is she?
If she was
I
abducted,
don't know.
I don't know.
and then
I
I would love it. I would
Wait,
love it.
wait,
Evidence-
wait,
She's got-
wait,
she's
wait,
got
wait,
sex-
wait,
Well,
wait,
yeah,
stop,
where's your
stop,
evidence she
stop.
was sex
Traffickers
trafficked?
looking
All right.
for.
I'm gonna
Where's
have to
your
start
evidence she was
shocking
sex
you guys. I'm gonna have to start
Where is your
electrocuting
evidence
people.
she was?
It's host talking. Look, I don't care about the hypothetical. There are people that are brought into the U.S. We'll just say it like that. We'll say there's people brought into the U.S. that are sex trafficked. What makes you think that they're safer here alone with no way to, hold down a job and all that shit? It's like, okay, they can temporarily
Well, I'm
seek asylum, but eventually they're going to have to go back home, right?
Yeah,
Like, you don't
should they
just
get
give
an
them
asylum hearing
citizenship.
before they're deported?
And
Get
do
an
Americans not get
evidentiary
trafficked?
hearing-
Hang on, I'm trying to
should
hear
they
him.
get an-
What'd you
Should they
say?
get an evidentiary hearing before, like an asylum seeker? Are they entitled to a hearing before they're either allowed to stay or deported?
To a certain extent, but you can't keep
Wait,
giving
what's
them
the extent?
hearings. You can't keep giving them hearings. So like if
Well, I
they've made
agree,
moves,
but-
if they've made moves during the stay for sanctuary, if they've made moves to become more of a US citizen, because you can get citizenship while you're here under sanctuary, right? I mean, I
having
said
a kid,
sanctuary, I meant
maybe?
to say asylum.
Like if you married someone who was a citizen and had a kid with them, but you had like a legal asylum status, or like you had a legal reason to stay in the country, you think that'd be okay for them to stay here and maybe get an evidentiary hearing before they're deported?
As long as they're
here
not doing
legally,
illegal
yes.
stuff.
If they
Okay,
are
so
registered
then what was
if they are
Kilmar
registered
Garcia doing that
non-citizens.
was illegal?
Well, he was hanging out with gang members. He was driving
There's
around with
been no
drugs and shit in his
evidence-
car.
there's been no evidence
Yes,
to
there
support
is.
any of
And
this.
if you
There's
think that there
none.
isn't
You're
any
full of
evidence,
shit, bro.
There's a photoshopped picture of
If
his
you
knuckles
think
that
there
are
isn't
chip
any
president
evidence-
before, but that's about it.
okay, hold on. That's a good point. What part of that photo is photoshopped?
The M, the S, the 1, and the 3 are not on his knuckles. Donald
Okay,
Trump was
before
insisting to the
anybody
reporter
else-
that was tattooed on there.
Right.
'Cause he's an
Before
idiot.
anybody else comes in.
It's
Yes.
funny. Don't get
Hey,
me wrong.
JC, the reason
It's funny
why,
that he's my president.
do you understand the reason why they put the M, the S, the 1, and the 3 on his knuckles?
Yeah, because of some dipshit conspiracy theory that somehow a skull means the number 3, because they
It
were
does.
trying as desperately as they could to not acknowledge a mistake they had already acknowledged they had made, where they had illegally deported someone
Okay,
they
calm
weren't
down.
supposed to deport.
So the
Can
M,
you?
No, I'm not gonna
marijuana
fucking
leaf.
calm down. Like,
The
look, this
S,
is gross.
smiley
Do
face.
you have any idea what you're
The
defending?
1, the fucking
Disgusting.
cross, and the 3, the side of a skull, is the shape of a 3.
Oh, for the love of God! You have any?
Yes.
You don't know that many
Too?
Mexicans, do you?
You think that they're keeping children in the basement of Pizza Huts as well? The Democrats, Hillary Clinton, is she
Probably.
drinking the blood of the children in the. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, probably. But that has nothing to do with this, because the M, the S, and the 1 and the
Same level
3
of stupid.
might have been added to that so that
another
stupid
straw
people
man argument.
understood.
You're getting roasted, and you make it about
Wait,
something.
okay.
not-
Actually, hold on. Let me ask you this. So we had that idiot communist in here earlier talking about Israel-Palestine, right?
Sure.
So
Let's
I was
stay on
talking to
topic.
someone. I was talking to someone who is also like a pro-Pally, and they were fronting the idea that maybe Benjamin Netanyahu had foreknowledge of the October 7th attacks and had allowed them to happen intentionally so that he could carry out a strike on and genocidal attacks on the Palestinians. Do you believe any of that? He had no evidence. It's just a feeling that he was going off of, that he thought that was the case. Do you
Well, I
believe
don't know
any of
whether
that?
to believe it or not, because I don't know anything about it. I don't really have a way to talk on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
So,
kind of like how
if I
they
say, if you
said.
step outside, your hallway's full of butterflies. You don't know whether to believe that or not.
It's kind of like how they said that 9/11 was known about by the FBI and all these other heads of state and everything before it happened. It's like, well, we still don't have proof either way with that, right? So, like, if Benjamin Netanyahu, you said it right, I didn't. If he was given some kind of letter or something beforehand, does it necessarily mean that he knew of it? Or does it mean like, yeah, somebody sent in a threat and they didn't take it seriously? Right? So it's like, I don't fucking know, dude. I'm not a politician. I don't know what is handed to them and not.
That you should proportion your level of belief relative to the evidence that you've been presented. Christopher.
Yeah, and the evidence that I've been presented has shown that there were two separate court cases.
Picture and someone's told you that that's what those symbols
There were two
mean.
separate court cases where it was declared that Obrego Garcia should not be in the U.S. on two different court cases. He was also arrested with other MS-13 members in his car. He has the fucking tattoos on his hand that show that he killed somebody to enter that gang, by the way.
Okay. Where did you learn about that? Let's just do the tattoos. Where did you learn about that? The tattoos.
I learned about the tattoos pretty quickly and pretty easily just by being shown them and told what they mean.
Where
just like everybody else.
Twitter?
No, I've been showing them on different news sources. There's actually there was just video that was posted by the Tennessee police showing the arrest of Obrego Garcia in 2022.
Okay, no, just the tattoos. Just the tattoos. Where were you shown what the tattoos mean?
Well,
where
look,
were you
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the last guy.
Do you?
I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the last guy. Just because the tattoos don't come up when you Google it doesn't mean that's not what they mean internally inside that gang.
Look, all I'm asking you is where you heard of it, okay? I'm in a liberal, leftoid media bubble, obviously.
No, I don't want to
echo chamber. I love my
put you on a
PCs and my
shelf.
hug blanket, but like,
or in a
I'm
box.
just curious where you heard about it.
Well, I'm trying to remember exactly where the first place I heard about it was. I think it was Nuxenor over on YouTube.
I can put this forward a little bit more like succinctly. I find it insane that two adults can see the same thing and come away with two wildly different conclusions. This is a world
it depends on what you want to
know nothing
believe.
about human nature, do you?
Man, your username is so appropriate. I just have to say that real
It
quick.
is.
But like,
We
do you
know.
understand like the danger of like, having like
that's why
half
I
the
picked
population
it.
with a completely different like view on reality?
No, the review on reality shows me that this guy was arrested, pulled over, all this other shit, came into the state or the country illegally, was supposedly seeking asylum.
Are you going to let him
overstayed.
finish? Shut up.
He overstayed.
Yeah, you need to shut up.
He overstayed. He is a citizen of El Salvador, and the gang, the 18th Street gang that he was supposedly seeking asylum away from, is disbanded. They are no longer a gang. So the danger of him going back to El Salvador is not literally, he's not at risk any longer. He doesn't have a gang to hide from. And let me tell you this too.
Was there a legal
this.
no deport order to El Salvador for Kilmar Obrego Garcia?
It was no longer active.
No, just answer
Also,
yes or no. Come on, don't be dishonest.
No,
Like,
that is a no, because there was no longer active. There was no order anymore. The last time that the order was put in was like 2019, and it doesn't stay for 10 years.
And did the judge not say that he was a gang member?
He was a gang member. And he probably continues to be a gang member.
Deportation without due process.
And everybody wants to sit there and call that the prison that he was put in so terrible. Why was he still wearing a fucking plaid shirt and a baseball cap when that other politician went to go visit him?
You literally would have fallen for the video that the Nazis sent the Red Cross of that concentration camp where they dressed up all
the
the
dude
Jews
looked
in, like,
happy.
picnic clothes
He
and
was
shit.
smiling.
You
He
would
was
have
shaking
fallen for
hands.
the same shit.
He wasn't
we live
dead.
in the social media age. Like, it's insane.
Dude,
You
you're
can't
sitting there
fall
falling for the
so many-
fucking claims that he's going to get killed in that prison. He's fine. He's not even in that prison anymore.
When did I say that?
I'm just guessing.
Well, you're guessing, which is stupid, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't guess.
I don't know if it's
You have
stupid.
no idea what I believe about this guy, other than I don't think he should.
Well, then tell us what you believe.
Yeah, tell us
what you
why
believe.
you think it's so important for him to come back.
Because I think that the Fifth Amendment is something that's very important. I think that the Constitution is very important. And the Fifth Amendment says that everybody in the United States is entitled to due process.
He got his due process. He was here illegally. He got
He
deported.
didn't get any fucking due process. He was grabbed
Citizens,
and
Good.
before his
citizens,
employer
legal
even knew
people,
where he was.
legal people are entitled to due process.
No,
okay?
that is not
and
correct.
yes, I am
That is
also
not correct. I have
no.
Supreme
Go
Court
fuck
precedent
no.
that I
Fuck
can
yourself
point to,
off
but
and
you're
let me
too stupid
finish.
to read it even if I did.
Oh, can you even tell me what the Fifth Amendment is? Because I don't think you can.
I know you can't read. I know you can't. It's okay.
Yeah, tell us about it.
We'll talk through it together. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us what the Fifth Amendment is.
Without
Without googling it. Without googling it. I see what you're doing. Don't fucking do that. Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. The Fifth Amendment entitles you to not incriminate yourself. That's what the Fifth Amendment is.
Exactly.
I don't have to testify against myself.
I plead the Fifth.
Is the starving
I
part?
literally
It's honest.
plead the Fifth. Oh,
That's how you plead the Fifth. But
Wait, hold on. You quizzed me. You asked me. I don't know the full text of the Fifth Amendment off the top of my head, but you surely must because you were asking me, right? Can you recite it for us right now?
Can I recite the Fifth Amendment? I can.
Yeah.
Okay. I can. Would you like me to read the rest of it to you?
You can read it
the
off
gist of
Google,
it.
You can
The
recite
gist
it from memory. That'd be actually, more credible since you came after me for that. But if you want to just
Well, hang on. No. You brought up the Fifth Amendment, so the
No,
burden of
because
proof is on you.
you brought up.
wait,
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
brought-
hold
you
on,
brought up
guys.
the
Hold
Fifth
on.
Amendment and-
Don't be unfair to the guy. Don't be unfair to the guy. Like he was saying, it's unfair to not let him look it up if he can't do it off the top of his head, because I know I sure can't.
I can look it up and read it. That's fine.
But
I looked it up
go
too.
Ahead, look it up and read
And
it.
it
But it's not
does
an argument to my argument.
Being fair, it does state it ensures you to due process of the law, but I don't think somebody
If you
who's
are
here.
here legally.
Just
Shrapnel, you
incrimination,
okay being on camera, Shrapnel, before I bring you up? All right. Just making sure. Can we hear him?
So, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good to
can
see
hear
you.
me. So how do we know that his tattoos mean MS-13?
Oh, this ought to be
Well,
good.
the first one is a marijuana leaf. The second one is what? It's a smiley face. The
MS.
third
You just
one
get
is-
finished smoking a marijuana leaf yourself, sir?
That's fine if he did.
Is that how you came to this revelation?
The M, marijuana, S, smiley face. The one is a cross, and the 3 happens to be a skull. There's probably more meaning in that skull,
wait,
too, by
hold
the
on,
way,
hold on.
because
I
that
have
skull
a,
also means that he killed a guy to be part of MS-13.
Shrapnel, it's actually really good that we have an expert here. So I have this Skyrim quest mark. Can you tell me what gang I'm in based on this tattoo? See the angle of the lines? Like, which gang am I in? Am I in Trende Aragua? Is that what this one means?
I would hate to have to tell you.
Does this mean that I'm in
No, but it's got something to do with a rainbow.
Trende Aragua?
Okay.
Triangle tattoo. Well,
Was that
CIA
ISIS?
has designated the triangle tattoo to mean
Yeah, bro. I got a
Keyword.
tattoo too.
Oh, you're in
PDF
Trende
file.
Aragua as well.
so that tattoo could
Yeah,
actually be
I'm
mistaken for
fucking-
something else.
Okay, first of all, I'm just gonna fucking inform you on how I know about how that says MS-13.
Hit it
I have
up.
a lot of friends that have been incarcerated, and a lot of my friends that have been incarcerated, dude. Guess what? They dealt with Mexican mafia. They dealt with MS-13. They dealt with Trin del Agua. Okay, those tattoos are literally the tattoos of MS-13. And it's been told to me by people that were in fucking prison with these same people.
How many
For years,
friends,
bro.
How many friends are those in prison? How many? Like 10 or 12? Like how many, roughly off the top of your head?
What the fuck does that matter,
Well, 'cause
dipshit?
I have that many friends.
I have
plus
friends.
one
Shut
that's-
up!
that's not
Shut
what
the
those tattoos
fuck
mean.
up! Shut the
So,
fuck up!
I will really never know the truth here, I'm afraid.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! I have friends that are in the
No,
fucking
I'm-
Aryan
I'm-
Brotherhood.
I'm-
I've got friends
He's
that
not
are
done
in
yet.
fucking goddamn
Let him go.
the Irish Mafia fucking jail. This is prison, bro. I'm trying to tell you. These are people I've talked to in real life
Yeah, these
and
people
also
are out there.
online. And guess what? Those tattoos literally mean MS-13. And whether you like that or not, I know you're trying to be a little fucking crybaby over here.
I'm
point-
sobbing, dude. I'm so sad.
All right. I can also
Whatever.
show you, if you want, I can bring it up. His wife actually
Okay.
blocked off those tattoos in the post that she made to help raise money to get them back. She hid his hand in the GoFundMe post. She has red.
I'm still waiting to hear what gang I'm in because of my Skyrim tattoo.
You're in the
You're
Skyrim
in the
gang, I
Skyrim
guess.
The gay one.
Skyrim gang.
I haven't played Skyrim in so long, I can't remember what like the factions and shit are.
Loser. I've been playing that shit nonstop for the past 14 years. Are you kidding?
You're in
That's
the
fun.
gang of
Wow,
being
you sound so fucking cool.
I'm not.
You're in the gang of being.
Oh, I can tell. I was being sarcastic.
Oh, thanks for
Whatever,
telling me. I couldn't tell.
No, but why do you not believe that that's an MS-13 tattoo? I really have to know.
Because I don't find any of the sources, such as your prison friends, that have been brought forth so far to be very credible when it comes to determining the accuracy of the meaning.
Okay, here, you want someone online to look up?
When you have to,
Yes, yes, that's
when
what
they
I
have
want.
to
Online.
when they have to shower together and you have to witness this shit, and it's the same in every fucking prison in the country. I'm with Shrapnel on this one. I don't even know this guy, but like prison culture is prison culture.
You know Shrap from the chat.
Like it's a real fucking thing.
Bro.
Oh, I know
The
Shrapnel
Russian-
from the chat, but
Hang
I
on,
don't
do
know.
Russian mafia tattoos not mean what they mean? Do Russian mafia tattoos not mean what they mean?
Yeah, they all mean what they mean. Like each gang has tattoos that have a specific meaning within the gang, and a lot of those have been identified by different government organizations. That doesn't mean that you're going to find photos of it and explanations of it on the internet.
Well, and again, if you
Those
want,
tattoos are like commendations from the military.
if you
Exactly.
want a source,
It's very similar.
I've never heard somebody say.
If you want a source to look at, like when it comes to somebody that knows about the correctional, all the correctional everything, look up JD Daily. All right.
No, I want the name. I can just talk to your friends, right?
Yeah.
He's trying
'cause
to
I'm
give
gonna
you a source.
totally give you my friend. Shut up, little boy.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, another question for JC. JC, do you think that if a gang is after you and attempting to kill you, that they inform you before they actually do it, or do you think they just do it without letting you know first?
I think that they probably just do it without letting me know first, but I also don't think that I'm going to be able to identify whether or not someone's a gang member based on the tattoos that they have, unless it's literally a teardrop,
so
in which case I'm not coming near that person anyway.
You do believe
So
that
you
a gang...
can't- you can't-
Hold on, Otis.
You can't look at those.
Otis. Hold on. So you believe that a gang would just take you out without letting you know. So how the hell would Brago Garcia have come to the country and gone, these guys are trying to kill me? They told me. Do you think they just told him? Or do you think he came to the U.S. because it was an easy out?
I mean, so I don't have any... you can't tell how pale I am. I'm incredibly white. I don't have much experience with gangs at all. I'm very privileged. Now that I've got the soy shit out of the way, I'm gonna be real. All of my gang knowledge comes from shit like Breaking Bad. I feel like in shows like that, they tend to threaten people before they actually they value the.
Yeah, so your
your
education is through television shows, fictional television.
You can't make fun of me when I already fronted it by saying I have no idea what I'm
dude,
talking about.
I can look at you and make fun of you. Like that's the
internet.
Go for it. It doesn't seem fair when you're hiding behind a stupid TV screen, though.
I was gonna say he'll bring himself up, but. See, he was part of a little TV show that we all saw.
Hiding your camera. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, you can go back
dude. Hey, have some respect. This is Adam Salvage over here.
Why should I have respect for him? He's gonna make.
It's Adam Salvage. Okay. He used to be on a TV show with Jamie Hyman.
Ridiculous. That's why I was going to make fun of you.
Oh, true.
I look more like Gavin McInnes, but whatever.
You actually do look a lot like Gavin McInnes. I was
I
trying to
know.
place it.
Little Gavin McInnes syndrome.
Yeah.
It's
I stole your joke from you. You were gonna make fun of me, but I stole your joke from you.
No, I was trying to figure out.
But no, your information. You're telling us that your knowledge of gang culture and how all of that shit works comes from fictional television shows.
So I was being
where it's like
honest.
Shrapnel, and myself know people that have been in the system. I don't even have to know people in the system. I'm surrounded by fucking Mexicans. And you can listen, the good ones will tell you who the bad ones are. Okay? They like
thank God.
They
have
will.
Good ones.
okay. That's a little weird of a way to put it. I mean, they're all gang members.
We do have I'm talking about Mexicans in general. We have a high Mexican population here, and where do you think the gang members go? Is the ones where they've already set up shop.
I'll use something that I know a little bit of.
The extortion.
I'll tell you a little something I know a little bit of that has a lot to do with tattoos and gang affiliation. Okay. And you guys are all, I don't know, JC's probably going to be not surprised because I am a clown, but there was a time frame when they had announced that the Juggalos were on the FBI's list as a gang, right? Right, yeah. JC, right? I know multiple people who were pulled over and then subsequently fucking handcuffed and arrested because they had Hatchet Men tattoos.
So
I know
can ask a
multiple
question then real
motherfuckers.
quick of autist? So based
Hey,
on
go
what
ahead.
you just said there, autist. Let's say that there's a Hispanic dude who's also a juggalo who gets pulled over by a cop in Texas. He can't produce his immigration.
I didn't bring up the
paperwork right-
juggalos. I
He
didn't bring
can't
up the
produce his
juggalos. Keep it on
immigration- He
topic.
can't produce his immigration paperwork right away, but the cop looks at his juggalo tattoos and says, "Oh, I'm reporting you to ICE," and he gets deported. You're okay with that? Making sure.
Hell,
Sure.
with the Juggalos
Why not?
specifically,
If
it was
you-
only a
I'm not
6-month
talking about
period.
I'm not talking about juggalo. Yeah, I'm not talking about juggalos specifically, like, because that whole thing was a fucking joke in every sense of the word. When we're talking about
It's amazing that
Mexican
you
gang
can't see,
tattoos,
like,
when you're talking about South American, can you shut up and let me finish before you rip me apart? Can you do me the courtesy?
Yes, ma'am. I'm very sorry. Please continue.
When you're talking about established gangs and cartel shit all across South America, and these people start showing up in droves, and they're in your fucking neighborhoods, and the guy that lives next door to me is just trying to run his landscaping business, like, he's gonna tell me, stay away from that guy. You can tell and all his friends, they all have the
What
same
if that
tattoos.
guy's just racist against Mexicans?
That's fine.
No, the Mexican guy that's telling me about other
not
Mexicans.
me.
Yes.
When the gang members are coming into the neighborhood, he's
How do you
just
know
a
they're
racist.
gang members? Because they have a skull tattoo? You have any idea how
Dude,
fucking stupid
yeah,
you
dude.
sound?
Look at that footage from all those guys in the
No, I'm
cells
good.
in El Salvador.
Well, it's
And
actually,
you tell me which one isn't a fucking gang member.
Yeah, let me watch this footage and I'll point out
It's
which
very-
Mexicans are gang members and which ones aren't. Okay, we'll watch it
Look,
together.
it goes back to this. It goes back to you got motorcycle clubs. How do you think
find
that
it.
motorcycle clubs identified themselves as members of those clubs back in the 70s? Tattoos.
Tattoos and patches.
Do you think that
Yes.
the only people
Each one of those
Tattoos and
tattoos.
Wait.
Hold
Do
on,
you
though.
think that the
I'm
only people who had Hell's Angels
Dude.
tattoos were in the Hell's Angels?
usually because the people who weren't in
Wait,
the
you
Hells
said
Angels.
usually.
Hold
Yeah.
on, hold on.
Usually, so you acknowledge there could be
If
some
you had a
people
if
who
you
I'm
have
had
gonna
a Hell's
explain
Angels
why.
tattoo and you weren't in the
Yeah,
if you
Otis, I
weren't
was going to
in the-
agree with
in the
that. If
Angels
you
and you
weren't
had an
in the
angel
Angels,
tattoo-
they would kill your ass if you had their tattoo on your skin. They would just take
That's
you
right.
out.
That is 100% correct.
anything to avoid addressing the question.
No, that is true. So if you
No,
are
that's the
stupid
answer to your
enough,
question.
I'm going to
So
say
the
this,
answer-
JC. If-
The honest answer is that people can have tattoos that might or might not have gang affiliation, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're involved in gang activity. What you would need to do to establish that someone's involved in gang activity was gather evidence of them committing criminal acts in the name of this gang and then present it in a court.
Dude, he
Abreu
just
had
rattled off a
tattoos.
bunch
Easy
of
one.
charges for
Wearing a
this
bull
Abreu
hat,
guy.
He had tattoos that people thought a skull meant 3.
Easy one. Why do
Hey,
you
hey,
think
bro,
that he... Hold
Bro,
on a
he-
sec. Hold on a
he
sec. Hold on a
literally-
sec.
Trippy
Hang
literally
on.
rattled off a bunch of charges
Honest.
that this guy had.
Somebody get
And you're like, oh, you got to prove criminal
Honest.
activity. He fucking did.
Yeah, I mean, he was arrested, for that one situation where he was driving, and I think they had that, like, a shitload of liquor, or maybe it was drugs. I forget exactly the exact, but he was arrested at that point.
When was this?
The
Wait, hold
tattoos
on.
were identified then as being gang tattoos.
When
The
was
guy
this?
came into the country fleeing a gang that was supposedly going to kill him. How do you get on a gang's radar to where they're going to kill you?
Well,
You know how you do
also
it?
talking
Really
about- you were
easy
just
way to
talking
do
about-
it.
Wait, hold on, stop. You were talking about
Be
that
on the
arrest,
opposing
right?
gang.
What arrest? When was that arrest?
I think it was
We're
2022.
talking about Abreu.
I think.
No, I'm aware. I'm following, ma'am. We'll get.
But what I'm saying is, if you're going to be on a gang's radar enough for
Oh,
them to feel like they have to
now.
kill you, usually you're on the opposing gang.
Hey, what was he charged with in that traffic stop?
What was it? Because you looked it up already.
What was,
Refresh
no,
my
I'm
memory,
asking you.
sir.
You have a very strong opinion about this man who's deported without due process. So I'm curious.
Refresh
if
my
you
memory
looked
with
at
it.
the background. No, it's not refreshing.
You already looked it
This
up.
non-citizen that was deported
He
without due
wasn't charged
process.
with anything. He
Why-
was pulled over on
Okay.
suspected traffic. He wasn't charged with anything. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about, and you formulated these incredibly strong.
Oh, did I say he was
opinions.
charged?
The president of the United States.
Oh, so
violating
we're
the
not allowed to
Constitution, laughing about it in
extrapolate.
the Oval Office with the president of the enemy country that he's paid off to ship our criminals to.
Paid off. All
Yeah,
right, wait a minute.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
look that
What's
up
the
too,
proof for him
buddy.
having paid anybody?
Oh my god.
I don't know. I'll ask.
Here,
Oh
you
no!
don't
Don't!
know.
Oh my God! Me! Don't! No! And I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
No,
Since you said that,
I love it every time this kid gets
because you got passion.
his fucking ass spanked. He makes it about something else. He changes the subject immediately.
You got passion. You
Like,
got
that's your
you got
tactic.
chutzpah.
It's really fucking. It's
All right.
kind of gay, bro. It's kind of gay. Every
Hey,
time
Amber.
you get your shit pushed in over any issue, you move it over to something else.
Yeah, so
It's
true.
you're.
So true.
I mean, you really are like fucking bad faith,
So
dude.
true.
Well, no,
so
no, no.
true.
I want to understand this. Since you said that he paid off the El Salvadorian dude, how can you prove that Trump had like just handed him money under the table? You got proof of that? Because you're making the claim, so you asked me to prove my claims.
So not only do we know that, I'm trying to find you like a source that just captures
All right.
kind of all of it, because it's like scattered across, like, because this is developing, right? This is one that's talking about him not having any idea even how much the amount we're sending to El Salvador for this is. But I don't want you to just take it based on, like, because this article kind of assumes that you understand that we're paying them. I want to find one where like it says we're paying them, but
it's an
assuming that we are,
article.
Trump doesn't even know how
Okay.
much we're paying them apparently.
He's going to come
So-
up with an article with some people familiar with the matter say. Yeah, so go ahead, Kami. Keep going. Go ahead.
I am not a communist. I hate communists.
Hang on. Instead of sitting here and arguing, I actually have something I just was able to pull up, and I haven't watched it, so I guess we're all going to learn at the same time. Give me just a couple seconds here to do the thing with the thing. Tennessee Highway Patrol is what this is, and this is the arrest video of Abrego Garcia from 2022. So, like, since I haven't seen it, I'm not gonna like defend it or anything. Is like I said, I haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. Let's all
Also,
find
just
out
to be
what
clear,
it is.
if he was committing a crime, I hope you understand. I'm not going to defend the crime. What I'm defending is
understand
that
that.
he was deported without due process. That's the only thing that
Well,
I'm like mad about.
Okay,
That's fair.
that's a
I don't
different
care about
discussion. Hold
deporting
on,
Criminals. I care about
No,
deporting them
fair.
without fair due process.
let me play it. Let's find out
Let's
together,
see what it
guys.
is.
Why should I pay for his due process when he's here illegally?
Hold
Why
on.
should I pay for your fucking
God damn it,
Medicaid
look.
when you get fucking old and you're gonna
That's
like
it.
die and fucking 60 of heart fucking yeah.
That's
That's
a
it.
fucking
Stop.
great
Stop.
question.
Stop.
I
Stop.
would-
Stop. Stop. Stop.
Yeah,
Stop. 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 Stop.
That's
Stop.
a
Stop. Stop.
fantastic question. Why should I pay for your brats in public school?
Everybody, shut up for fucking 5 minutes. This video's not even 5 minutes. Just pay attention to the
Then
goddamn
again,
video. Shush.
you've never come in a
Shush.
woman, so like
Shush.
True. Only your dad.
I want to see what this is.
San Luis, Missouri. Missouri? Yes, sir.
Missouri.
Okay. But I'm from to Maryland. Okay. Now, the reason I stopped you, we was
Maryland.
running 75 down through here. 75? Yeah. Of course, this is 65 through here. I know. I'm going to 70.
I want to see if it's racist or not.
Yeah. What's the limit right now? Is 70 or 65? It's 65.
Oh, you're going 10 over? That's not even that much.
Well, I see the other, the speed limit. I see the 70. Yeah, it jumps up and
Oh,
down.
good. It's censored. I
Starts
think
out as a ticket.
he's got his license. I'm an Italian. I don't know why.
The problem with my license right now is expired, right? It's suspended? Suspended because
It's suspended,
I have
right?
my permanent employment. So
Sorry, my friend.
like 2 years experience. So I need so right now I waiting the paper for migration for I go to the MBA. So you know
You know what you got, right? You know what
I
you
go to
got there.
NBA, I play basketball.
Wait, hold on, stop.
He's hauling these people for money.
Okay,
You got a
so
mass
this is
hauler.
the
What he's
officer
doing.
saying this is the suspecting of human trafficking. Okay, this is the crime they thought he was committing.
Okay. Yeah, I gather that because that's what he just said. And he's like, hey, wink, wink. Look, this guy's trying to ship these people
yeah.
into Tennessee.
Yeah.
So let's watch
Sometimes
the
they
rest here.
commingle dope and-
no. But
He-
did you see how squad at the back end?
There's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row.
8 people.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to all these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my
He
guess.
said they all work together. Is what he's telling me, but he's the only one that knows half
So,
English.
so let me ask you this: they don't
He was the only guy in the car that knew English.
have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're gonna have a tube of toothpaste and they're gonna have toothbrushes in their pockets. I guarantee it.
Already paid him down.
I did. He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket.
a good start.
In an envelope.
Probably payment for
Yeah.
home.
Okay. Did this just go to an ad? Well, that was a
Yeah, that's not
weird.
suspicious.
That was a weird ending to supposed
No, man,
fucking arrest video.
dude, ad blockers are ad blockers
It's
are
on.
falling apart on
Okay.
Chrome.
You know what they did? They just fucking
can I-
stuck the advertisement
how
in
can I
the
send-
Washington Post recording. So that there was
I
no
have
way to
a-
skip it.
Oh, it's their live read thing.
I've got a
Okay.
Reuters article here about
Okay.
the funds
Reuters.
being sent to El Salvador, but I don't know how to like share links or something.
Just put it in the private chat in the StreamYard. It should be a private chat to the right.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with StreamYard yet.
Shit, me neither. And I'm using it.
It sucks.
It does.
I mean, it seems
Oops.
like Discord minus so far.
You know, I might actually move these to Discord because I can do that. That's simple, but not right. Not tonight. You know what I mean? I'm still testing that out.
So something I'm wondering, how come he was going from Texas with people in a car? There was what? There
was
how many
Tennessee.
people in the car? To Tennessee. So he was going to Tennessee.
Might want to lay off some of that M tattoo there a little bit, huh?
Hey,
Yeah, I
I'm
guess.
trouble following this conversation.
What? Because he got the T state wrong? Like,
well, you do
They're
understand.
Not, I mean, they're not anywhere near each other, so.
You understand
Yeah,
like how
well, why
a
the fuck-
eagle
No,
means
explain to
something
me.
in
Hold
the
on.
military? Like if you
Why
get an
the
eagle
fuck-
tattoo, you know, and then
Why
you
the-
also have others. There's many tattoos associated with military.
MS-13 is not a military.
Why
I
was
know
he
they're not a
going-
military. I wasn't arguing that.
but
I'm
they
just saying
but they
that the
operate
military
as a paramilitary force.
military also uses tattoos to identify certain things about people. So you could use a tattoo in the military to do
Okay,
so
let me. You know what?
after
Let me
your
ask you this
service.
question.
because
Let's
usually
say,
you can't be in service and get a tattoo.
Let's say his knuckles were bare. Do you still support his deportation?
As long as
Take
there
the
was
tattoos out of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
So then why the
Yeah,
fuck are we
'cause
talking
he's a
about the
criminal.
fucking tattoos? Who cares?
yeah, I don't care
Because you keep
he's in the
bringing up
country
the
illegally.
tattoos. You keep bringing up the tattoos.
Yep.
You're the one doing that.
Yes, 100%. It's
Yeah,
all my fault.
it
I'm
has
sorry,
been the
Mom.
entire time.
I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't
All
mean to
along the
ruin your
way.
dad's marriage.
All along the way, you're.
Please don't yell at me.
No, the
Oh,
thing
this is your tactic.
This is
But
my
you're not
tact-
even
this
going
is
to
my
acknowledge
sneaky
the fact
debate
that
pro
you
tactic.
are the one you are the one that keeps bringing up. Well, what do the tattoos mean? That's just profiling. It's like, no, it's not.
Wait, I didn't. Wait,
And
hold
okay,
on. I
let's
didn't say that.
go with no
I
no
said it
wait.
was
Let's go
retarded
let's
to
go
think
with
that
let's go with your
soul meant
let's go
flame
with your
because it
theory.
Kind of looked
Let's-
like one on
Hey,
the
let's
side.
go with not
your
screaming.
theory.
Let's
In
not scream.
combinations, they do.
Calm down.
Let's
calm
go
down.
with your theory.
Bring it in a bit.
Let's go with your theory. So, like, if a Hell's Angels guy has a Hell's Angels tattoo, does that make him a Hell's Angel? No, not really. But it puts you on the map to be, investigated.
Based Welshman. I'm also going to put
Wait,
this up on screen
I
real
mean,
quick.
it's gonna make him look at you.
Are you for or against the Patriot Act? When that came out, were you for or against that?
Against.
Honestly,
against it.
against.
So here you go.
You are.
Let's
That is
let's
not
all
the
pause for a
thing.
moment.
Go.
Let's pause for just a minute.
It's not
This
the
is
same thing.
this
Yeah.
is what I'm showing on screen
True.
is an old post from Abrego Garcia's wife. Why did she take the time out to cover his hand if those tattoos didn't have a meaning?
I mean,
That's a really good
to
I thought they
me,
didn't exist.
Knuckle tattoos are similar to face tattoos.
I thought they
Usually you
didn't
only get
exist.
that if you're a hard dude. So if she was trying to like downplay him on social media to friends.
Oh,
and
really?
relatives, I would
You know
understand
this?
it. Yeah.
You know that it
Huh?
wasn't because they're gang
I said
tattoos?
I said to
Okay.
me.
You
are at your okay. All of you guys
Yes.
are acting
Simple.
like you know all this.
Easy.
shit.
So
I don't
our
know
evidence,
about
no,
that.
our
I'm
evidence
saying
has
I
more
don't
weight
know.
than
We
your
can't
feelings
even,
about
we
it.
can't even enter evidence. We can't even examine who's right and who's wrong here because it's already gone. That's my
That's-
issue.
Why can't we
No,
Criminal. Wait, if he
Oh,
came
no.
back and he had a hearing and he was found to be a criminal, deport him. You're
He
you're
is a
gonna
criminal.
argue
He's
against
been
that?
dude, he's been in the
He's-
fucking
even if he comes back, he's
There
gonna
has
get
been
He's
no
deported.
been through the
criminal
system
conviction tying him
already.
to any gang activity, which is the reason that he was deported, and he had a hold order. Wait, I was gonna look that up too. I just fucking remembered.
How many times do we have to arrest you
Wrong about that
before we
too.
figure out that you're a fucking problem?
I don't know.
I
They
mean,
keep asking me
right?
that about you, and I just keep telling, please, officer, give him one more chance, please.
I was
know
trying to
he
tell you
loves
earlier.
his sister a
Like,
lot, okay? I
can
know
you
it's an
act like an
uncomfortable
adult?
amount, but he loves his sister a lot, in the biblical way.
I don't even have a sister, you faggot. Like,
Oh right, is
You're
that
just
'cause you
saying
call her
shit.
your wife, or
I mean, are you gonna like hand wipe away the fact that his wife reported him for attacking her on multiple occasions
No.
too?
no?
So he's dangerous. He's attacked at
married?
least one person. He's here
married?
without a fucking
You
green
married?
card, even though he was here for over 15 years, by the
Are you
way.
married?
He was supposedly fucking sitting there just being such a great said you
No,
caught
this
him
is
with
how
his
this is.
dad,
Hey,
your
I'm
dad,
an otter, sir. You just
You
can't
guys are
see it 'cause
all
I'm wearing a hoodie.
goofballs.
Wink. How dare you?
Sorry,
sir.
I don't know all your gay shit, so like
Yeah, sure. Tell us another
forgive me, I guess. Like
You don't know me, bro.
I don't know the
You don't know me, bro.
Well, not true. You knew Roots Calhoun pretty well.
That's Fruity Tooty, fresh in the booty. Roots Calhootie.
Mom spaghetti.
Strawberry cheeks forever.
I thought I knew that one. Sorry.
Mom Spaghetti is a restaurant in Detroit. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Eminem actually served at the drive-through window for like a couple of, I think, a day. Hey, we got my woman on here. Finally, some titties.
You said Eminem served at that restaurant.
Finally, some titties. Hi, you're looking good with that lipstick on. I'm gonna destroy her internals,
You're muted,
guys.
bitch.
You're muted. I'm gonna destroy her insides.
Donald Trump worked
stop
at
it.
McDonald's was the
I'm gonna
happiest
put
he's
it
ever
in
been.
so hard. I'm gonna
Stop
finish
it.
on her heart.
Oh,
He looked
just
so
come.
happy.
I'm gonna finish right on her internal organs, man. I'm gonna come straight through her. And she's gonna open up her mouth, and a baby clown's gonna come out.
Baby
Yes.
clown. Oh my god. Is that how clowns are born? Is that how
Yes.
new clowns are born?
Yeah, with a diaper on.
If you were so smart, you would have known that already.
That's my purse. So,
I did catch that, Autist. Nice try. You'll get that zinger next time. I promise.
zing.
Oh,
Hey, sometimes
with
they go
all
over your
your
head.
awesome zingers too, like, oh, your
Yeah,
dad.
if you pay attention to the ones I make, maybe you
You
can
sound
could
like a
swear.
fucking child.
I could swear that you said he's mad because he caught me with his dad the other night, and I was like,
that's
wait a minute. You know, did you say that, JC?
Yeah, I did.
Ew.
Yes, he said that.
Did you do an enema
You're
first?
consenting adults in the United States of America? I don't see what the problem is.
Did you
They
do
haven't
an
rolled
enema?
back the sodomy laws yet. Okay.
No. No enema.
Dad's a fine paying customer.
if you
God's
saw
gonna make money
saw my
somehow.
dad, it's nobody you would
Gotta
want to
pay for
fuck.
that
It's
tariff
nobody you would
somehow,
want
you
to fuck. Like
There you go.
Is that the glass
Um,
ceiling?
that's
shattering?
that's
Well,
the
fuck,
funniest-
man. Everybody in the chat,
No,
if you want to
that's
come
so
on,
cool,
get
Steve
your
Austin.
asses on. Yeah. Because, yeah, open panel and stuff. And I keep forgetting to put the link in. So if you'd like to join, click the linky
Yeah, it's a
doodle
free base channel.
and come on in here, Hoodle.
Isaac,
Click on the link.
I'm playing League with. Come join
Oh,
so you can yell at
it's
me for being
based.
terrible.
It's based and it's a little
Free
smelly.
base.
It's pretty tasty,
Play
though.
on drugs.
Oh, man.
no! Oh no! Oh
I was talking to one of my friends, and she was telling me, this is
It
years ago.
smells like '90s wannabe sweat.
And she told me, she said that her husband was eating a burrito and looked at her and goes, hey, babe, this burrito smells exactly like feet. Here, try it.
Ew,
And
what the fuck?
she was like, no. He was like, it smells like feet, but it tastes amazing.
People
That's
really
something
do
that
like,
husbands and
"Ew, this
wives
smells
do."
like ass, don't you think? And then shove it directly into your nose.
Yeah, but take a bite.
Why the, it
Oh
smells like ass.
no!
Why do I want
Oh no! Star's here now. God damn it!
Hi, I know.
We can hear you. I was telling these guys all sorts of
time.
sexual things I'm going to do to you. Oh man, I'm going to come right in her hair.
I'm gonna
Naughty
no.
boy.
I'm going to
That's
mess that
assault.
hair up.
He's gonna
That's
dump a load
assault,
right in your
no.
belly button.
No,
It's
it's
only assault if you don't want it. Otherwise, it's a pepper.
Yeah, she's going to lick it later. So, Star, you were watching here for a while. Is there anything you and you want to talk to JC about?
honestly, I was having a hell of a time hearing anything. To be honest with you,
I'm sorry.
Well, he
Yeah, because
said
fucking
stuff, then he
don't
said
shut
other
up.
stuff, and then he said
Yeah, I
some
agree.
more
You
things.
really don't shut up. You just kind of ramble.
You get
No, I was
nothing.
talking about you.
You lose.
Oh, you were?
Good
Oh, I didn't even
day,
catch that.
sir.
I'm sorry.
Good day, sir.
Got me on that zinger, too.
Yeah. Well,
Good day.
no, it shows your self-awareness. You're autistic too. I've already figured that out.
Oh, have you now?
Is-
Through
You
your
catch
powers
it.
of observation and deduction, just like Gregory House, you've determined that I'm.
You catch the tisms.
Oh,
from-
another fictional character, Gregory House, another fictional character of which all my information comes in.
Wait, do
That's
you not
you.
watch
That's
TV?
you.
I don't watch it
No,
anymore. I
don't.
got rid of my
haven't
cable.
watched TV in fucking.
me too.
I haven't
Yeah,
watched
I got rid of my
TV
cable too back in
in-
2010.
Hey, you win.
Yeah,
I
not gonna say
graduated
that.
high school.
Like,
In
That's a
2010
lie.
was
but you still
so
know all the
I
pop
understand
culture
that.
references.
Huh?
And that's still your education
I can't believe you're
about
getting
like
this triggered
shit.
over me making fun of you for thinking
What's
you're like
that?
Sherlock Holmes. Are you gonna get triggered about me saying
my cell
Sherlock
phone?
Holmes now?
Full battery. Oh.
No, I'm not going to get triggered about Sherlock Holmes. At
seem
least it's
triggered
a
as
fucking
fuck,
cultural
bro.
reference.
What's Sherlock Holmes?
But-
No, I'm just kidding.
But you,
What's Sherlock Holmes? Babe?
What is it?
no, but like
No,
this is
some
this
British
is this
crap.
is
Get
also the
Wilson back in here.
no. This is also the same that said that all his knowledge of gang terminology came from fucking Law and Order and like
What did I
TV
say
shows.
right before that? Do you remember?
Law and
Can you
Order.
sift through the
That's
whiskey
still a
out of
thing.
your brain
No,
and
do
try
you
to
still
remember? Is the
relevant?
better question.
Well,
So
he
what
might
I said
remember.
right before that
All,
is
all your knowledge of
I
these
grew
things
up
came
very
from
not
popular
exposed to that world.
Okay. I'm
popular
gonna jack up my
left-leaning
mic in a minute.
television.
TV show is what I said.
Jack my mic up to 200.
That's fine. I fronted it like that on purpose.
I think we all know that tone.
Who needs
Tune.
the Boy, I'm proud of my kid. I don't know what that is. Is that
A-Team.
TikTok?
Oh,
Is that
God.
TikTok Fortnite?
You know what it is.
Of course I know what it is.
You know what? What about this one?
Of course he
Fortnite,
knows what it is.
Minecraft 9/11.
Ding.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Brought to you by the Titanic. I don't know why.
By the Titanic.
Yeah, for some reason. Hammer Dawn says, TrippyCast, you know Sherlock Holmes is Tony Stark, who is also Iron Man? I did not.
Sound like a lot of fictional characters. Who gives a rat's ass?
Did you know that?
That's right.
I have
the
not
best
been
point you
like,
made all night.
I have not been excited for a Marvel movie in probably like 5-6 years.
Is that when Endgame came out? Because
I've never been excited for him.
I thought
that was
that we can get in a little nerdness around here. Hey, Marcel Magos
I was
actually joined us.
excited to
What's up,
sell it.
Marcel?
Oh, I mostly just joined because the audio quality is better when you're actually in the studio.
Should be.
It is, yeah.
It sounds better than the actual YouTube. But
Is that
I
a
can't-
tattoo of Bruce Lee?
Yeah, I have it on my leg. I
Oh
have
my
typed-
God, you're a member of Trend Day 13.
Yeah, no,
You're a
not
member
really,
of Trendy Arguay.
I mean, you saw that 2 different courts said that he was a member of the gang anyway.
No, because that's Chinese and not fucking Mexican or any sort of South American.
Yeah, so he's Yakuza.
You would know that if you had any sense of nuance about it.
Yakuza.
But you don't.
True,
No one is using
absolutely.
that tattoo to say he was a member. They're just saying it could mean MS-13 based on
Based on the Photoshop digits on his knuckles. Which Trump believed were
And if he went to Japan and had that tattoo, they would investigate him because nobody in Japan has tattoos that's not linked with the fucking mob.
By the
So,
way, anybody honest
I
will look
mean-
at that clip of Trump and acknowledge it as that's his first Joe Biden moment. The fact that he kept insisting on returning to like, no. It says it right on his knuckles, and it's so obviously photoshopped. And the reporter is so gently trying to be like,
Obviously, yes.
Like, it
No,
was
see,
so-
that's they were both making misleading announcements right there because the guy was claiming that the tattoos themselves didn't fucking exist. That was misleading and stupid. He shouldn't have been doing that, and Trump was only calling attention to it to make the guy look even dumber.
No, Trump was arguing that the picture.
If that's what you want to believe, go ahead.
Yeah, because that's what happened. If you want to believe some weird,
I watched the
fantastical
clip. I know
lodge
what was
in
happening.
your pee-pee chamber, you can
You
do
don't
that too.
understand that Trump likes to fuck with people.
Yes.
You would rather just believe that Trump is stupid
Hold
or
up,
Trump is dumb.
Well, no, I wouldn't rather believe that he's stupid. I'd rather he be incredibly intelligent. He's the president of the United States.
I'll pull it
He
up.
is a fucking moron. It's
I'll pull it up
unfortunate.
as long as it's not on like one of those news stations that'll hit me for copyright. You know what I mean?
Oh, geez, yeah, because I was trying to find you a source earlier. The New York Times is like, sorry, you get to read like 3 sentences, idiot.
They do, and then they'll cut you off. They'll be like, "Here, sign up," because none of their money was given to them by the government, anyways, right?
True, yeah, 100%. And I know that was Washington Post.
Is it not possible that that guy's
Wow.
tattoos could be a personalized representation of MS-13?
Possibly. Is
Well,
there
then
any
there you
evidence
go.
to believe that?
Well,
No,
it's
not
interesting.
there you go. You don't get to hypothesize something with no evidence and then just plonk that as if it's the truth. Come on.
If it's his own personal rendition, there is no evidence other than it coming from his own mouth. That's called metaphor,
but
dude.
that's not okay. So first of all, he's never said anything to that effect. So you are just making this up.
And he's not. No, and he's not
Second
going
of all,
to.
second
It's
of all,
called
that's not what the
speculation.
indictment said.
It's called speculation, man.
Hey.
Yeah, it is called speculation. It's called just asking questions, jacking off. It's about
Who's doing those runs on the guitar?
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool.
Do that instead of trying to argue. You're
Acoustic, huh?
No, I'm playing an electric. It's just unplugged.
Ding a ding 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 ding.
Isaac, I don't know if you're watching, but we are kind of clowning on them right now. Jesus Christ.
You're not clowning on anybody. I'm sorry, dude.
46 to 34? I'm so sorry. Yes, we fucking are.
46 to 30. Who's been counting anything? Also, you keep claiming that there's no way that these tattoos could be gang affiliated, but you don't have any reason to believe so.
I never claimed that. I never claimed that. Nope,
No, you have. Regardless of if you said it in those exact words or not.
With a weird code where you've imagined them into believing
And my there you go statement wasn't saying it is. It's saying there you go. It's a possibility. So don't twist my words.
Well, they said, so that's enough.
The evidence is right there in front of you, dude. M and S.
Exactly. See, it's just look at it, bro.
M and S. Marijuana skull or marijuana smiley face.
Do you know what a dice looks like? 3 dots on a dice. It's the same thing.
Could there be for me looking at the same thing you did and coming to a different conclusion?
Because you don't want to believe it.
Oh, okay. So the only reason
That's exactly
is
right.
I am unwilling to believe it, not because I'm looking at it critically and coming to a different conclusion. There's only
Would it even change your mind if he wasn't a gang member? Like if they never said that he was a gang member and this is
all of this already, but on which part?
like if they never said that he was a gang member but he still remained to be deported, would you still be fighting for him just this hard, or would you be?
Was he given an evidentiary hearing before his deportation?
Him and however many other people weren't.
Hypothetical? Yeah. Was he given an evidentiary hearing?
He did something illegal, which was being here in the country.
Okay, so answer. So that's hypothetical.
Right.
They didn't call him a gang member.
Is it illegal? Is it illegal for you to walk across the border and be like, I live here now?
So you are dodging this.
That's illegal, correct?
Because you understand that the point I'm about to make just destroys.
That's what the law says.
Yes, my entire point is I don't care whether he's a gang member or not. I care about the Fifth Amendment and I care about process of law in the United States. The president clearly doesn't.
So wait a minute, though.
It's actually called due process, and it is being followed. That's the law.
Thank you, Speedy. Thank you for your contribution. But
Yeah, it's the law. It's literally he came here.
Literally the law. So that's
He came here illegally. He stayed here illegally. He broke laws while he was here, and you still think that a illegal in the country needs to have due process when his rights don't exist because he's not an actual citizen.
A lack of care for United
His
States
rights don't exist.
Any sort of authority on
His rights don't exist.
They don't have the same rights as somebody who's born here. Obviously.
Yeah, they don't have rights. They're not legal.
They'll have other rights for due process to be executed, but it's not going to be like your right if you're an American citizen.
Are you done, ma'am? I don't want to talk over women. I'm a progressive woke.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know what any of that had to do with anything. I've repeatedly said the only issue I have is that he wasn't given the evidentiary hearing he is entitled to before his deportation.
Yeah, but he's not entitled to it because he broke laws while he was here.
Yes, he is.
Multiple times. He got arrested several times.
You do not get denied due process because you've broken enough laws. You don't hit a crime.
He was
limit
here
where they
illegally.
just export you
He
immediately.
was here illegally, dude. You don't get rights for being here illegally. You just don't get rights for being here illegally. Hello? Hello? McFly? Hello? Hey, McFly? Look, dude, you don't get rights just because you stepped foot in the country.
Actually, you do, and it's so disgusting that you would say that. Yeah.
Oh, it's good that you don't, though.
No
Because
idea.
then, we'd have to, I don't know. We'd have to ask El Salvador to send him back to the country because that's so important because one guy supposedly was non-rightfully fucking taken out.
No, actually, when it comes to the asking El
Oh,
Salvador
no.
facilitating his return, the reason that he has to facilitate the return is because the Supreme Court told him to.
No.
Donald Trump seems to have this idea in his head that he doesn't have to abide by courts that he
Okay,
disagrees with.
you said it, so I'll ask you.
if Joe Biden,
I don't
instead
care.
of when the Supreme Court had
He's-
ruled against
he's
his
the
when
zombie.
the Supreme Court had
I don't
ruled
care.
against his student loan proposal, if
They
Joe
did.
Biden had just gone ahead, yeah, they did,
And then
sought
he
other
went behind their
avenues.
back and he fucking did it anyway.
No, he didn't go behind their back. He sought other avenues to accomplish the goal, and he didn't accomplish it as much
Oh
as he
no.
wanted to in the first place.
Okay.
But if
Even
he
though
had
he
just
said he
told
didn't
those
care what the
courts,
Supreme
he would have
Court
been
said,
fine with it.
and then you had all the left
he had told
news
those
organizations
courts that we
literally
wanted that day,
saying
he
that
would
they
have been fine with it.
championed him for that.
Yeah, exactly. This is cope. This is all cope.
The fucking news was championing Biden.
Oh, Biden. Yep.
They were
yep.
championing
All
Biden
Democrats are one
on doing
conglomerate
something that
mass.
the
You're
Supreme
mad at
Court
evil
didn't
liberals.
want. And yet when Trump does the same shit, they're like, oh, fucking bad man orange. He fascist. So what's the fucking difference? And Trump said,
have no
I
idea
will
what any of
follow
that
the
has to do with
laws.
anything. I try to demonstrate your hypocrisy. And, you
And what
blabber
is
and rant.
facilitating, in your opinion, what is facilitating his release or whatever? What does that encompass? Like, what do they have to do?
That means returning him to the United States, keeping
No, it
him
doesn't.
in custody, having him go through his evidentiary hearing, and if it's
No,
determined
it
that he's
doesn't.
not a member of the gang, which was the reason for the deportation order, he should be released.
No, facilitating his return actually means that they will ask El Salvador to send him out of there. It doesn't
No,
mean
I
that
know
he
that's
gets
what
to be
you've
a
been
U.S.
told. I
citizen
know
or
what
come back to the country.
So
So you can go.
Andrew and Tristan Tate, we can get them back. Sex traffickers from a Romanian prison. We can bully Romania. We didn't even.
They're not
send them there in the
Americans.
first place, but we can. Yes, they are. Oh
Andrew
my God,
Tate-
you literally know nothing.
Andrew
Yes, they
Tate.
actually are. Yes, they
He
are.
has
Holy
he has
shit.
joint. He has
Google
joints.
is free, my dude. We're on the internet.
Well, he ain't
How-
coming
it's
back.
so embarrassing.
So, anyways,
Because his dad.
no matter
is
what,
American.
I don't think you, JC, I don't think you heard the declaration, but no matter what, Braco Garcia will never be a U.S. citizen. That's gone. That's done. He's in
I
El
think it was-
Salvador.
It
They
was
said
already
that-
documented, wasn't
Andrew
it?
Tate and
that he
Tristan
was
are full US
in the
UK
game.
citizens.
Yeah, multiple
So,
places.
Yeah,
can
it's already documented, honey. It was already
If you can
stated
engage
in
more than
multiple
5 brain cells
places.
at a time, Trippy, that'd be
I
great.
even showed you the
So-
DHS thing.
So we can bully Romania
Homeland Security.
into allowing us to extradite Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, Romanian sex trafficker. We can have them brought back to the United States, but we can't get back somebody that we
bullying who?
illegally sent to a country that we are paying to keep him there, that we've already admitted that we shouldn't have done in the first place. We
We're
can
not
somehow
paying him to
make
keep him
back.
there.
Yes,
Also,
we are.
El
Yes, we are.
Salvador is his
Irish,
home
US
country. It's his home country. So you're asking for us
So
to
what?
take him back into our country because
Yes.
what? They accidentally
Because he
wrote
was
the wrong
denied
thing down
due
on the
process.
paperwork?
And if at
And
the
he's
end of the
allowed
due
to just
process,
not be here
he's
anymore is
found
what he's
be a
allowed to do.
gang member who engaged in gang activity, deport him again.
Yeah, dude. So
Yeah,
what?
deport him again. I
It's
want
already
the due
done and said. He's
process.
gone. El Salvador's not sending him back here. It's been asked of them.
Yeah,
He's not going to come back here. That's for damn
You
sure.
cannot- we have
He's
gone
gone.
point by point by point. Every
He's
time
gone.
that I've been asked a question. I've
Just
addressed
accept it.
immediately. I've looked for evidence to support it. Every time that I defeat you on a point,
Every time I've shown you the DHS thing, you're like, no, Department of Homeland Security can't be trusted. Only MSNBC can. No. That's what I'm telling you right now. Is I showed you the DHS and you're like, no, that's
You are
false
in a
because
cult,
they don't
sir.
know as much as me.
You are in a cult, sir.
No, you're in a cult. That's why every woman that you
No,
fucking
I'm
would
not in a
stick your
cult.
dick in
I
has a
have-
nose ring.
I'm in a cult.
Forcing everyone to believe your evidence is cultish as well. You realize that, right?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Forcing everyone to believe your evidence over his is also
Can
cultish.
you name one instance of where I've done that tonight, sir?
Well, you're expecting us to believe your evidence over his.
I presented no evidence, sir. What evidence am I expecting you
You
to believe?
just said you presented some to prove your points.
No,
You said,
I
"I've
said
got
that I was
evidence
looking
forward
for
to
an
prove all
article
my points."
previously to prove that the United States was paying El Salvador to hold these immigrants. I found
And he
that
couldn't
article.
find one.
I did not send it though. I
Which
don't
is-
think, right?
Oh,
Didn't I?
did you? I don't know actually.
And also,
There's a couple back there.
Your unwillingness to view and
I gotta
look
put
at
this
his
in the back.
evidence is biased as well. You're unwilling to look at his evidence, and you're only listening to your own.
I'm unwilling to look at evidence that is retarded and not existing in reality.
Well, then
That is
there you
correct.
go. You already have preconditioned bias towards it. You're
also,
being
Trippy,
prejudiced towards the
what
situation.
evidence did you provide that I didn't address when it came to Abreu Garcia?
The Department of Homeland Security article, not even article, literal statements showing that the guy was declared to have been a gang member by 2 different
Wait,
courts.
Okay, so I already told you repeatedly that even if he is a gang member, he was denied a due process before deportation, and that's what I'm concerned about, right?
I don't really care because he's gone now.
Okay,
He ain't coming
no,
back.
Not about what you care about. That is what my position is.
But wait, now, do you expect them to do
Is
due
that what my
process?
position is? Yes or no?
This is something that I wanted to bring up earlier anyways, dude. It follows with your question. Don't worry about it. I'm not trying to dodge or anything. It doesn't matter if he gets due process because there's already 20-something million people in the U.S. that are not going to get due process because it takes too fucking long. It takes, 3 to 7 years or 3 to 5 years for them to deport somebody under due process. Do you think that we're going to wait for 20 million people to have these different fucking cases go so that the courts can be even more tied up than they already are? No. They're going to find whatever they can, whether it be a fucking traffic violation or what have you, to help deport these motherfuckers if necessary. There's been a whole bunch of murderers and I guess rapists, even though that word's been said enough tonight, that have been deported too. And I don't see you arguing those. And they didn't get due process either. They got fucking, they broke laws just like Abrego Garcia. He did the same shit. He was no longer here under sanctuary. He got deported. Big fucking whoop. His wife doesn't seem like she's even that upset about it.
A field of scarecrows, a field of straw men, punching them in the face.
A field of straw men? You keep denying the evidence, even though I showed it to you.
Owned you. What is the position
you
that
didn't
I've been
own shit.
Denying his evidence because it's retarded is a straw man, dude.
It literally.
Thank you so much. Trippy, what is my position?
Your position is that he should have gotten due process. So.
Okay. With my position in mind, do I care whether or not he's a criminal when it comes to his deserving of due process?
Well, do you think that every criminal would need due process to get deported? Because, like I said, 20 million people. There's got to be more criminals in there. There have been, because we even saw the footage of them getting sent to El Salvador.
That is. Like, I can't. I don't.
I don't understand why you think that every single one of these people needs due process when that's fucking impossible, dude. Just be living in reality for a moment. Live in reality.
Due process.
Do you think all these criminals deserve due process? Do you or not?
Yes, I do, because I believe in the United States legal system as an institution.
Cool. So you think that you could just, like, if you personally went to another country and you started breaking a bunch of rules and you were there illegally, you think that they would hold a court case?
Those countries' laws.
And then kick you out? Would you bitch about due process if you were not an American citizen, but yet you were staying here and you raped a bunch of bitches and they fucking kicked you out? Do you think that people would have a GoFundMe and all of this news?
Actually, I would. If there was no
if
there was no hearing to prove that I had actually raped anybody and I was just kicked out before I had due process, yeah, I would be upset.
Right. Like there's proof that his wife called the police on him and said that he beat the shit out of her.
But guess what? Never got a hearing for this. The decision was made by the Trump admin, by ICE.
He's gone,
already
dude.
Sided against him. He didn't get any chance
Yes,
to plead any
ICE's job is to deport people who are here illegally. He already broke a law by being here illegally. Can you not agree? Can you not agree with that?
There's different tiers in the system of law, okay?
One kind of tears, and they're the ones streaming down my face.
No. You know what, JC? Whatever happened to the gay barber?
Light the Constitution on fire and ask the question like, I believe all criminals deserve
The Constitution has not even been broken by this. But yet you guys are going to sell that and you're going to say, this is a constitutional crisis. It's not. It's one motherfucker. And you're going to, you may, and I don't think you will, but I'm guessing that your full thing here is that you think that because he got deported like he did, that could actually equal U.S. citizens being deported under Trump. Is that what you're trying to say?
U.S. citizens have already been deported under Trump.
No, they haven't. Show me one.
No.
Show me one. Show me one.
Okay,
one.
A 3-year-old with cancer deported this week, so
she's not legal. It's the fucking birthright citizenship's been revoked.
I'm sorry. You can be against birthright citizenship principally. It's currently the law of the land. You want to change it? Get a constitutional amendment.
Oh, okay. So you would expect that her parents would just get deported so that she can be separated from her parents, so we can go through that whole fucking argument now?
Oh, I would actually hope they would get the due process of an evidentiary hearing where we could.
They don't need it.
The best
Here illegally. Bye-bye. Get the fuck out.
See? No. Yeah, because your brain isn't capable of engaging with complicated solutions to complicated problems. It has to be whatever the rip the Band-Aid off solution, even if you end up getting a worse infection on the cut that the Band-Aid was covering.
This is why he was voted in by millions and millions and millions of people, and you're like sitting here all by yourself being the lone person who was against it.
I am not the only person. No, Donald Trump is insanely unpopular. With all
if they really wanted
insanely unpopular,
they would have done that.
With all of the fucking. Okay, all right.
Go ahead, again, Star. What'd you say?
If they really wanted to try the guy, they would have tried him. But obviously, probably El Salvador has more interest in having him back. He probably has quite the long sense of
rap sheet.
No, he probably has a very long rap sheet over there, and so they probably have interest.
Nice if we knew about that. You're just saying probably. You have no idea.
Well, no, I will say that El Salvador, but more than likely because they knew who the fuck he was.
I will say that it is hilarious that when he was pictured with that politician that they put like fake margaritas in the photo. That's funny. That's hilarious because
I didn't get to see it. Show me later.
Oh, I might be able to bring it up, but like I'll say that there's no way they were sitting there drinking margaritas. We can all probably agree with that. That was a troll right there.
Why not a mojito? Mojitos are good too.
A mojito.
Mojito.
God, I know how to spell Abrego Garcia now.
Muy bonito.
Oh, shit.
You know how to spell Tren de Aragua yet?
I haven't had to just so many times, but I think it's TRENDA.
MS-13 is so fucking boring. It sounds like something
AGUA.
Tren de Aragua.
I think MS-13 sounds silly for a gang name too.
Yeah, it sounds like something like a Silicon Valley idiot would come up with. Like, this is my drug gang. We're gonna call it MS-13 instead of.
It sounds like the 13th edition of Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. That's kind of what. Yeah, congratulations, you sorts the joke. Good job.
Margarita.
You caught up. You got us, Marcel.
Damn, that's way too small. I wanted a bigger photo of this. Let me keep Googling and I'll pull up the photo. How come every one of them is so little? I want a bigger photo. There's a bigger photo.
I don't
Hold
know.
on a
My
sec. I'll
arm's
pull
getting
it up.
tired holding my phone.
Yeah, but work
Mine's
out.
getting tired too, but it's not from holding my phone.
His is from masturbating. Anyways, this is the photo here.
Oh, damn it.
I forgot the politician's name. Does anybody remember this guy's name?
I
can't remember. It's probably on the Google thing. Hold on.
I am Googling it. I'm so sorry.
Senator something.
I can't see
It doesn't
him.
even say senator's name. What the fuck?
He's like this big on my screen.
But yeah, they got the glasses and stuff sitting here. And
Well,
this
I'm
is
not a US
Abrego
citizen, so I
Garcia's
have no idea.
this is Abrego Garcia's prison uniform, as you see here, with the baseball cap and the shirt. He's definitely in a terrible prison.
Senator Chris
Oh, he's in
Van
one of
Hollen.
those country club prisons.
Senator Chris who? Chris Van
Hollen. Is that who it
Chris
is?
Van Hollen.
Is this the
Yeah,
guy
which
that
that's
visited him
been pretty
Maryland?
hilarious. You know, like, he was trolled the entire time he was in El Salvador. Like,
Okay, I'm sorry, but like I can't find this hilarious. This is the Red Cross video.
Fucking
that they-
hilarious.
that the Nazis produced to show the world. No, we're not concentrating camping anyone. Lol.
no, they're not. It's literally just a terrible
You would
prison.
laugh at that too. You would be laughing
Dude,
at
it's
that
a
the same way
terrible
you're laughing
prison.
at this.
Like, obviously, it's known to be a terrible prison, but it's definitely not like a concentration camp.
Okay.
I've heard
so
somebody,
my
not you.
point of comparison was, to me, this image
gotcha.
represents such a travesty against human rights that it's like laughing at that same video, which was in a similar manner intentionally constructed to deceptively sway you in one way or the other with regards to the actual living conditions.
You do realize this is all probably sleight of hand too, to get you like all up in an uproar about whatever this is. Not you specifically, but like people that would
Yeah, you're right.
that would get
I'm the
into
one
an
that's
uproar.
being duped. Not all the people buying Trump coins.
He didn't say. He just said not you specifically.
Yeah, like not you in particular, but people in general.
Pointing at you.
Why would you say what? So then why bring it?
Just like with this photo, right? There's a whole bunch
Is
of
that
people.
happening to me or
Hold
isn't
on,
it? Why bring it
just
up?
a minute.
Why is it upsetting me?
Just a sec. Not you specifically. I mean, like in general, like people that believe everything that is told to them by whichever side they're believing, right? Like you got this photo, which was posted by a bunch of like Republican, conservative, right-leaning pages and news articles and stuff saying that they were sipping margaritas. When it's like, it's obvious nobody's even licked or drank out of those glasses. Like those are there specifically to make that senator look bad and make the whole situation look funny. Like
And
that's
you also
literally
got
why
that
those are
picture of
there.
that
They were
judge-
put there.
The judge that they arrested where she's crying, right? They've got that one too, except that's totally fake, isn't it?
No, that's real. She should have been
No,
arrested
it's
because
not.
she's
No,
violating a law.
No, that picture of her
assisted-
crying in her fucking prison jumpsuit is not a real. That is
She
an
attempted-
AI image.
To be fair, this photo could have been taken.
I don't
right
care
when
if
they
it's real
sat
or
down
not.
Before,
No,
before any of the drinks were
I don't
touched, right?
believe any image you immediately. I don't believe any image from.
I don't
any
give a
outlet
fuck if
as
it's
you
real or
left
not.
the
I never even saw that fucking picture, to be honest.
Oh, here.
Never even fucking saw it. I never even heard of it before you brought it up, to be honest, dude.
Search
But I don't
crying
give a
judge
shit.
AI.
She got in trouble. She got in some shit for fucking
Oh,
trying
look,
to assist in an illegal getting out of the building. And no, he wasn't arrested in the hallway. He was arrested blocks away from the courthouse because ICE didn't know where he was because she assisted him in getting the fuck out without being spotted. Just like I said earlier.
Yeah, because
And
he had reported. So, do you think that if you want people to participate in the process legally, right? Do you think that it might dissuade illegal immigrants from coming forward and participating in the immigration process if they know that ICE agents are going to wait for them at the courthouse to swoop down and arrest them the second they show
they
their
have the
faces?
option of
Even when they're
self-reporting.
complying with the law?
Do you not know this? Did you not know that they have the option to self-report? And there's been like
That's
thousands
not what this person was doing. He was
and
not self-reporting.
thousands of
He was
illegal
attending an
immigrants that have
immigration
self-deported because of that. And when they come in, they self-report that they should probably be deported. They're fucking taken very good care of, and they're not stuck in a prison. They get to go home on a fucking plane, dude. Just a plane, just fly you back to your home country, and there you go. You're back home. There's been thousands upon thousands of people who have actually self-deported / reported and been sent back home. It's not like, oh, you're an illegal, we're going to go put you in El Salvador. That's not really what's happening.
True. No,
They're just deporting people back to their home country if they haven't already violated a shitload of laws.
Donald Trump and his racism crew go around rounding up anyone vaguely brown, and they ship them off to whatever.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's why he wants to turn Canada into a state. Because he wants to then, after he turns Canada into a state, then he's going to arrest all the brown people. Yeah, I'm sure.
Be the 51st state. Canada's going to be 52 and 53, okay? Keep track. You haven't been following up with how great America's becoming, okay?
It is becoming great, because I still get to call people retarded.
I wouldn't say it's very great.
Wait, did he try and insult me? You want to get another shot at that, Marcel? Sounded like a zinger. Go for it.
I didn't try and insult you. I just made a statement. If most of them are like you, I don't think it's very great. That's not an insult. That's an observation, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution.
Can we talk about something
I
nice?
love my non-serious channel. It's great.
We're talking about nerdy shit. We had some unity there.
Oh yeah, obviously. Like that's the thing. I'm not like your enemy. I'm not looking at you like you're some kind of demon or anything. Like it would break it down. We're all humans. We're gonna have opinions.
Is JC American or are you Canadian?
I'm American.
He's American.
Yeah, you would know that if you heard him talking to Welshman.
I literally, until I just logged in, I wasn't really listening.
Yeah, you missed my American.
I'm Canadian. I'm not American at all. But
what state are you in, JC?
In the state of constant despair. I don't dox my location.
That was a good one.
Okay, are you in the Midwest, the East Coast, or the West Coast?
I'm in the middle part of the country with all the boring shit.
Okay, with less Mexicans. Got you.
Ma'am, do you know where the majority of agricultural in the United States takes place? Trust me, there are plenty of Mexicans working the fields around here.
I thought you'd appreciate my joke.
Oh, if that was a joke, okay. Well,
yeah,
no,
it was a
I'm
joke.
sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, I know where most of the crops come from. They also come from California.
This is also true.
Yes, and I'm from California.
Where not a single Mexican can be found in those fields
Tell
either.
They are about 75%.
Look, it's not.
They're like 75% of the population in California now.
Well, no matter what,
that's liberal misinformation. I'm sorry.
no matter what, the deportations.
I'm from there. What do you mean?
No, I'm sorry.
No matter what, though, the deportations are not to get rid of skin colors.
Agree with is misinformation. That's really dumb.
Oh.
It's really dumb that you can't pick up on sarcasm. That's the really dumb part.
That was the horriblest sarcasm I've ever heard in my life.
No, actually, that was pretty good sarcasm because it's hard to see. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's like that's the wrong word. I don't know. Look,
actually, it is me. Marcel had the right word. It is me being a dick.
That works.
No, I said I'm being a dick. I'm just being a dick to give you some of your own medicine because you know.
I'm being the balls. Maybe we can come together in glorious unity.
Oh, nice.
I can annoy all you guys.
If
Here you go. This is annoying.
Oh God,
Barry,
Gosh, why?
Barry,
Okay.
fucker.
That goes on for
ears,
27 seconds, so I just ended it early. I just got rid of that.
There was more. Oh my god.
Hey, what'd you say, Star?
What? No.
No.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say that?
What? No.
Sounds like you.
I hate you.
You know what? If I have to do one, then you have to do one. And I didn't say smoke. I said you have to eat it so you can suffer right along with me. How about that?
She's just talking to herself. It's crazy.
No,
Obviously, that was her right now.
No,
Jeez. Especially because
mic
my
is
bubble was
muted.
moving.
Muted, mute.
God.
Yeah.
Non-funds
So,
in a 10-person panel. Holy shit.
So, JC agrees that Donald Trump's the best president we've ever had or ever will.
Yay,
And
nice to
he
meet you,
believes
JC.
that every single brown person should be deported, according to him. I heard him say that.
Deported at a minimum.
He said especially the Indians.
My better
We
ideas
don't mind your bias, sir.
And JC said they're eating the dogs and cats. I heard him.
Hamsters.
They're eating the dogs and cats.
100%, absolutely.
I was wondering what that smell was.
It's all the hamster cartilage.
So I heard JC say this. Yeah, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it.
Is that a sports reference?
And I think it's an SNL reference, to be honest.
I think so, yeah. I think it's SNL.
Basketball. Yeah. So, okay. What else can we all yell at each other about out of the frame and everything? Let's see.
No, I want to not yell anymore.
You want to not yell?
I want to be friends for like a little bit.
Do you think that this new Superman movie is going to be good?
Ooh, okay.
I hope so. I hope so.
I say no.
I think that people don't remember what the original Spider-Man trilogy looked like and how good those were, and so they see a trailer for a similar movie that's like over the top goofy but takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
Like, so it works, and I feel like people are scared. I think it's going to be cool.
I think it's going to be awesome,
The
dude.
only thing I didn't
With
like
Crypto?
with the original Spider-Man
yeah.
trilogy is Peter Parker wasn't comic book accurate. He didn't have any quips or anything.
Yeah. They tried to address that with Andrew Garfield, though.
Yeah. I like him the best, I think.
So, yeah, so do I.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield.
But he was a good actor.
Oh, fuck.
They were all a bit old if you really look at it.
Tom Holland perpetually looks 15. So
He does.
I like that casting for no other reason.
He
than
does.
That, is that he looked like a high school student, which is what.
Damn,
fucking
did
Peter
you-
Parker's supposed to do.
You hear Tom Holland talking about how he became a fucking drunk for like a year because of a movie role he did? He was like,
It sounds
I'm
like
not
your kid
surprised.
brother like admitting something he did.
yeah, dude. He was like, I was drinking so much.
Oh, I was drinking so much, and it's like, you're not old enough to drink.
Right. Like he said that, I was like, is that legal? Oh shit, he's well into his 20s. Oh boy. But yeah, I think that the idea of bringing Crypto the Super Dog into the Superman franchise movies, awesome idea. He looks like he's a pretty dumb dog too. You know,
Did you guys like the Robert Pattinson Batman movie? I
loved it. And I'm a huge Batman fan.
Hot take as a Batman fan, I fucking hated that movie.
Really? You know what I didn't like? The Joker. I didn't like either of those.
Yeah, I thought Joker I didn't see the second one. I thought the first one was a little bit like overhyped. I like Taxi Driver better as my commentary.
Oh yeah, I heard it's like lifts a lot from that movie. It's basically Taxi Driver
It
with
basically is, yeah.
a guy in
except he
face
becomes
paint.
The Joker at the end.
With makeup, yeah.
I didn't try Folie à Deux, even though I mean I kind of did, and then I kind of didn't because I got like 20 minutes into it and I was like, I can't take this anymore.
I got about an hour and a half into the Batman. Okay, that's a good Batman movie.
That's the best one. Right
I got
there.
about an hour and a half into the Robert Pattinson Batman, and I had to turn it off because I was getting like mad Star Wars prequel vibes. There was just so much like talking in rooms.
Well,
And
because
like I like the
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Knight trilogy. I want like Batman to be Batman. I want Batman like brooding in a corner about how depressed
was.
he is.
But
He
that's
was-
not
he
how
was
Batman always
pretty
was
emo.
written,
It
though.
was a 2.5 hour
He was
long
pretty
movie.
emo.
But
He was like, I'm
the
sad.
point of that movie is if you take Batman out of it, it would be a good film noir detective film.
Yeah. Well, like
Right.
what we got
You have to
was
do a
have to
good
do
Batman noir detective film. The pacing was too long, and the pacing was so slow.
yeah, but it was long because I mean I've seen it a couple of times, and it's like I like how they did the pacing because it's supposed to be him as a fresh Batman. Like he's only been doing it for like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it's basically it's like year two there, year one. I
Year
really
one or
like the
two, yeah.
Cinematography. I really like the '90s camera lenses they uses, which did the whole
You know what though?
the depth of field tricks and stuff.
Too much use of one Nirvana song. Like they used it like 3 times.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah,
4.
yeah. Something in the way. I think.
Something in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ow! That one.
And then also, I mean, I kind of thought it was cool and simultaneously like way too emo for him to have the eye makeup on the whole time.
I saw a picture, like,
I'm
I think
shit.
like a YouTube short. I thought that was cool. That because
He just shows up.
They made fun of before. They're like, "Oh, Batman wouldn't have eye makeup." But
Like,
they did a little
JC,
spray bottle. Like,
He
what?
shows up behind you and he's like, I'm sad Batman. And you're like, oh my god, dude, you would love My Chemical Romance.
Like the Batman, like the Pete Holmes sketches.
I mean, it is efficient for him to have it on all the time, though. Imagine having to take
Yeah,
put your
it was
Batman
because he
makeup
changed
on.
in and out of the costume. Yeah.
The Batman versus Superman one, where he's like, "You got a big S on your chest in case we forget who you are." It's my
It means
symbol for
hope.
Hope
It means
starts
hope.
with an H. Stupid.
Again. I'm sad, Superman. Yeah, everything is so bad, and I'm sad. It's like, come on, man. We already got Superman and Batman together. Just look like the same guy. You know?
Superman's boring.
Yeah, that thing that they were doing with the whole sad Superman, and then they try to juxtapose him with Batman being Batman. It's like, now we got two sad characters.
There was I am not a Man of Steel defender. I like that movie mostly because I like Henry Cavill as an actor, but the aspect that they started to explore where Superman is like, I'm gonna be a messianic figure to these people because of how powerful I am. Is that a responsibility I can contend with? They pointed at that on a whiteboard essentially.
Yeah, he's
in
like,
one scene,
I'm Jesus.
and that was it. If that was a theme that they have been going throughout the whole movie, and I know the whole dad is hide your powers, but more digging into does he think it's okay for him to be the savior for these people, or what kind of role does he want to have? It's kind of like Last Jedi sucks ass, but there's interesting ideas there that they didn't know what to do with.
Yeah, they didn't put enough meat on the bones.
I could agree.
There was too much fat. There wasn't enough actual quality meat. It was just
oh my god. But yeah, you got I guess Robert Pattinson over there. I did enjoy it. One of my favorite things about that movie is when he approaches the club and he's dressed as Batman. It's a immediate fight, and then when he approaches the club as Bruce Wayne, they're like, "Oh my God, you're Bruce Wayne! Come on in the club." Because they do that scene in basically the same framing, and I think it's when he comes back. Don't both of the guards have broken noses or something from when he was there as Batman?
My favorite Batman scene is in
It's pretty
Batman
sick.
Begins when he says, "I'm Batman."
Yeah.
Batman quote.
God, Michael Keaton, after Michael Keaton played,
He's my
in two
favorite
movies.
Batman. Actually, Val Kilmer.
Michael
My favorite
Keaton.
Batman
Best
quote,
Batman, Michael Keaton,
is when he said, "Would you like to get nuts?"
You want to get nuts?
Yeah,
Let's
that's
get
probably my
nuts.
favorite scene.
And then he
That's
said,
because straight up Joker, no bat suit either.
Pale Moonlight. I like that one
"He
too.
gets funnier every time."
Dude, I mean, I grew up with the original '89 Batman. I can't get it out of my head. I've got a Batman, I got Batman action figures all over here. I've got the Batmobile from the movie.
Marcel held up that VHS slipcover. I assume VHS. Just the logo.
Oh, wow.
Iconic.
Dude, that's from, that is a
Penguin.
Kids Meal. Kids Meal toy? Is that from McDonald's or Burger King?
Yeah, McDonald's. Yeah.
I had one of those as a
I
kid.
got all kinds of cool stuff. I have every Transformers comic from the 70s, all graded at 9.8.
Damn. That's a hard thing to do right there. I got a bunch of comics I've never opened.
I've got Batman Holy Terror. We're talking about Batman. This is where
excuse me.
Batman is a priest in a Christian nationalist version of America.
Holy
My
shit,
eyes are
nice.
too bad. I can't see them.
Why am I hiccuping? Somebody gave me the hiccups.
These are the ones from when I was
I can full
I've had
screen.
this
I can
since I
full
was
screen.
a little kid. This is my Death of Superman.
Nice.
When I read that when I was 10, I actually cried.
JC, I don't know how old you are.
It's good.
I'm
I've got
37.
I've got a copy of that graded at 9.8.
I'm about a decade younger than you.
Okay, so you're around 27. When I was a kid, I remember the Death of Superman comic book being released and the hype, dude. There was so much real, tangible hype for that shit. And the rebirth of Superman. I have all of those comics. With Steel and whatever the magic one's name was. And
This is the
nice.
issue where Bane breaks Batman's back.
Oh wow.
I've also got the Book of Genesis fully illustrated.
Oh, that's good. Sick. I would kill for that. Oh.
That's another I would highly recommend.
Well, I shouldn't say I would kill for that. I think that's TOS. In a video game.
In a Minecraft game.
No,
yeah,
because
in
I'm
a
pretty sure
mine
Minecraft
video.
Gets you flagged.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Damn nanny state.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it's only a nanny state on the websites anyway. You know what I mean? Like they're over here like, hey, don't say that word. And we're like, we're saying that fucking word.
I've got,
and they're
I've
like,
got
hey.
Spawn and Violator on the wall back there, still in the package as well.
Dude, I've got the issue of Iron Man where Tony Stark quits.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I got it around here somewhere. I think it's in a box.
All right,
Just
so
marked
I'm
comic
not
books.
a comic book guy, but I've got like 3 bookshelves full of Warhammer crap. So that's
Damn.
my voice.
So like I've got that. I got
nice.
something from Spider-Man. I don't know. I think I have Spider-Man 2099 like issue 6 or something.
I have the first one with the holographic cover.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got
So
I do have Spider-Woman issue 1, I think.
I didn't watch
Spider-Girl.
I don't know how people feel about the Spider-Verse movies. I
Spider-Girl.
really like them, the animated ones.
Oh,
I didn't watch
I like the
any
first one.
promotional material or anything before I went in to see the second one with my wife. When fucking Spider-Man 2099 jumped in, I was like losing my shit because that's another one of those books I've had since I was like 10 or 11.
Damn.
Like, oh my god!
Oh, what you got?
I've got all
Cards?
the Spider-Man cards too.
Damn.
I've got all of them.
I got some
All right,
kind of
It's been lovely to
animations.
yell at all of you gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play some more League of Legends with my
You
friend,
get out of here.
Isaac.
You damn Libby. You Libby over there.
Happy to yell at y'all anytime you'd like.
You too, man.
Thanks for hosting me, Trippy.
Hey, no problem. I might tap you. Shoot me something like your Instagram or something, whatever you got in the back, and that way I can contact you.
I'll drop my is Twitter work?
YouTube, Twitter, whatever you got. Which channel? I don't care. Something where I can hit you up and be like, hey, you want to debate somebody on something?
Oh yeah, no, hit me up. For
I'll
that
bring
stuff.
your
I'm
ass
trying to
up
find
on
more
here.
debates.
Nice.
Absolutely. All right.
'Cause I
Good night,
got
everybody.
plenty.
Yeah, you too. Good job.
Night, man.
I got plenty of one side. I got barely any of the other. So
Oh, man, it was cool that he was able to still like want to like be friends at the end. Usually, people who
I know.
debate that hard, like just can't be friends with people they disagree with.
Yeah, they're all sour. They're all
See?
soured out at the end. Like, yeah.
Right? Like the ideology war is dangerous, right? Identity politics is a dangerous game.
hey,
you know?
trucking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It sure
Keep on
is.
trucking's in the chat. Hello there, friend. He's over from Sarah's
Hello,
panels.
hello.
You know, that's kind of what I want to do with these debate streams is actually show like, hey, look, we can argue 1 minute and we can agree the next. Because like,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. Go
oh no,
ahead.
I wish Non-Fun would have stuck around because I was gonna probably do something similar with him. You know, try to see what else he's into besides what we all stream. You know, and I'm kind of newish to the whole doing debates thing. I mean,
You are okay.
at least hosting them. Like I've been part of plenty.
It's hard to mediate. Learning how to mediate is
I was
a
almost
challenge.
screaming mediating
It's an
tonight.
art form. It is. It's an art form. Trippy, you're doing very well at this.
Thank you.
For being a novice.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of hard because technically I'm not really like new, right? Like, but I'm kind of hosting them now instead of just being in kind of part of them. You know what I mean? So like,
you're handling it good.
well, I've hosted stuff for years. You know that, right? Like I've been had a stream for like 7-8 years now. So
You've been everywhere. You've been around the world in YouTube.
yeah, I've been in the beef sector. I've been in the fucking like politicals areas. Oh my god.
You've been in the ghetto of YouTube. Ghetto of YouTube.
Yeah, dude. I've been on live streams with people who became internet famous. Like, hey, yeah, one of my favorite ones because it's kind of like I don't know what to say about it. Is like I've done streams with Andy Worski from fucking Kino Casino. You know, like yeah.
Is that
Fucking Andy Worski, dude.
Is that the guy doing the Locale Queens thing?
No, I don't know actually. I know he does Kino Casino with PPP. And they've been making fun of like the H3 problems, you know.
Oh, H3, my favorite Jew.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Oh, is it the podcast? H3 podcast?
Yeah, I'm not friends with him or nothing, but did you guys see that him and Hassan actually debated each other?
I haven't seen any H3 in like a decade.
Well, yeah, him and Hassan finally sat down and had a discussion, and I was surprised as hell because that's the first one Hassan's ever had with anybody. You know.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Cool.
But Hassan,
I don't really follow world affairs, so
Yeah.
I don't really know who Hassan is, to be honest with you.
he's like the biggest
Yeah.
leftist streamer on Twitch.
Okay, yeah, I've heard the name plenty of times. I just I just don't follow politics because I find the language too dividing. Like I don't really get the whole left wing, right wing thing. Like I don't even know what that
It's
fucking
meant to
means.
be. It's been engineered to divide us.
Yeah, that's why
Seriously has.
I mean, I get it. You need to label things, but like I don't know.
Where the hell is Honest?
We're be honest.
He probably had to do something with the kids or something. I don't know.
Are his kids in college yet?
No.
I know they're not. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Nah. Maybe. They probably argue like they're in college. You know.
Probably.
I mean, shit. Dude,
So you're 37,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same age.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see, like you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the death of Superman situation and how much hype was around it.
Oh man, yeah. Me and my father bought 2 copies and didn't open one.
Nice.
And then, which is the one we got graded. Yeah. So that Transformers comic book collection is really my dad's. It's not mine. So.
Okay.
But I guess I still act like it's mine.
Why not? Like I haven't bought a comic in probably fucking going on probably 17, 18 years. So it's going on like 20 years.
We pick up everything already pre-graded, right? Now we've sent in some of our stuff from the 90s. Like I've got Earthworm Jim #1 here, and we sent that in to get graded, and it came back 9.8, which is pretty good.
Earthworm Jim. Haven't heard that name in forever.
Oh man. I love that show when I was a kid.
Me too. I don't know too many other people who actually watched it.
Yeah.
Probably Madness. He's in the chat there. He probably saw it.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And so this like woo, this went all sorts of ways tonight, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it twisted and turned and doubled back.
Twisted and turned, and P. Fletch gave me his whole wallet over there, and nobody else
No
donated.
shit.
You fucking poor. No, I'm just kidding.
I am poor, so.
Yeah, me too. That's why you don't see me donating to anybody else. It's like if I had it, I would, but currently not so much.
Well, I'm fresh
Maybe
on
soon.
I'm fresh on a recovery path out of a 10-year struggle with substance abuse, so I can't really have money.
Good
right
luck
now.
with that, man. Yeah.
Right on, brother. Been there.
Keep on trucking. You'll get there one day.
Yeah. It's
a
hard.
tough road.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely hard. I know a lot of people who have managed to get away from it, but it's feel like I think Virgie, man. There's one dude Virgie that I don't know if you guys watch him, but he's talked about it on live stream where like he used to have a heroin addiction, and he told me, he said there ain't a damn day that doesn't go by that I don't want it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And it's been like 15 or 17, 18, whatever the fuck years for him, being clean. And
It's been 35 years for me, and I still.
Wow. I heard the same thing with cigarettes, though. That's weird, right? I've heard the same thing about cigarettes.
Actually, cigarettes are harder to quit.
Yeah, I've heard that
When
from
the vapes
multiple
came
people.
out in the early 2000s, and it started.
Damn.
The nicotine vapes.
Yeah,
My
all that
doctor
nicotine.
said, "Oh, your lungs aren't dying as fast as this. Just vape." Oh,
I remember
okay.
people saying that. Yeah, it's more healthy for you. And then it's like, oh no, here's
Well,
all these
it
issues it
depends
causes.
Depends on the vapes. You get the Chinese vapes, like the Square Guys, 10,000 hits and shit for $20. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be doubtful.
What kind of vapes do you recommend?
For nicotine, this is a blue.
Okay.
You got to buy the cartridges. They're $5 a cartridge. Which lasts about
Okay.
two days.
So
Charge
you can be
them
like,
up USB.
I'm blue, I'm D, I'm
Yes,
da. I don't even remember who does that song. I can't even name him.
Eichel 65.
Oh,
And it
that was
tastes like
fast.
a cigarette. Doesn't have that fucking flavored bullshit in it.
Yeah.
And for
What's like-
weed,
Hey, you got it.
I use a dry vape.
Dude. Careful with that. I don't want to get demonetized from playing songs. No, you're good. It's usually fine. It's usually fine. Just like because I'm smaller, so you know that.
Yeah. No, but yeah. It wasn't long enough anyway. I don't think. I think you get 5 seconds.
Dude, if I had like 100,000 subs, they would hit me for that. They'd be like, "Hey, you were playing a copywritten song." It's like, no, somebody else was doing it on a guitar. You assholes. They'll still get you. They'll be like, "Oh, it's too close to the original beat." I've gotten that before for playing.
How does Joe get by playing shit?
Joe?
I need to know.
Which Joe?
Killing Joke.
Joke. He doesn't.
Yes, Joke.
Like I know behind the scenes with Joke, he doesn't really get away with it. He gets he just accepts the claim and says, whatever.
Okay.
I know there's a rule for like education purposes. Like if you're like teaching like a musical education thing.
Teaching music, yes. You could say, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, apparently on YouTube, anybody who doesn't know who might want to know, apparently on YouTube, if you post a video as educational, they will actually pay you more if your channel is monetized. But if you're sitting there saying it's educational and it's definitely not, then you can get in shit for like false advertising.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, that's why I stay away from that. And then for a minute, it was like, if you posted a video and you said it was comedy, they would actually give you like reduced pay.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
What the fuck? No.
And it's
because comedy's subjective, but
maybe. But it also had to do with like, you know, they would think, oh, comedy, this must be right wing.
He gets through, and his bio is just a lunatic comic.
Nice.
He just says it all.
Yeah.
Oh, like transparent cleaning is educational. Have you seen
really?
Transparent Cleaning?
No.
You should pull it up.
Okay.
Well worth it. It's educational. How do they do that?
I was watching a little bit of the, what is that guy's name? Fuck. The lip reading guy, I think is what his channel's called. Or something like that. And he was going over some Kamala Harris footage and he's like, she is definitely on some alcohol.
Oh shit.
Because he was reading her body language. That's what I meant to say, not lip reading. It's the body language guy.
Body language, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
you could tell.
Yeah, he was just sitting there like half laughing, like holding his breath so he didn't start cracking up. And then, he's like, she's 100% drinking. Well, yeah, of course, Pelosi's drinking. I think I mentioned it earlier, and I still want to attribute it to Nancy Pelosi. I'm pretty sure she's the one that said, "Oh no, wait, it wasn't her. It was Maxine Waters that said that Trump has the inventor of the internet on his side," and she was talking about Musk.
Yeah, okay.
Or the man that owns the internet. That's what she called it. I'm like, he didn't invent, or he doesn't own the internet. Like, what the fuck do you think the internet is?
How many brain cells that woman have left? Who knows? Maxine Waters.
Bet Joe.
Established crime family, from what I hear.
Oh, yeah. Maxine Waters, probably. Like, I want to see more shit about Jasmine Crockett, because, like, I want to see her say all the stupid shit, because the one short I did on her has, like, 200 or 300 views.
Oh, I heard it must have been on your fucking channel.
Oh, Jasmine?
The name.
Jasmine Crockett, the black senator, congresswoman.
Yeah, this the real. She's got two fucking. She can talk like a newscaster when she wants, and then she can talk like a ghetto person.
Ghetto Crockett.
Yeah. Ghetto Crockett. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that the proper version of Jasmine Crockett was the fake one, and the current one is the one that's the real one. I tend to think that like the proper version of her was probably how she did her whole career up until somebody said, "Hey, we need you to act ghetto," you know?
Act ghetto, please.
Because it seems fake ghetto to me. And then with the fucking the nails and the eyelashes and the makeup and the hair, it's all fake. Everybody
like Hillary's hot sauce thing on
I carry hot sauce in my purse. It's like, oh yeah, show me. You said the
There it
shit. You
is.
got a purse. Show me. That's what I would have done. I was like, show me. Let me see what brand it is. Just like, you hear that shit out of so many politicians. They try to make themselves seem like the normal. And it's like, you guys aren't normal. You guys got fucking multi-million-dollar mansions and shit.
I'm just like you. No,
I remember when I was born a poor black boy. What was that the Steve Martin line when he's like, I was born a poor black child? Yeah.
Black child.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know that one.
Funny
Really?
movie.
Yeah, he did some really good ones.
What movie is that?
Really good.
Jerk.
The Jerk. It's just called The Jerk.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it. Is that the hockey one? No, wait, no, that's the hooligan.
No.
Never mind. Yeah, I've never seen
The
that.
Jerk is he basically plays like a dumbass who doesn't have a filter.
He's a white. He was adopted by a black family. White
Yeah.
kid. He grows up with all the mannerisms and shit, and goes out into the world. Becomes a millionaire.
That's the one where he creates the thing that holds your glasses on, right?
Yeah, the little. Yeah.
Yeah, the little nose cone or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Dude, I was watching a video last night with Star that I can't remember the woman's name that was on it. She's a Canadian. I think it was sent to her by Spittle Buggies. It's this Canadian like transgender woman, and she's talking about how in Canada, if you sign up to have like subsidized transition, you know what I mean? Like the state will help you transition.
Right.
And she talks about how once you sign up for this, you're actually signed up to some kind of like state assisted suicide thing. And you can pretty much cash in on it. Yeah. And you can basically just
I'm just
fucking weird.
Can't take it. Okay.
What do you mean by
fucking weird, right?
State assisted suicide?
Assisted suicide in Canada.
By cashing, do you mean have the assisted suicide?
Yeah,
basically,
if you're fucking depressed, you're dying of cancer or something, and you just
the state will take you out. And
crazy.
like she tells a joke on there though that I thought was fucking hilarious because they asked her about her genitals, and she had the full surgery, right?
Okay,
and she was like, "It's all inside out now." And the guy was like, "What?" she goes, "It's all inside out. It's like backwards or something." And she was like, "When." She goes, when I hold my nose and I blow really hard, it comes out like a balloon.
That's hilarious.
Like,
Trans people need to have a sense of humor like that, man.
Right. And yeah, we were trying to look into it because the trans chick was saying that she was thinking about actually doing the assisted suicide shit. And I was able to actually find her Twitter, and she just recently posted. So I'm like, I guess she didn't do it. Okay, cool. Like, whatever. But it was weird.
Yeah,
weird video.
For the clicks. Doing it for the clicks.
The suicide rate used to be really high among trans people.
It is now. Like, I was trying to look it up.
7%.
I actually asked Grok.
50%.
I asked Grok, right?
Yeah.
And Grok, the AI on Twitter, it told me
I haven't tried it.
It's fun. You can make it make images and shit too. But I asked Grok because Grok will search like multiple different forums and stuff to try to find an answer for you.
Okay.
And it came back and it goes, there's no real definitive answer, but about 40% of people who are transgender end up attempted suicide.
Ooh.
Yes.
And it was like, it said like people who have had full transition surgery, the numbers are harder to find. And then it said something about like people who have transitioned through surgery are 44% less likely to attempt it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how are you going to tell me you don't know? But then you know that they're 44% less likely.
No, they know.
I'm going to let Star handle that because I think she's going to do a video about it on her School of Thought channel.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I was trying to follow her channel, but I didn't know how to find it.
Here, I'll put it in the back or chat too.
What was I going to say? Fuck.
I hate that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'll come back to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it might,
Yeah, sometimes you gotta like just
right
wait.
as you're falling asleep, you gotta. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh shit! I'm not even on the panel anymore.
Yeah.
You start screaming at yourself. Like you'd be laying in bed some nights, and all of a sudden your brain's like, "Wait a minute," and you go, "Huh?" And your brain's like, "Wait a minute, did I trip in front of a pretty woman earlier today?"
Yep.
Damn it! And then your brain's like, "I'm gonna obsess over this for 20 minutes. You can't go to sleep either."
Oh
right.
man, I'm a big. I overanalyze every breath I take, so I get that.
Yeah, or like, I don't know. I do that with conversations too. I'll be like, I should have said this when I was talking to so and so. I put Star's link in the chat in the YouTube side if you guys want to use it to subscribe to the School of Thought. She's at 371 subs. And you know what's nuts about that?
Glasses are dirty. I can't see.
He's been getting thousands of views on her shorts, and like nobody wants to hit subscribe. I'm gonna have to get into YouTube and start whooping some ass.
Yeah.
Like she posted a short the other day. It hit 1,000 in like 2 hours, and I'm looking at her sub count. It didn't even jump. I'm like, what the fuck? Shorts suck for subscribers.
Was it in your YouTube bottom part of your, your
all the YouTube channels I watch? They always say over 75% of you who watch these videos aren't subscribed.
Oh, the description. I put it in the chat.
It's a YouTube phenomenon, right? Most people don't subscribe to the shit they watch, even if it's a short or not.
That's why you hear those really big channels. They'll say it. They'll be like, only 30% of you guys are subscribed. Like, come on with that.
Yeah. That's what I was just trying to say.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. That's why people remind everybody so much to sub.
I've been thinking of making a channel for years, man. I'm like, well, there's already 10 other channels like what I want to do. Why should I even try? But I guess I should.
Say try it anyway.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Paul?
Oh, I got it. School of Thought.
Yes, School of Thought.
Right.
He's an amazing person. People ask me how I made that catch, and I'm like, hey, I don't know. I'm like fly paper.
Wow.
They just come to me.
Like married or something?
No.
Nice.
No marriage yet. We will see.
Cool. Oh, that's cool. At least you caught the fish.
Yeah, why buy the cow when you can have the sex for free? You know what to say.
Does she do sexy talk on her? Is it because something I can fall asleep to?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think her most recent long video. About. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. Her most recent like long form video is about Carmelo Anthony and the whole situation in Texas with the stabbing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't really think it's all that like sexy.
Okay.
But sometimes she gets to be a little spicy, and that's kind of sexy.
That's kind of sexy.
Like she called Carmelo Anthony a dipshit. And I was like, nice job, nice, good job. She was like, oh, I talk like a fucking idiot. I was like, nice.
Yeah, on your YouTube.
It was like you were.
It's on hers.
Oh, okay.
It was a black panel, I think, mostly. And she was on it and giving them just tearing them up.
They I told her before, and I like that other guy that was here would probably say it sounds racist, but it's just true. Black dudes flock to her because she's got big boobs. They flock to her, and then they'll let her say anything she wants, unless it's the N-word.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's like, she doesn't drop N-bombs, so she's usually fine on pretty much any panel. You know, Joe, keep wanting to call you Joe. It's Paul.
Joe. It's Paul. Yeah.
That's because of the old. I'm thinking of old Joe.
For
but
years,
it's just old dude on your name.
Yeah. It's my StreamYards from another thing I do.
So Spirits in the chat. He said Xenu 316. Okay. I don't know what you mean.
Spasticus. Artisticus was my other name I put up, but I forgot how to spell it. So
I can't find that video. Whatever.
Huh. I have to check. I watched it in her StreamYard, so she might not have posted it yet.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
I don't know. Check under live.
I want to show it to my friend because it's funny.
It might be under live. But yeah, what was I saying? Fuck. Oh,
hey, have you talked to Mr. Calhoun lately?
No.
Or anybody or
not really. I've been kind of like out of the Discord for a while. You know, I'm usually hanging out with Star, to be honest.
That's good.
I would too if I were you.
No shit.
Yeah. That's my woman.
I would say, Trippy, check your sugar and your brain if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was telling her one time,
Nice.
Years and years of fucking ago, I was with one of my exes, and my blood sugar was like, it skyrocketed because she got pizza, and I had a couple of breadsticks and some pizza, not even thinking, and I was like new to being diabetic, and I look at my blood, and it was like 600. And she goes, holy fuck, I gotta take you to the emergency room. I was like, no emergency rooms. I was like, I have this liquid stuff to inject in my skin. You know, let me inject the insulin and I'll be fine. And then, of course, we had sex. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I get up, I check my blood sugar, and it's 35. I was like, oh, now you might have to take me to the fucking hospital. I'm like, time to have more pizza and breadsticks and hope that it goes to normal.
You got a candy bar? Anybody got a candy bar?
Yeah, right. And like, I'm gonna die if you don't. But like, dude, that was frightening. You know, and I told her, I was like, I don't ever want to have to go through that same situation. Like, the sex was great, whatever, but the blood sugar was terrible. You know, I like never want to go through that situation again.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
like
it was,
doing speedballs and having sex.
Yeah,
you never know which speedball is going to take you out. You know.
Damn. Dude, all right, I got to bring it up. I don't know if you guys watch Torsha, but I think a few in the chat might know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who that is.
This girl has been going live talking about how everybody's following her and she's seeing the same vehicles everywhere she goes. And there's helicopters following her car. And I'm like, oh my God. She used to just do like, I'm the based girl kind of streams. And now it's her sitting in her car going, that black car was behind me for 4 turns. I know they're following me. And it's like, what the fuck? I think she's on speed.
I mean, she could be paranoid. She could be on. She could be right. You know, like, I mean, she's probably not. But,
yeah.
But, you know,
it's concerning. Like, if I told somebody, I was like, if I was her friend, I'd be concerned.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But like, I had found out one day that that Torsha was telling people that she thought I was the reason why some of her donators were blocked out of the chat. I'm like, I've never even been a moderator on her channel. I can't do that.
That's weird. Okay, yeah. She could be developing schizophrenia. Well, I had one of my best friends develop schizophrenia. Like, well, it was the scariest thing I've ever dealt with in my life. Like, I would turn my webcam on, and she still wouldn't believe I was who I said I was. It's like,
wow.
Melly, I shouldn't have used her name, but I'm like, man, like, you're looking at me, like I'm right here, like, and she's like, you're not you. I'm like, whoa.
She had the high level schizophrenia, not the low.
You are definitely a lizard person. Wow. I saw you blink sideways.
Yeah, no, she's got a kid and stuff now. She's doing good, so
that's good.
Yeah,
man, that shit's crazy. Oh, hey, what do you guys think about what's been going on with Kanye West?
Oh, I'll write my Kanye West joke in the private chat.
Okay.
Fill me in. I see so many fucking clips.
This is fun, and YouTube's gonna hate it. But Kanye West a couple of months ago was on his Twitter account talking about how great Hitler was, and how, yeah, and he was seemingly, because he posted like 7 or 8 things, right? And then he posted like his swastika shirt, and that's literally the only thing that he has on his shop right now is a white T-shirt with a black swastika in the middle.
So would you say he's anti-Semitic, and if a Jew would see that?
Yeah, they would. They have. He's been, yeah. And then he called himself a Nazi. He called himself a Nazi on Twitter and was like, yeah. And then, like, after about, I think 3 or 4 days, he realized that Twitter just wasn't going to ban him. And then he posted, you know what? Elon Musk's a pretty cool guy. You know what else? I don't dislike Jewish people. And he was like, y'all, I love y'all, you know? And then
it's the Zionists I don't like. The Jews are fine. The Zionists are the troublemakers.
Like, so,
actually, what I believe.
A couple of days ago, though, Kanye West went live on Twitch and got banned almost immediately because he was putting up the Zeke Heil. Yeah.
No.
And he was on Twitch talking about Hitler.
Did he shave his mustache down like
he
a
should have
mustache?
It's funny because like you got that other guy Johnny Somali, and it's almost like Johnny Somali and Kanye West are kind of getting a little similar.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
Kanye could have borrowed Marilyn Manson's Nazi uniform. That'd have been perfect.
Dude, Johnny
You know?
Somali's in so much shit in South Korea right now. Like they won't let him travel.
Fuck.
Yeah, they took his passport. That's no longer with him anymore. They took it. He cannot get a job because every job knows who he is.
That's the fuck around, find out rule.
And now he's talking about he's gonna get the shit. He says he's going to get a boat and an inflatable raft, and he's going to try to basically row himself into international waters so he can get out of South Korea. And people are like, do it. And he's like, I'm going to live stream myself doing this. And everybody's like, yes, please, for the love of God. We'd love to see you sink. Like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. I found it amazing that Kanye was able to make Alex Jones uncomfortable. Like, Alex Jones is the king of making people uncomfortable. It was cool to see him squirm for once.
Dude, Alex Jones went on the panel of Royce and Mersch, a couple of guys that I've been around. ROTC. Yeah, Alex Jones joined them guys. And he was smoking cigarettes, and fucking Mersch goes, didn't you quit smoking? And he goes, brother, I'm getting sued for $900 million.
That's right.
I'm going to go ahead and smoke. Then he lit up a second cigarette. Like, had two in his mouth. He's like, I'm getting sued for all that money. I'm going to smoke it to my heart's content.
Yeah. I think the character that Alex Jones is goes over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah. Yeah, like to where it was literally submitted to court that he was an unfit parent. Like, I remember that. And the courts was like, this is a character. Why are you showing us this goofball character?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. I guess the Sandy Hook thing was a bit wrong, but I mean, he did apologize for it.
Yeah, talking about due process, Alex Jones should have got better due process.
Yeah.
Poor, much less fat guy. I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he's like losing a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, he's fit though. Like he's
looking fit.
Shit. Yeah.
Later, Met Joe. Met Joe from the chat says, "I'm out. Salute." He's salutating.
There you go.
I need a salute cam for my avatar.
Oh yeah, I like the fact that you have that. I think it's neat.
Thank you. I've been playing with this for a long time. Not this dildo, not this sensor bar, but I've been playing with this avatar for a while.
Cool. Like in terms of iterating on it, or
it tracks my head and stuff. I can get it to track my arms, but I still have to figure out the camera management and how to get the camera angled correctly for that to work well.
Okay. So
but
it's
he breathes,
like some
he
program
blinks.
that overlays that on you or something.
No, it's just character animator. It works slightly different. Like it overlays, it basically tracks my head and some of my mouth movements.
Okay, cool. That's neat.
But like the arms, that's all mouse.
Okay.
And he breathes automatically, but I had to program all that shit in. He blinks and breathes and...
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know, has babies while I'm not using them. I don't know what he does.
It's like Slappy the clown, or the Slappy the ventriloquist puppet from Goosebumps.
Goosebumps? Yeah. Man, Goosebumps. I used to watch that religiously as a kid.
Oh yeah.
And Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, You Afraid of the Dark was the best. I like it way better than Goosebumps.
And Salute Your Shorts.
I don't think I saw that.
What was the name of that? I think it was a different name of that short show. But yeah, like they had a bunch of those. Yeah.
The same people.
What's the one with the song, the Camp Anawana? We hold you in our hearts. And when I think about you, it makes me want to fart. I think that was Salute Your Shorts.
That? My God.
Well,
I remember too much, man. Like, I have
shit sticks in my brain too.
I got like a half of the Tiny Toons theme song in my head all the time, and the Animaniacs,
Oh my gosh.
and Freakazoid, and the one everybody knows, DuckTales.
The comic dispensers.
You know, DuckTales. Woo!
Oh yeah,
Like that fucking song.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, I remember there was a Nostalgia Critic skit where he heard that, he goes, after 35 years of trying to get that song out of my head, and then you're gonna play it, it's right back in there, that fucking earworm.
Yeah, it is an earworm. That's the sign of a good theme song, though.
Yeah.
But a theme song should be an earworm. Not that you can just make earworms like willy nilly. They're hard. It's hard to truly do. Like.
Well, all right. I think it's about time we go ahead and close down for the night, guys.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna wave to the chat, and I'm gonna
I'll
tell
be
you
back
guys
around
good
for
night.
sure.
Everybody say good night to the chat. Otis is probably
Good night.
asleep.
Good night.
Somebody should sneak in his house and get him backdoor pregnant.
Oh,
Otis,
I
you're gonna
will.
get raped.
Yep. Get the duct tape.
Bye, everybody. I'm hitting the button.
Titties and beer, y'all.
And we're offline.